Footsteps outside. Bang! The door was suddenly pushed open, hitting Wang Bai squarely. Wang Bai screamed in pain. Damn it, you are in such a hurry to reincarnate, where are your rules? A person who came was none other than Lieutenant General Meng Yang, he said in a panic. General, there's a fire outside. Wang Bai started to scold him. If there's a fire, you can't put it out, what are you doing here? The fire is too big, one piece after another, it's impossible to put it out, it's freezing cold. And the water has frozen, Meng Yang said with a look of panic on his face. Moreover, this fire doesn't seem to be an accident. It's been started by humans. Wang Bai looked outside and saw the flames had illuminated the sky red. He was completely dumbfounded. Fang Zheng he also rushed to the door in 2 or 3 steps. Looking at the flames in the sky, his eyes were dull. He slapped his thigh fiercely. What are you still standing there for? Oh, put out the fire for me. Prime Minister Fang, you should run away quickly. The fire is burning towards this side. It won't be long before it affects this side, Meng Yang said with a bitter face. Fang Zheng he ran away, and the servant chased after him. Prime Minister, please slow down. The fire came suddenly, as if it came out of nowhere, and spread in an instant. It was a freezing cold day, and all the water was frozen. All the snow in the city was shoveled away and piled up there, freezing into icebergs that could not be dug out at all. Dajing Pass was in chaos in an instant. I don't know how many people ran out of the room crying, but the fire is still spreading, as if it has life. Even a fool could see that someone was setting the fire. Fang Zheng he looked at the apocalyptic scene outside and forced himself to remain calm. It is said that when Diaxia Pass was breached, a fire fell from the sky. Could this fire have been set by the Bielyang people? What about the scouts? Have you spotted any enemies? Meng Yang smiled bitterly and said, Prime Minister Fang, I haven't found anything. Ignore them. Send some people to put out the fire. If they fail to put it out, arrest the arsonist. The rest of you, all go up to the city wall. Fang Zheng he was very nervous. He thought Li Yuan would do something desperate, but he didn't expect him to really do it. Isn't he afraid? In his eyes, the millions of people in Bau Jingji are worthless. If this is true, then their attack on Bau Jingji this time would be a bad move. Not only will it fail to save people, but it will also anger Li Yuan, leading to Li Yuan's fierce revenge. At this moment, Fang Zheng he was afraid. Once Dajing Pass is breached, all that awaits him is disgrace and disgrace. He hurriedly climbed up the city wall, but found that it was pitch black in front of the city gate. Apart from the whistling cold wind, there was no one in sight. Everyone was on high alert. Everyone's nerves are extremely tense. Prime Minister Fang, if we don't put out the fire, the entire Dajing Pass will be destroyed. It's freezing cold and we have no supplies. How are we going to survive? Wang Bai said with a bitter face. This is a trick of the bandits on Lu. Once we go down to put out the fire, they will come to attack the city. Fang Zheng he angrily scolded Wang Bai. Wang Bai was full of resentment. He said, you are the Prime Minister. You can just pat your butt and leave when the time comes. Nothing will happen. He is left with such a mess. How can he clean it up? If this gets to the court, he will definitely be blamed. A punishment could be exile at the lightest and beheading at the worst. But he didn't dare to move. Fang Zheng he had an army of 300 under his command. If he got angry in front of him, it would be tantamount to seeking death. Seeing Wang Bai remain silent, Fang Zheng he snorted coldly, stay here with me. I want to see what the thief Lu wants to do. But at this moment, thick smoke drifted with the wind, choking the people on the city wall and causing them to continuously. It's even to the point of being irritating. Fang Zheng he endured the discomfort and stood on the city wall. But soon, he found something wrong. Smelling the thick smoke, he actually felt nauseous. Not only that, he also felt a little dizzy. Could it be because the smoke is too thick? He tried his best to stand up wooden. But the wind was from the south, and all the thick smoke blew towards this side. He couldn't bear it any longer and started coughing violently. For a moment, there was a continuous coughing on the city wall. Some people even had difficulty breathing. I can't breathe anymore. I feel so uncomfortable. Please help me, help me. My head hurts so much, it feels like there are bugs drilling into my brain. It's so painful. As time went by, more and more people knelt on the ground and vomited violently. Wang Bai covered his mouth and nose with a handkerchief, and a sense of foreboding became stronger and stronger. Chapter 103 Explosive Bow. He suddenly felt a palpitation, and then his vision went dark. He suddenly reacted and shouted, "This smoke is poisonous, someone has poisoned it." As soon as these words were spoken, the whole world was shocked. Everyone was suddenly in an uproar. But so what? He was getting closer to the smoke and had already fallen to the ground. Some people tried their best to retreat, but others thought the same thing. For a moment, many people fell to the ground. Once you fall to the ground, you can never get up again. Some people were crushed to death. For a moment, there was chaos on the city wall. Wang Bai hurriedly said to Fang Zhengyi, "Prime Minister Fang, please get down quickly. We are too high up, the smoke is floating on the wind. If we continue like this, we will not be able to wait for Lu Yuan, but will be poisoned to death instead. Fang Zheng he was already out of strength at this point, and he lay on the battlement, panicking. Quick, carry me down, quick, I can't breathe. How could he know the cruelty of war when he had never experienced it? He didn't even see the shadow of the enemy and half of his life was gone. Prime Minister Fang, our brothers can't bear it any longer. Even if the smoke is not poisonous, we can't stand such thick smoke. Let's go down and take shelter first. No, they are leaving. What if Lu Yuan attacks? Even if they die, they will die on the city wall. Fang Zheng he got off the city wall and breathed in the fresh air. He became more sober. If they die, I will go back and ask His Majesty to reward them. Even if they die, they are heroes who died in battle. Hearing these nonsense words, many people clenched their fists. Your life, Fang Zheng he's, is life. But the lives of ordinary soldiers are not lives. But no one dared to say no. Some civilians struggled to climb down, but were thought to be deserters and were hacked to death. Some soldiers pushed the civilians to the ground and trampled on them without caring about their lives, killing them. Fang Zheng he sent people to put out the fire, but the fire had already burned down the entire city. Even if no one set the fire, it would be difficult to save the city. Wang Bai stared at the fire in a daze. Even if Biao Yang did not break through this time, what should he do? Will Fang Zheng he protect himself? He will definitely use himself as a scapegoat. But his cold and arrogant character, he doesn't take himself seriously. There was a gleam of ferocity in his eyes, but it quickly disappeared. Wang Bai glanced around. As a person with rich combat experience, he found that the thick smoke seemed to be emitted by something, and there was no poisonous smoke near here. Someone deliberately poisoned the place, which meant that the enemy had penetrated into the place. But he did not say anything. He just quietly called all his trusted men over and asked them to protect his family. There were constant cries for help coming from the city wall. But Wang Bai didn't feel any pain when they were not his own people. These masters from the capital city only wanted to make achievements, so they arranged their people to do the dirtiest and most tiring work. Instead, he held on to their lives. At this moment, the big bell on the city wall was rung. Enemy attack. A sharp explosion sounded. Fang Zheng he shuddered. Quick, go up. Guard the city. Block the city gate and the passage for me. Don't let them in. The laborers carried all the prepared sandbags into the passage. And soon they piled them up into a high wall, and then the passage into the city was blocked. Seeing this scene, Fang Zheng he breathed a sigh of relief. But he didn't dare to go up the city wall. He simply gave orders from under the city wall. Pass on my order. Anyone who dares to retreat will be killed on the spot. Fang Zheng he started coughing violently. Quick, help me get away from here. The smoke is too thick here. He was just standing under the city wall and felt choked, let alone those people above. Some people have already been choked to death. And the more intensely they exercise, the more smoke they ingest, and more people are suffering from smoke poisoning. People kept falling to the ground. Not to mention drawing the bow and shooting arrows. They didn't even have the strength to stand up. At this time, Li Yuan had already led the team to Dajing Pass, but he stood on the carriage and looked up through a telescope. The thick smoke almost obscured the red light. At this moment, a red light suddenly rose in the sky. Li Yuan was overjoyed. It worked. Quick, push the cart across the river and kill them. Wang Dabiao led the way and rushed forward with his men. Those participating in the battle this time were 50 veterans and 50 new recruits. Replacing the new with the old is the Biao Yang Army's method of training new personnel. Zhao Ji and Jia asked doubtfully, is it really okay to just rush over like this? You'll know in a moment. Li Yuan put on armor and followed. On the city wall, people kept shooting arrows. Although they were sporadic, they still posed a danger to the people below. Shoot, Li Yuan shouted. The soldiers immediately took out their specially made crossbows and pulled the triggers. At that moment, tens of thousands of arrows flew into the sky and then fell down. Bang 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 bang. Bang 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 bang. Intensive explosions suddenly sounded on the city wall, and it was unknown how many people were injured. Some of them fell into the inner city, blowing up the civilians who were carrying supplies. Some arrows exploded right in front of Fang Zheng he. The broken iron pieces brushed across his cheek. He just felt a pain on his cheek, and it was bright red when he touched it. Fang Zheng he was so scared that he screamed, retreat quickly, retreat quickly, retreat quickly. Wang Bai ran as fast as he could, but he stopped halfway. Looking at the frightened Fang Zheng he hurried over and said, Prime Minister Fang, come with me, I know a safe place. Quick, take me there. Fang Zheng he was extremely anxious, but he did not notice the sneer on Wang Bai's lips. At this time, outside the city, Zhao Ji and Jia heard the explosion and frowned. It was clearly an arrow that was fired. Where did the explosion come from? What if this arrow can explode? Li Yuan smiled playfully. Arrows that explode? Zhao Ji and Jia's breath was choked, and she quickly grabbed Li Yuan's hand. Are the arrows you want to sell me the ones that can explode? Yeah. You don't want it, right? Who said I don't want it? I want it. Xiao Jianjia said. I want as many as you can get. I remember someone said that I would rather die than do that, Li Yuan said with a smile. Just ask for anything you want. Xiao Jianjia took a deep breath. This kind of arrow with huge lethality is unique in the world if they can get it. It will be a huge deterrent even to cavalry. Can make up for her shortcomings. So, she had to get it no matter what. No request, and I don't want to mention it, Li Yuan said as he was about to cross the river. You said that you wanted me to give you a bath willingly. So how about I give you another bath? Chapter 104. Can you teach me how to fight? In order to get this explosive bow and arrow, Xiao Jianjia risked everything. Isn't it just scrubbing your body? Just treat it as a wooden figure. No, not only do you have poor skills, your service attitude is even worse. Sister Luo's skills are better, Li Yuan said with a look of disgust. Xiao Jianjia's eyes widened. She's not your tailor, why is she giving you a bath again? Personal tailor and personal assistant, any questions? She lost her husband and child, and you're bullying her like this? Xiao Jianjia said coldly. You're such a jerk. It's something we both agreed to. Who forced her? Li Yuan said calmly. You want to explode the bow and arrow, and you dare to talk to Party A like this? Do you really think Party A is about Histafa? Xiao Jianjia also realized that her words were too harsh. What qualifications did she have to criticize Li Yuan? Even if Luo Bing slept with her, so what? Whenever that woman saw Li Yuan, she couldn't wait to get close to him. Then what do you want in exchange for selling it to me? Xiao Jianjia no longer had the arrogance she had before. As she had to ask for a favor. I can consider staying in Biaoyang for the new year. That's all? Xiao Jianjia couldn't believe it. And how about giving Huan a brother or sister? As soon as Li Yuan finished speaking, Xiao Jianjia was so angry that she elbowed him in the chest, but the attack was blocked by the armor. He pretended to be in pain. Wow, you want to murder your husband? If you keep talking nonsense, I'll tear your mouth off. Xiao Jianjia was so angry that her teeth itched, but when she saw Li Yuan pretending to be weird, she couldn't help but want to laugh. She deliberately snorted. After the Chinese New Year, I'll leave right away and won't stay for another day. Make a deal. While the two were arguing, the death squad led by Pashan had already rushed into the city through the tunnel. The explosive bow performed a great job although it carried a small amount of explosives. Its number was too large. One salvo can contain tens of thousands of bullets, so accuracy is not required at all. When the specially made arrows are hit, it will explode violently and have strong lethality within a certain range. The gunpowder used for arrows is nitrocellulose, which is a mixture of cellulose acetate and nitroglycerin. It has a name. Smokeless powder. At the same volume, its power is dozens of times that of black powder. Therefore, the damage caused by a small arrow is comparable to that of a grenade. Because at this stage, Biaoyang has eliminated flintlock rifles and turned to semi-automatic rifles in addition to being not powerful enough. Gunpowder will produce a large amount of smoke when the bullet is fired. The faster the automatic weapon fires, the denser the smoke. In addition, black powder will leave a large amount of residue in the barrel, which can easily cause the machine gun to malfunction or even explode. This smokeless gunpowder was the ultimate bomb that Li Yuan prepared for the future Maxim machine gun. He is just trying out the effect now, striving to capture Dajing Pass with the least casualties. In the future, this explosive bow still needs to be filled with black gunpowder, but various poisons can be mixed in. If once it is contaminated, you will lose half your life if you don't die. Let's go into the city. Our people have already planted the flag on the city wall. Li Yuan held Xiao Jianjia's hand and warned her, follow me and don't wander around. Do you understand? Xiao Jianjia nodded. Let Li Yuan lead her, then crossed the river and entered the tunnel. After walking through the tunnel for a while, her eyes suddenly lit up and she found herself in a tea house. How daring, you dare to dig a tunnel in a tea house where all kinds of people gather. It's dark under the lamp, you know? Li Yuan took out a simple gas mask from his arms and put it on her face. The smoke is too thick, be careful of poisoning. What about you? I have one too. Li Yuan took out another gas mask like a magic trick, and then walked out of the tea house. The entire Dajingwan had turned into a burning hell. The scorching flames, the billowing smoke, the blood flowing on the ground, and the charred corpses all over the ground irritated Xiao Jianjia's nerves. Report to the division commander. The east, west and south walls have been taken. Report to the division commander. The vanguard battalion has captured more than a dozen generals. The successive good news brought a smile to Li Yuan's face. Xiao Jianjia didn't know what to say. Fang Zheng he led an army of 300. Plus the army of 100,000 at Dajing Pass, the total force was close to 500. But this army of 500,000 was defeated by Li Yuan's 20,000 men. Why is the gap between people so big? Xiao Jianjia had a feeling that it was unreal. Why does it seem so easy for you to fight a war as to eat and drink water? Simple? Liu Yuan said with a smile. I have carefully planned for 5 years in your eyes. I just talked a lot in the past 5 years? Do you know how much effort I put into getting my people to gain a firm foothold in Dajing Pass? I want to learn how to fight, can you teach me? Xiao Ji and Jia did not talk back this time. Instead, she said sincerely, I can pay you what you wish in fee. Are you playing the Return of the Condor Heroes with me? Liu Yuan, have you read too many novels? Xiao Ji and Jia's heart tightened. How did he know that I watched the Return of the Condor Heroes? Suppressing her annoyance, she said, just tell me, will you teach me or not? Oh, I understand you want to be Hua Kangyu, right? Liu Yuan touched his chin. But I'm not Baz Hua. Speak human language. No, Liu Yuan said. If I teach the apprentice, I will starve the master to death. What if I teach you and you turn around and beat me up in the future? I won't even have time to cry. My only skill, besides teaching my children, is to teach my wife. Bob, forget it, Xiao Ji and Jia sneered, just treat it as a fart. You are not sincere. You swear after just a few words it's a good thing I didn't teach you, otherwise if I did, wouldn't you be betraying your teacher and ancestors? Xiao Ji and Jia clenched his fist and took out the gun that Liu Yuan gave him. Liu Yuan was startled. What do you want to do? Kill. Xiao Ji and Jia threw down a sentence and rushed out with a gun, looking at the enemy not far away. He raised his hand and shot. Bang! In an instant, blood splattered everywhere. You're the only one who knows how to shoot? Liu Yuan angrily took out the pistols from his waist and started firing. Ongu behind them held her forehead with her hand. She was really mad at the couple. Just forget about eating dog food all the way. This is a war, and people will die. Still fighting here. Xiao Ji and Jia refused to give up and emptied one magazine of bullets after another. At this time, Wang Dabiao, covered in blood, stepped forward quickly and said, Report to the division commander. Our army has won the victory, and now the enemy has surrendered. At the same time, Wang Bai, the commander of Dajing Pass, captured Fang Zhenghe and attempted to surrender to Biao Yang. Hongbu hurriedly said, Master, be careful, there may be fraud. Liu Yuan thought for a moment and said, Strip Wang Bai and Fang Zhenghe naked and bring them here. I'll wait for them in the tea house. Yes, commander. After Wang Dabiao left, Liu Yuan put away his gun and returned to the restaurant. He even asked Hongbu to make him some hot tea. Those who knew that this was a war might think that Liu Yuan was here on vacation. Xiao Ji and Jia was so angry that her teeth were itching. This bastard really loved to show off. Chapter 105 Wang Zonghu. Soon, Wang Bai and Fang Zheng came over. Both of them were only wearing underwear and were shivering with cold. Commander Pashan has gone crazy and is torturing and killing prisoners, Wang Dabiao said with a pained look on his face. Those are all top-quality laborers. Let Hawke knock him down, Liu Yuan said calmly. It's not enough to just go crazy and kill people. He also has to learn to stop. In addition to making him afraid, there has to be someone who can really defeat him. After explaining, Liu Yuan retracted his gaze and looked at Fang Zhenghe. Prime Minister Fang, we meet again. Fang Zhenghe tried hard to appear fearless. And he was so cold that he was shivering all over. The little bit of toughness he had was gone. Lord Lu. I have nothing to say now that I have fallen into your hands. Zhang Xin is stationed in Bau Jinji now. If you kill me, Bau Jinji will become a living hell. Wang Bai, I heard that you want to surrender, right? Liu Yuan ignored Fang Zhenghe and turned to look at Wang Bai, who was trying to remain calm. Wang Bai didn't waste any words. He knelt on the ground and kowtowed. Yes, Lord Lu. In the past few years, Da Jingwan has been living in peace with Biao Yang, and I have also written to you many times, asking you to maintain good cooperation with Lord Lu. But Fang Zhenghe was self-willed, arrogant and blind, which destroyed the friendship between the two sides. I understand Mr. Lu's character. He would rather die in glory than live in disgrace, so, no matter what, Zhang Xin will not succeed. When the time comes, this old man will return to Beijing, and I will be the only one who will suffer. So you captured Fang Zheng in advance as a token of your allegiance? Liu Yuan said with a smile. Yes. I don't want to die, and I don't want to be a scapegoat and die inexplicably, so I am willing to surrender to Biaoyang Prefecture. From just now until now, I have been restraining the defenders of Dajing Pass and have not taken any action against the Biaoyang army. I hope Lord Lu will understand, said Wang Bai. Wang Bai. You are a traitor who sells out your country for personal gain. You shall not die a good death. Fang Zhenghe cursed. Old man. I have long reminded you not to use foolish means to target Biaoyang, otherwise you will inevitably suffer the consequences. Because of you, the 200 years of hard work of stationing troops at Dajing Pass came to nothing, and the entire Dajing Pass was burned down. How many innocent soldiers and civilians died because of you? The one who really deserves to die is you, Wang Bai said coldly. Aren't you afraid of being stabbed in the back by the world? When Pashan was captured, did anyone take care of him? He went crazy and slaughtered the Dajing soldiers? I'm not surprised at all. What's the point of being loyal to such a ruthless and ungrateful court? Wang Bai clasped his hands together and bowed to Li Yuan again. Please show mercy and take me in. Sir Wang Bai is willing to go through fire and water for you, no matter what. In the tea house, the only sounds left were Fang Zhang and the sound of cursing. Li Yuan actually admired Wang Bai very much after Poshan was captured. The original garrison commander was transferred away, and Wang Bai came later. Over the past few years, there has indeed been no friction with Biaoyang County, and judging from the intelligence collected by spies, this kid doesn't have any black spots. Wang Bai was very nervous. If Li Yuan didn't accept him, he would be dead. I'll give you a chance to kill this noisy old thing. Li Yuan picked up the teacup and took a sip slowly. Wang Bai was delighted, and then looked at Fang Zhang with murderous intent. Wang Bai, you can't kill me. If you kill me, His Majesty will kill all your 9 clans. Fang Zhang was almost scared to death. Li Yuan, I am the Prime Minister of Dajing. If you kill me, Dajing will definitely fight you to the death. This is not what you want to see, right? It's Wang Bai's murder. What does it have to do with me? Li Yuan took out a cigarette, lit it with a click, and made a gesture. And Honggu threw a dagger at Wang Bai's feet. Wang Bai picked up the dagger and flew forward, stabbing Fang Zhang's throat with the first blow, then reversing it clockwise. Phew! Blood suddenly gushed out, staining Wang Bai's face red. Fang Zhang's body fell to the ground. But his head was still in Wang Bai's hand. His eyes were wide open and his mouth was opening and closing, as if he was saying something. Wang Bai knelt on the ground again, holding up Fang Zhang's head. Fang Zhang has surrendered. Please have a look, sir. Even though Xiao Jianjia was accustomed to life and death, she still felt a little uncomfortable when she saw this scene. Li Yuan dusted off his cigarette ash and said, Wang Bai, you are a smart man, and I like smart people, but I like honest people more from now on. You will be called Wang Zonghu. Wang Bai, oh no. Wang Zonghu immediately said loudly, thank you for the name, Sir Wang Zonghu, I am grateful. Li Yuan stood up. He didn't care whether Wang Zonghu was an honest person or not. However, when disaster strikes, most people who stab their own people in the back will seek profit and avoid harm. Li Yuan will not really trust him. If there is anything wrong, he will get rid of it immediately. Send Fang Zhang's head to Shengjing and tell Emperor Jing that if he doesn't withdraw his troops from Daqian, I will rush to Shengjing and make him lose his head. Li Yuan said domineering lie and walked out of the tea house. Soon, they arrived at the place where the prisoners were kept. I saw 2 men as big as towers fighting. Bashan was half a head taller than Hawkeye, but at this moment, Hawkeye pinned him to the ground and beat him hard. I told you not to kill people indiscriminately and not to listen to me. You bastard, I'm going to beat you to death. You son of a bitch. Pashan's face was swollen and all his teeth were knocked out. Hawkeye then tackled Pashan and beat him half to death. Looking at Pashan lying on the ground gasping for breath, Hawkeye said, I know you haven't eaten well or slept well in the past few years, and you are not convinced in the future. You can challenge me at any time if you can agree to it. I will recognize you as my big brother. As soon as he finished speaking, he heard applause from behind. Hawkeye saw that it was Li Yuan and immediately became shy. Master, when did you come? Well done, Hawkeye. Li Yuan was very satisfied as he looked at his number 1 general. Although Hawkeye was cross-eyed and a little silly, he was well-behaved and obedient, and completely centered around Li Yuan. How could Li Yuan not like him? Hawkeye smiled innocently, scratched his head and said, it's all because of the master's good training. Listen, this kid knows how to talk. Xiao Jianjia was filled with envy, as she had seen with her own eyes the scene of Pashan, dressed in heavy armor and charging through the crowd. Such a warrior was comparable to thousands of soldiers. And Li Yuan also has an eagle eye that is more powerful than Pashan if she can get one of them. The revival of Daqian is just around the corner. Li Yuan looked at Poshan, who was beaten like a dead dog, and asked, have you gone crazy enough? Hearing this familiar voice, Pashan was shocked, and he struggled to get up from the ground and knelt on the ground. Master, I've had enough of my madness. You are seriously injured. Go back and recuperate. I still need you to fight for me, Li Yuan said lightly. But when Pashan heard this, he was extremely grateful. Thank you for your concern, Master. If Li Yuan knew what he was thinking, he would definitely say, Stockholm Syndrome. Chapter 106. You are behind me. The sky gradually brightened. But the fire was not out yet. Li Yuan has already counted the casualties. This was an unprecedented victory. Some people died in the Battle of Diaxia Pass and the attack on Dajing Pass. The death toll did not exceed 10 people, and more than 200 people were slightly injured. The casualty ratio has dropped to the lowest point in history. The poisonous smoke played a decisive role, and the explosive bow was extremely powerful. In the future, we can make 2 versions, one for personal use and one for trade. Of course, the people who made the greatest contribution this time were the ones stationed in the tea house. These people all belonged to the Biaoyang Guard, which was Li Su's department. Li Yuan met with these people secretly, and even Xiao Jianjia was not allowed to enter. She didn't know what reward was given, but she only knew that Li Yuan was in a good mood after he came out. "Let's go home," Li Yuan said. Reinforcements had arrived to escort the prisoners because Wang Bai surrendered voluntarily. His team had to be streamlined to about 10,000 people. The remaining people were all disbanded and assigned to settle in Taishan County and Songshan County. And the news had already reached Biaoyang Prefecture. Great victory! The master led 20,000 elite troops to break through Dajing Pass, killed 44 Zhao enemies, and captured 300,000. Fang Zhenghe surrendered. And Wang Bai of Dajik Quan surrendered. From the number of prisoners, we can see how exaggerated the number of troops sent by Dajing was. The 300 Zhao soldiers mentioned were probably only 200,000 at most, and the rest were just civilians. But even so, Dajing was seriously injured this time. The national army of Dajing had about 2 million men, and 1/5 of them were lost this time. It was more than just a physical pain. It almost shook the fate of the country. But Biaoyang Prefecture was plunged into a sea of celebration. Long live the master! Long live the Northern Liang Army! The people celebrated and told each other the news. In everyone's mind, the Biaoyang Army is invincible, and the eldest master is even more so. Only by following the master can they have a good life. Taishan County and Songshan County also received good news. For a moment, everyone was shocked. The barbarians who were undergoing forced labor had dejected looks on their faces. The combined forces of the two countries, more than 600,000 men, were defeated one by Li Yuan in less than 2 months, and even the city was lost. Why on earth would they want to provoke such a formidable opponent? After hearing the news, Li Quniong fell silent. Chen Yuan also remained silent. Is this the fighting power of the Northern Liang Army? There are only 20 Zhao people, not 200,000. They conquered Dajing overnight. Could it be that he also flew over the city wall? I have been studying in the recruit training camp. These days even Li Quniong is benefited, although the feels like a frog in a well and has a thought in his heart. It turns out that training soldiers can be done this way. Biaoyang takes the route of elite soldiers and all-round development for the same soldier. His personal ability must be stronger than others. Moreover, the education and teaching they received are completely different. Especially after they experienced live fire training and touched firearms, they were indescribably shocked. So what if they have Biaoyang firearms and a large number of people? Li Quniong shook his head. Biaoyang's momentum is already unstoppable. If the imperial court continues to fight, the consequences will be disastrous. Chen Yuan sighed. I hope those people in the court can stop in time, otherwise, disaster will befall us. At this time, Xi Aning and Li Wuyu also gathered together to chat. What should we do? The coalition forces have completely lost. Brother Li Yuan doesn't care about the lives of Ba Jingji and his men at all. Xi Aning said, even Fang Xiang is dead. It seems that this time, they really angered Brother Li Yuan. Li Wuyu also had a worried look on his face. Don't worry about it. He won't respond to any threats or persuasion. We can't do anything about it. The most we can do is write a letter to the court to advise them when it comes to such a tough guy. We either fight him to the end or give in. There is no other way. Li Wuyu felt that she had a good family background, was good looking. And like Li Yuan, she had even knelt down and licked him, but she hadn't even opened his legs. She was almost becoming autistic. If it doesn't work, just try to give him some medicine. Xi Aning lowered his voice and said, I found a way to get some medicine. Li Wuyu was shocked. You are asking for your life. If we are discovered, we will all be doomed. What are you afraid of? If he doesn't touch us, we will die of old age. If we stay here, we might as well give it a try. Xi Aning lowered his voice and said, you have to cooperate with me when the time comes. I will go first and you will line up behind me. Why? I'll do it first. Li Wuyu gritted his teeth and said, if you don't let me, I'll report you. You're such a slut. You're so shameless. Xi Aning was so angry. She had worked so hard to get the medicine, so why should she get the first place? With your brain, you still want to fight me? Li Wuyu sneered. Do you think the women around Lulang are just eating for free? You have Honggu in public and Li Su in secret. If I hadn't covered you up, you wouldn't even know how you died. Xi Aning's face was gloomy and uncertain. Although she was reluctant, she felt that what Li Wuyu said was right. Honggu kept a close eye on them. Every time they approached Li Yuan, they were searched. Even the food that was served had to be tasted by someone before it could be served to Li Yuan. Every move is monitored by someone, so even if drugs are given, the success rate is less than 30. There is only one dose of medicine. And I'm afraid it's not strong enough. If you come first, I'll be working in vain, Xi Aning said. Can't you get more? Tell me how to do it, I'll think of a way. Impossible. How could Xi Aning tell her that the medicine was stolen when she accompanied Li Yuan to the farm last time? This medicine was actually used for poultry, so she secretly scratched off a fingernail. Either you get some more, or none of us can afford it. Li Wuyu snorted and ignored her. On the other side, Wu Sun and Yesun, who were cleaning, also received the news. After a few months in Biaoyang Prefecture, they got used to their identities. Except for the fact that they had to squat to urinate and occasionally leak urine, everything was fine. It's been several months, why is there no news from the great wilderness? Yesun said irritably. Biaoyang is thousands of miles away from Xiy, and it will take at least half a year to send the news. The fastest time for the round trip is 1 year. Wu Sun analyzed. We don't know what the main vein means after all, we have been separated for more than 200 years. It is not certain whether they are willing to take the risk. Besides, even if they come, how many people can come? The closest country to Xiy is Diaxia. Can they lend the passage to the people in the main vein? Even if they come, can they defeat Biaoyang? Yesun was like a deflated ball. Are we going to be eunuchs here for the rest of our lives? That's better than losing your life, Wu Sun sighed. At this moment, the housekeeper urged the servants in the mansion to go out and greet them. The two brothers hurriedly dropped the rags in their hands and knelt down on both sides of the road waiting. When Liyuan got off the carriage, the two brothers buried their faces in the ground and shouted, "Master Gong Gong, come home." Chapter 107. I got promoted again by accident. Liyuan ignored them and walked over to Suexayui with big strides. Mom, I'm back. Are you not hurt? Suexayui looked him up and down. No, I'm fine. Liyuan touched Lu Lingziyichai's head again. Why didn't you go to class? Seeing that her brother was safe, Lu Lingziyichai was relieved. Originally, the teacher asked us to go to the second city to build a greenhouse, but you went out last night, so we put it on hold. My second brother stayed in the mansion and didn't leave the city. Li Yong said excitedly. Brother, did you really break through Dajing Pass with only 20? 0 people? Well, the prisoners are being paraded through the city. If you are interested, you can go and see the excitement. Li Yuan smiled and was about to describe the process in detail. But after Xiao Ji and Jia got off the carriage, Suexayui and the other two immediately surrounded her and kept looking at her. Ji and Jia, are you okay? My eldest brother is such a fool. Why would he take you to the war for no reason? What if you get hurt? That's right, my eldest brother is too ignorant. Li Yuan was heartbroken. The daughter-in-law is the biological daughter-in-law, and the son was just adopting? Xiao Ji and Jia was somewhat overwhelmed by the enthusiasm of Suexayui and the other two, so she said, Thank you for your concern, Auntie. I'm fine. Lu Yuan takes good care of me. It's his duty to take care of you. Suexayui held her hand and said distressly, You must not have had a good rest or a good meal last night. Come on, I've made your favorite dishes. Let's go in first. Mom, I'm tired too. Suexayui simply ignored him. Li Yuan was depressed and said, If my daughter hadn't gone to kindergarten, she would have been the first one to rush over to comfort me. Having said that, he followed in happily. After Biaoyang captured Dajing Pass, a number of people officially exceeded 2 million. This number of people is no less than that of a medium-sized country. Moreover, the territory nominally expanded to 4 cities, actually 5 cities, with an area of more than 200 miles from east to west, which is close to the area of a county in the previous life. Moreover, there was a river in the territory, which brought vitality to Biaoyang County. A few years ago, Li Yuan had set his sights on the Jingyang River, and now he can finally use it openly. Li Yuan recruited Wang Bai as a deputy regimental commander, and reduced the number of surrendered troops at Dajingwa to 8,000 people, and added them to the infantry brigade. The rest of the people who surrendered to the army were all engaged in farming. They were originally garrison troops, serving as soldiers in wartime and farmers in peacetime. As for the soldiers and civilians that Fang Zhenghe brought with him, they were all sent to labor camps. The number of people sent to labor camps in Biaoyang Prefecture also exceeded 500,000. Is it hard to work in such cold weather? Does not exist? Then we would open mines to dig coal, build factories to make bricks and cement, and dig canals. In short, they cannot be left idle and waste food for even a moment. Li Yuan also officially named Dajingwan as Hengshan County. So far, 3 of the 5 mountains have been gathered. Subsequent repairs in Hengshan County are also a top priority. On the 28th day of the lunar year, Li Yuan once again summoned the leaders of various groups in Biaoyang Prefecture. Today is the last general meeting. Not a summary meeting, and I have received the goals for each group and department for next year. However, plans cannot keep up with changes. In the Battle of Dajingwan, Hawkeye, Wang Dabiao, Zheng Liujin, and Wu Sixai made outstanding contributions in breaking the mountain. I have always been clear about rewards and punishments. Therefore, from today on, Eagle Eye will be separated from the Biaoyang Special Forces Battalion and become the 2-tribe battalion. Hawkeye was so excited, but he still said, Master, let someone else take charge of the 2-tribe camp. I will still follow you. Li Yuan smiled and said, 5 years ago, I promised you that I would make sure your people have enough food and clothing, and that they could form their own camp. I have fulfilled the first promise, and now it is time to fulfill the second promise. Hawkeye's eyes were red. Without the master, there would be no Hawkeye today. and the two people would not be able to have the abundant food and clothing they have today. You have earned this with your diligent hands. Li Yuan patted his shoulder and then looked at Pashan. Pashan, you fought in the Battle of Dajing Pass. Charging into battle without fear of death from now on. You are the commander of the Xianzhen camp, at the battalion level. Pashan knelt on the ground. Thank you, master. Li Yuan nodded and looked at Wang Daobiao and the other two. This is a bit difficult. There are 3 people, one is at the brigade level, and above that is the deputy division level. If he is promoted, he will be half a level lower than me. This is not good. But not rewarding is even worse. Whenever Biaoliang launched an external offensive, it always won with a smaller force, and each victory was more exaggerated than the last. If such a great achievement were placed in the imperial court, he would be awarded a title of nobility. If Li Yuan was stingy, he would appear to be mean. How can people return home like this? Thinking of this, Li Yuan said, Wang Daobiao, you have made great achievements in your career. You have been promoted from the brigade level to the deputy division level. All your benefits will be arranged according to the deputy division level. Zheng Yujin and Wu Sixai were promoted from deputy brigade rank to full brigade rank. The 3 of them were overjoyed. Thank you, master. In Biaoliang Prefecture, as long as you dare to fight and strive hard, you will definitely gain a lot of credit. Just one sentence can lead to a world of difference in treatment. Those who did not participate in the battle were extremely envious. At this time, Master Cao stood up and said, Master, Biaoliang Prefecture now has 3 counties with a population of over 2 million. It is no longer appropriate for you to lead the people of the entire prefecture as the prefect. Please, Master, be king. When these words were spoken, everyone became excited. With just 1 county, they dared to let Li Yuan proclaim himself emperor. Now that the territory of Biaoliang Prefecture has expanded several times and the population has doubled, they are even more confident. Master, be king. These brigade commanders all looked expectant. Li Yuan sighed and shook his head, storing up food, building high walls, and slowly claiming the throne. It's not the right time yet. Master, when will you become king? Everyone was puzzled. Li Yuan said, we'll talk about it when the time comes. However, what Master Cao said is true. A prefect is no longer suitable, then I will give myself a promotion and make me a governor. Master Cao, it is not appropriate to call you master now. Just be a chief clerk. Master Cao was also overjoyed. He knelt on the ground and cried with joy, thank you very much, Lord Governor. The master has now been named the prefect, which means he is one step closer to becoming the king. He needs to work harder to assist the master. All the corps commanders also shouted, long live the division commander. Gao Wenhu corrected him, what division commander? Call him army commander. Li Yuan also smiled and said, yes, from today on, I am the army commander. Long live the commander. Everyone shouted again. Each of them was extremely excited. Whether it is a scholar or a military general, who doesn't want to follow a monarch with a bright future? And their master is such a wise ruler. After a while, everyone calmed down. And Li Yuan said, in addition to promotion and reward, I have another thing to announce. Get up today and establish the Northern Liang Navy. We are now recruiting 1 naval regiment commander, 2 deputy regiment commanders, and battalion commanders and company commanders to be selected from the elite troops, and all treatment will be preferential. Those who are confident can recommend themselves. If the recommendation is successful, this governor will reward you handsomely. Chapter 108. Establishing the Navy Camp. Everyone frowned. Biaoliang had all kinds of troops except Navy. Most of the people in Biaoliang Prefecture are landlubbers, and water battles are their weak point. What can we use to establish a navy? Moreover, the navy not only needs people, but also ships. Not to mention anything else, there is not even a complete ship in the entire Biaoliang Prefecture. But the boss was a full colonel right from the start. How long did it take them to struggle to reach the colonel level? Some people have been working hard for several years, but have not yet been promoted to the next level. After hesitating for a moment, a deputy regiment and battalion officers recommended themselves one after another. Master, I can doggy paddle and swim more than 10 meters. Commander, not only can I doggy paddle, I can also tread water. That's bullshit. I can stay underwater for half a day with a reed in my mouth. Everyone was in a huge commotion. Li Yuan was overwhelmed and slapped the table in a hurry. Quiet, I asked you to recommend yourself. Not to brag. Those of you who can't even doggy paddle 100 meters, don't come and embarrass yourself. I don't want you to wear life jackets in a water fight. You can't afford to lose face. Everyone stopped talking immediately. At this moment, Li Quniang in the corner raised his hand and said, Commander, I have someone to recommend. He was originally not qualified to attend the conference, but Li Yuan allowed him to study with Chen Yuan. Li Yuan looked at Li Quniang, his eyes lit up. Aren't you the great Xia god of war? Can you fight in water? That's all because of the love people have for me in front of the army commander and all the officers. I dare not call myself a god of war." Li Qinyang was very humble. "The general I want to recommend is Chen Yuan." Everyone looked at Chen Yuan, who was sitting at the end. Lu Yuan frowned. "Chen Yuan knows how to fight on water. Commander, you may not know that Chen Yuan's father, Chen Zhang, is a famous water combat expert in Diaxia. And Chen Yuan grew up on the water. He was also a first-rate swimmer, but it was a pity that he died early, otherwise, he would have been a famous figure," Li Qinyang explained. Li Yuan looked at Chen Yuan. "Since you can swim, why don't you recommend yourself? Are you unwilling to work for Biaoliang?" Chen Yuan was startled and stood up quickly. "My lord, it's not that I don't want to serve you, but I am still a criminal and I dare not recommend myself." He also didn't expect that Li Qinyang would suddenly recommend him. "Since you are guilty, you must do more meritorious service," Li Yuan said calmly. "Let me ask you, are you willing to work for me?" Chen Yuan knelt on the ground hurriedly. "I am willing." He had no choice. In fact, Li Wuyu's persuasion is more like candy wrapped in poison. It looks tempting, but eating it will kill you. How could Li Yuan, such a smart man, let Li Wuyu succeed? But having said that, all is not hopeless. Biaoliang is strong but has no young master, so they have hope. You grew up in a water village, so you must be very good at swimming. Let me test you. Li Yuan stood up and took Chen Yuan and others to the indoor swimming pool he built for himself. This swimming pool is 50 meters long. "Go swim," Li Yuan said. "I'll give you a few minutes to warm up." "Thank you, Commander," Chen Yuan said without any hesitation, even though others were looking at him with questioning eyes. But he knew very well that Biaoliang was full of talented people, and it would be difficult for him to stand out. As long as he seizes this opportunity, he will truly join Biaoliang. After warming up for a few minutes, Chen Yuan took off his clothes and dived into the icy water. Wow, his slender arms, like those of a monkey, paddled on the water surface and suddenly turned into a water arrow and rushed out. Soon we reached the other end of the pool. Li Yuan counted the seconds in his mind and was secretly shocked. 21 seconds. What is the record for 50 meters swimming in another world? Close to 21 seconds. Even if there is a difference in my own count, it will not exceed 5 seconds. This boy is really a great swimmer. Chen Yuan turned around gracefully and went back again. At this moment, the doubts in the eyes of people around him gradually disappeared and turned into envy. 1 lap. 2 laps, 3 laps, 4 laps. He swam 20 laps before stopping. And it was Li Yuan who called him to stop. Otherwise the boy would have continued swimming. "Commander, am I swimming too slowly?" The corner of Li Yuan's mouth twitched. "This speed has already crushed 99 of the people in the world, okay? Moreover, this guy swam 2,000 meters and was only a little out of breath. It's really abnormal." "Well, not bad," Li Yuan said, "since you are good at swimming from now on. You are a deputy battalion level officer of the Naval Corps. Since you haven't made any contribution, I can't give you the treatment of a regimental level cadre. That would be unfair to others. I will give you a staff of 1,000 people. You must recruit them within 7 days. I will check the training results after half a year." "Thank you, Commander." Chen Yuan was also secretly excited, although he was only treated as a deputy battalion commander. He had already entered the management level. What Li Yuan said was right. He had not made any meritorious service yet. If he was treated as a regimental commander right away, no one would be convinced. This arrangement also convinced the other brigade commanders. Everyone knew that this was a test of Chen Yuan from the commander. "Li Qinyang, you have been commended for your recommendation. From now on, you are the platoon leader of the 3rd Regiment of the Infantry Division," Li Yuan said calmly. Li Qinyang was stunned. Isn't the platoon leader the lowest ranking officer in the military camp? Above him is the company commander. And then the battalion commander. But he gladly accepted it. "Thank you, Commander. I will obey your orders." After receiving the promotion reward, Li Yuan immediately found the head of the Ministry of Industry, Zheng Sangguan. Zheng Sangguan was over 50 years old and had 4 sons. All his family members were carpenters. He started learning carpentry from his father at the age of 8 and has been in the industry for more than 40 years. Most importantly, he could build ships. A long time ago, Li Yuan had searched for shipbuilders, collected shipbuilding materials, and detailed shipbuilding drawings. Coupled with his own understanding of ships, it is not a problem for him to build warships that are far beyond this era. "Old Zheng, now that I have taken over Dajing Pass, you should take people there to build a shipyard as soon as possible, and give priority to building warships in the future," Li Yuan said. "Master, although we have all the materials ready, it will still take at least 7 or 8 months to build a warship. Don't worry, I have already purchased a batch of ships, and they will be delivered here in the spring," said Li Yuan. "That's good. Don't worry, I will definitely build an invincible battleship for our Biaoliang as quickly as possible," Zheng Sangguan said, patting his chest. After explaining everything to Zheng Sangguan, Li Yuan immediately started writing the draft document for the fishery department. Originally Biaoyang did not have a fishery department, only a Ministry of Industry and Commerce. But now it is different with Hengshan County and Jingyang River, a fishery department must be established. In a city with a population of 2 million, food must be diversified. Maritime trade is also a top priority. He calculated the time. More than 2 years have passed. I don't know if they have found the grains. Even if they can't find them, I hope they are safe. Chapter 109, Staying Up All Year Round. This world is very different from the world in my memory, but the only thing that remains unchanged is the huge area of the ocean, he thought. Since there were grains here, there might also be the high-yield and drought-resistant grains that he remembered. Once the little ice age sweeps across the 3 kingdoms, Biaoyang County will probably be in trouble. So he must prepare in advance. If those people return safely, then they will be back soon. Li Yuan put down his pen, feeling inexplicably anxious. 2 million people depend on him for their livelihood, so he can't afford to relax. Honggu noticed Li Yuan's irritability and walked behind him. Master, let me massage your shoulders. Li Yuan leaned back in his chair and let Honggu serve him. In the blink of an eye, it's New Year's Eve. On this day, not only did the entire city celebrate, but even the prisoners could eat meat. Li Yuan even specially invited a troupe of actors to perform for the prisoners. Huan Huan was wearing clothes designed by Li Yuan and sewn by Wo Bing, with 2 small buns on her head, looking like a doll in a New Year picture. These days, the little girl has gained a lot of weight, and her face is round and chubby. Anyone who sees her would want to kiss and pinch her. Xiao Jianjia was also wearing a red dress specially sewn by Su Xiyui, which made her look like a blooming red peony. Li Yuan was stunned. And then he took out a jade hairpin from his arms. This is a New Year's gift for you. I found time to polish it myself. It's not very beautiful. Don't dislike it. Xiao Jianjia looked at the wound on Li Yuan's hand with mixed feelings. No wonder he kept getting scars on his hands these days. It turned out that he was preparing a gift for her. I prefer wooden hairpins to lily hairpins. Then I'll prepare a wooden hairpin for you next year. Li Yuan took off the silver hairpin on her head and inserted the jade hairpin into her hair. Does your mother look beautiful wearing the hairpin? Wow, my mother is so beautiful. The little girl's exaggerated look made Xiao Jianjia laugh. You little bitch, you only know how to coax me. Xiao Jianjia rolled her eyes at her, but she felt happy in her heart. But when she looked at Li Yuan, she said, I didn't prepare any gifts for you. You being able to stay is a gift. Li Yuan let the little girl ride on his shoulders. Let's go shopping. Biaoyang in the new year is even more lively and exciting, making people overwhelmed. Xiao Jianjia sighed. I'm afraid this is the only place in the whole Daqian where you can see such a lively scene. Do you miss your family? Li Yuan asked. How about bringing your family over next year? Xiao Jianjia's eyes dimmed, and Huan Huan whispered to Li Yuan, Dad, my grandparents passed away a long time ago. Li Yuan was stunned. Sorry, I don't know. He felt more and more distressed for Xiao Jianjia. It must be extremely difficult for her to raise Huan Huan alone without the care of her family. Ignorance is not a crime. You are not alone. You have Huan Huan, me, and our family. Li Yuan held her somewhat cold hand. No matter what time it is, it's always the same. Xiao Jianjia felt a little sad, because in the past, it was always she and Huan Huan who celebrated the festivals together. Even if my father was still alive, he would call his brothers and sisters over every New Year's Eve. There would always be a group of people around him, and I couldn't squeeze in at all. She has no concept of home. But at this moment, when she saw Li Yuan, the outline of a family emerged in her mind. That home has him, children, love, warmth, caring greetings, concern when sick, and comfort when sad. Someone tell her she is not alone. Xiao Jianjia didn't know why she didn't shake off Li Yuan's hand, maybe because she was touched, or maybe because the weather was too cold and his hands were too warm. Just think of it as a dream. After tomorrow, the dream will end. She couldn't bear to make Huan Huan sad. The little girl really rode on Li Yuan's shoulders, looked at the hand she was holding, and smiled secretly with her hands covering her mouth. At this moment, Li Yuan held the little girl in his arms, then opened the cloak with one hand and wrapped the mother and daughter in it. Even though it was cold outside, Xiao Jianjia couldn't feel the cold at all. Xiao Jianjia's body was a little stiff. This is not the first time Li Yuan has done this. She walked stiffly for a while, her body always leaning back involuntarily. Fat Guy's hands were so strong that no matter how she pinched his waist, Li Yuan didn't let go. Finally she seemed to have accepted her fate and half of her body leaned on his shoulder. Li Yuan bought her a lot of things, including snacks, clothes, jewelry, and cosmetics. The things almost filled the carriage behind them. But Li Yuan always said it was not enough. Xiao Jianjia had never been so wasteful since she was a child. Because their father always warned them to be frugal. So much so that when she grew up, she was reluctant to eat delicious food or wear nice clothes. After becoming emperor, he became even more frugal. But Li Yuan always felt, but what he was given was not enough. Master, it's all full. Ongu reminded. It's full after buying only a small amount? Li Yuan muttered, quite dissatisfied. Ongu was speechless. She spent several thousand taels to fill up a car. Is that a small amount? Do you want to pamper me like this? Li Yuan wanted to call a second car, but Xiao Ji and Jia said she didn't want anything, so Li Yuan gave up. After a day of strolling outside, Suexayui also prepared a table of sumptuous meals. The whole family sat together. Suexayui sat in the main seat. Old Lu is not here. I wish everyone a happy new year on his behalf. Everyone clinked their glasses together. Fireworks exploded outside. The old year came to an end and the new year began. Thousands of families in Biaoyang Prefecture gathered together to celebrate the new year. Those scenes formed a prosperous ukiyo-e, dispelling the cold of winter. After dinner, a family stayed up together in the hall. In the past, Li Yuan always stayed up all night to celebrate the new year alone, but this year, his whole family was with him. In his previous life, he was an orphan, but in this life, he was given to many bonds and protection. Li Yuan sat in the middle of the hall. Besides his family, there were Honggu, Liu Su, O Bing, and others around him. They have no family, so every year they stay up with Li Yuan to celebrate the new year. It is said that Fa Hai tricked Su Zhan into entering Lei Feng Pagoda Bai. Su Zhan was so eager to save her lover that she caused the water to flood Jinshan Mountain. Everyone listened to Li Yuan's storytelling with their ears perked up. When they heard about Ba Su Zhan flooding Jinshan Mountain, they were all extremely excited. Cheer for Ba Su Zhan's courage to love and hate. The sentimental Wo Bing even had tears in her eyes. Li Wuyu and Xai Yining were also mesmerized by what they heard. As long as Li Yuan is willing, what would it matter if I gave up my identity for him? Qiao Ji and Jia also fell into deep thought. From the return of the Condor heroes to the legend of the White Snake. What is the forbidden love between a master and his disciple? And this one transcends race. It is a love between a human and a demon. Why does this damn man like forbidden love so much? Could it be that he just likes this tune? Yes, he is a rebel and I am the empress. Isn't the relationship between them a fateful one and a taboo? When Xiao Ji and Jia was drawn into the story, she felt as if an electric shock had passed through her body. She was so confused for a moment that she could no longer look directly at Lu Yuan. Chapter 110. Just tell me if it's sweet or not. Everyone hated Fa Hai's ruthlessness, liked Bai Su Zhen's courage to love and hate, praised Xiao Qing's loyalty, and affirmed Zhu Xian's infatuation. Li Yuan modified the legend of the White Snake to a certain extent, making Zhu Xian more infatuated and wiser, making the whole story look richer. Although the ending is good, Zhu Shilin is too pitiful. He has never seen his father and mother since he was a child, Old Wo Bing said while wiping away tears. Zhu Xian's elder brother and sister-in-law are good people, Liu Su said. There are 100 hamlets for 100 people, and everyone looks at the story from a different perspective. Xiao Ji and Jia felt deeply sympathetic. Zhu Xian is Lu Yuan, I am Bei Su Zhen, Huan Huan is Zhu Shilin, and Grape is Xiao King. They appear to be a family, but in reality they are broken. She tried hard to hold back her tears. It's New Year's Day, can't we tell some happy stories? Li Yuan smiled and said, isn't the ending happy enough? Xiao Ji and Jia always felt that Li Yuan was hinting at her. If it weren't for the god's mercy, if it weren't for the collapse of Leifeng Pagoda, if Zhu Shilin wasn't the reincarnation of Wenku Xingzhen, would the ending be a happy one if I pleaded on behalf of my parents? Zhu Xian is a human, Bai Su Zhen is a snake demon, and Fa Hai is a Buddha. In reality, Fa Hai is right. As soon as these words were spoken, they immediately caused dissatisfaction among others. It doesn't matter if they are monsters or humans, as long as we love each other, that's enough. Yes, real people are scarier than monsters. Qiao Ji and Jia said calmly, I am just stating the facts although the story is okay. In my opinion, if Zhu Xian died of old age without waiting for the collapse of Leifeng Pagoda, the story would be more deeply rooted in people's hearts. She looked at Lu Yuan, as if wanting to convey her thoughts to him. Why are you playing with Sadamacisms on New Year's Day? Lu Yuan touched his chin. Oh, I understand you like this kind of sad story, right? And I must let you have a taste of what sweet love is. Bah, who wants to taste sweet love? Xiao Ji and Jia spat, then thought it sounded too much like flirting, and hurriedly explained, don't think too much, that's not what I meant. Suexayui smiled like a loving mother. I understand. Lu Ling Zhi hugged Huan Huan and said, you are still young, don't learn from your parents. Understand? Li Yang sniffed the air and said, I seem to smell the sour stench of love. Honggu. So, the world in which only I am heard is fulfilled, right? Seeing that they all had strange smiles on their faces, Qiao Ji and Jia became withdrawn and simply stopped explaining, letting them think whatever they wanted. At this time, Lu Yuan slammed the gavel again. Come on, the next sweet love story I'm going to tell is Liang Shanbo and Xu Yingtai. Everyone suddenly became quiet and looked at Liu Yuan intently. Chao Jianjia had a look of disdain on her face. But her ears were perked up high. When she heard the funny story of Xu Yingtai dressing up as a woman and studying with Liang Shanbo, she couldn't help but laugh. When they heard that Ma Weike was getting married to the Xu family and Liang Shanbo was vomiting blood while proposing the marriage, everyone present was worried. Especially when Liang Shanbo died and Xu Yingtai was forced to marry Ma Weike, and finally wore mourning clothes under her red wedding dress, almost everyone present had tears in their eyes. Li Yuan said that the love between Xu Yingtai and Liang Shanbo moved the heavens, and a strong wind blew. The howling cold wind outside seemed to echo Li Yuan's words. They are there. Until a strong wind blew the wedding procession to Liang Shanbo's tomb. Xu Yingtai dived into the tomb at that moment. Everyone felt a severe tightness in their chest. Chao Jianjia, in particular, spoke with great discomfort. Even though Xu Yingtai's Liang Shanbo turned into a butterfly, everyone still felt so regretful. Suexia Yui and her daughter had the most emotional feelings and burst into tears. Brother, you are too mean. This story is too tragic. Lu Lingzhi burst into tears. Liang Shanbo has become a county magistrate, but he still can't marry Xu Yingtai. Can you change the story? Li Yuan shook his head. This story cannot be changed. The master is so mean. He just tries to trick me into crying. Yeah, that's too bad. Li Wuyu and Xi Aining also kept wiping their tears with handkerchiefs. There is no woman who doesn't like this story. Chao Jianjia once again showed empathy, even more than in Legend of the White Snake. She gritted her teeth and looked at Lu Yuan. This bastard even looked at her to take credit. Is this the sweet love story you mentioned? They turned into butterflies and lived forever again, tell me. Is that sweet? Chao Jianjia was speechless and could only stare at Lu Yuan angrily. Lu Yuan made everyone cry and was in a good mood. The time came to early morning. Lu Yuan said, Xiaoyang stays here to keep watch, and everyone else goes back to their rooms to rest. Suexia Yui couldn't stand the night. So she took Huan Huan and Lu Lingzhi to rest. Ong Gu and Li Su protected Li Yuan, one openly and one secretly. Chao Jianjia glanced at Lu Yuan, then turned and left. The originally bustling hall suddenly became quiet. The next morning, Chao Jianjia got up before daybreak. Li Yuan cooked breakfast himself. Today is the first day of the new year. It's not too late to leave after breakfast. I have prepared 30 arrows. There is also a box here with thousands of bullets in it. Don't be reluctant to use them no matter where you go. Don't leave your gun behind. If it is too dangerous, protect yourself first. If you encounter problems that you cannot solve, come to me. In the past, Chao Jianjia would definitely think Li Yuan was nagging, but at this moment, these words made her feel warm. It's like the advice from a loved one. Especially the last sentence, which gave her confidence. Thank you, Chao Jianjia said, then sat down to have breakfast. Everything Lu Yuan made was her favorite. At this moment, she was actually a little reluctant to leave. Thank you for taking care of Huan. Once things are stable over there, I will come to pick her up sooner or later. Chao Jianjia dispelled the unrealistic thoughts in her mind. She knew that Li Yuan would know her identity sooner or later, and they would confront each other sooner or later. Just like the enemy. Li Yuan did not answer, but took out a wooden hairpin from his arms. I polished it late last night. It's not fine enough, please don't dislike it. Looking at the wooden hairpin handed to her, Chao Jianjia's heart was shocked. She said with complicated eyes, there will be no result between you and me. In fact, you don't have to do this. So what if there is no result? It doesn't stop me from being nice to you. Li Yuan put the hairpin into the gift box and stuffed it into her hand. What I give you is what I want to give. I don't do it deliberately because I want a certain result. Stupid, you're just impressing yourself, Chao Jianjia said coldly. Maybe. Li Yuan yawned, tears streaming down his face. He said sleepily. I'm sleepy, so I won't send you off. This is your own home anyway, so feel free to do as you please. Having said that, he stood up and left. Chao Jianjia looked at Li Yuan's back and opened the box containing the hairpin again. She took the wooden hairpin in her hand, and felt a sense of joy in her heart. The word Yuan engraved on the hairpin made Chao Jianjia burst out laughing. This bastard has so many tricks. Chapter 111. Your Majesty, Biao Yang is just a paper tiger. Chao Jianjia came in a hurry and left in a hurry. 30,000 arrows cost her 300,000 taels of silver. And these arrows were disposable and could not be recycled. This bastard, profiteer, and thief. Chao Jianjia felt a great pain in her heart, but when she thought that the money was given by Li Yuan, she didn't feel so uncomfortable anymore. She thought of the box where Lu Yuan had put the bullets for her. She opened it and saw a special inner armor and a book inside. When I picked it up, I found it was the final chapter of The Return of the Condor Heroes. She remembered that the book was unfinished. Anyway, it would take 2 days to get back to Tongshu, so she simply took the book, lay down in the carriage and started reading. She then picked up the snacks that Lu Yuan had prepared for her and stuffed them into her mouth. No matter how cold it is outside, the carriage is as warm as spring. Lu Yuan had a good year, but Emperor Jing was upset. A news of the capture of Dajing Pass was delivered to the palace by carrier pigeon, which was faster than the express mail of 800 miles. Wang Bai fled with Dajing Pass. Fang Xing he was killed. Not only did he lose Dajing Pass, but he also lost hundreds of thousands of troops. He was deeply hurt. That's a quarter of the country's military strength. It's already seriously injured. Lu Yuan also threatened that if the enemy did not withdraw his troops and apologize, he would kill all the way to Xinjiang. Emperor Jing roared in anger and smashed countless things, but after calming down, all he felt was fear. The Axia was defeated, and Dajing was also defeated. A few years ago, Pashan lost 50,000 people, and now Pashan has surrendered. All in all, he lost almost 600,000 troops. This was not just a serious injury, it almost shook the national destiny of Dajing. What's the use even if they capture Bau Jingji? The empress of Daqian was missing, and Yang Ji took the new emperor to Bian Liang. It would be impossible to attack Bian Liang in a short period of time. He summoned all the civil and military officials. Pashan surrendered, Wang Bai surrendered, Fang Xiang died in battle, Dajing Pass fell. And now Lu Yuan demands that the troops withdraw and apologize, otherwise, he will kill us all the way to Xinjiang. Tell me, what should we do? As soon as these words were spoken, everyone in the hall was furious. Everyone gasped. How long has it been since then? And Dajing Wan has fallen. What does Fang Xianggen do? He can't even defend against hundreds of thousands of people? Seeing that no one dared to speak, Emperor Jing said angrily, "You are all them. My Changming is still in Bialiang. How can I explain this to the world?" He glanced at everyone, and finally fixed his eyes on Nian Wenyao. "Wenyao, what do you say we should do?" As the uncle of Emperor Jing, Nian Wenyao was the most trusted confidant of Emperor Jing. He was also known for his resourcefulness. Nian Wenyao was a little annoyed, to be honest. In the face of absolute strength, any conspiracy or trick is just a paper tiger. According to intelligence from the front line, Lu Yuan is not only establishing Taishan County, but also changing Diaxia Pass into Songshan County. Behind him is Bialiang Pass. Together with Dajing Pass, Biaoliang has 3 strong passes to guard it, and the situation is set. He analyzed the current situation and said, "From this we can see that the northern Liang dynasty has already become a country and will inevitably become an emperor in the future. It has already met the conditions for establishing a country. Biaoliang, which has 30,000 city defense troops, has already dominated Biaoliang. Biaoliang, with an army of 100,000, was able to capture 2 passes in a row. It was a formidable enemy. Or unite with Diaxi and fight to the death until Biaoliang is destroyed. Or continue to trade with Biaoliang. The reason why so many wars were caused in the final analysis was because of Shang Song Nian. If he had not provoked or threatened, Lu Yuan would not have killed him in anger, let alone detain Princess Chang Ning. Before this, the 2 sides had been trading in a friendly manner and had not crossed the line. Therefore, I think it is better to negotiate peace. After saying this, Duke Wu Changqing stood up and said, "I object. Biaoliang Pass has become a formidable enemy. If we let it go now, we will be nurturing a tiger to cause trouble. Your Majesty, Biaoliang is still a king, but he already seems invincible. When he is fully grown, he will surely show his fangs. It can be seen from the fact that he refused His Majesty's reward that Lu Yuan is an ambitious person. Furthermore, our great Jing has a territory of thousands of miles and is one of the largest countries in the world. How can we bow down to Biaoliang, which is not even a country? If this gets out, where is the dignity of our Dajing? Where is your Majesty's dignity?" Duke Wu's words make sense. "I second your opinion. I second the motion." At one time, there were no less than 20 people seconding the motion. Nian Wenyao sneered, "Doesn't he want to fight? It's your Majesty who doesn't want to fight. First there was Pashan, then there was Wang Bai, and even Fang Xing he died. What will be the outcome if the fight continues? What if Lu Yuan really comes in? Who can arrive?" Emperor Jing looked unhappy. "Okay. Changqing, since you don't want to negotiate, then tell me how to fight. I can give you 300,000 troops and 200,000 civilians. Can you take Biaoliang Pass?" Changqing said, "Your Majesty, I believe that the culprit for the breach of Dajing Pass is Wang Bai. He must have been bribed by Lu Yuan a long time ago with the help of both inside and outside forces." Fang Xiang died tragically. "If Lu Yuan really has the guts to attack us, I am willing to lead the troops to fight the enemy. Don't forget how the Diaxia Pass was breached. Biaoliang created a flying weapon. No matter how high the city walls are, they can't stop them," said Nian Wenyao. "It's ridiculous. If Biaoliang really had such a weapon, Lu Yuan would have been the boss long ago." Changqing didn't believe that anyone could fly. It was purely a lie made up by the people of Deaxia. There must have been an internal traitor who set fire to the Deaxia Pass, causing chaos and giving Liu Yuan an opportunity to take advantage of. He is well versed in military books and historical records. And there are countless examples like this. Yes, if the people of Biaoyang could fly, Liu Yuan would have become the king long ago. What is he waiting for? But it be that he has such strength, but is willing to stay in a cold and bitter place and be poor? As soon as these words were spoken, many people burst into laughter. Nian Wenyao sneered, even if the Biaoyang people can't fly, their firearms are always real. So far, the Ministry of Industry's workshops have not yet produced qualified firearms. They don't even know the formulae of gunpowder. We can't compare with them in this regard. This is always an objective fact. I, Chang, cannot agree with the words of the uncle. Did we retreat just because the enemy is strong? When Emperor Taiziyu of Dajing founded the country was surrounded by powerful enemies and hundreds of warlords. Did Taiziyu retreat? If I had retreated, would Yan have achieved the great success today? As a minister, shouldn't I share your majesty's worries? Even if you die on the battlefield, it is an honor. Zhang King laughed sarcastically, then cupped his hands and said, Your Majesty, I am willing to lead the troops to defeat the enemy. Emperor Jing is now in a dilemma. He originally wanted to negotiate. At most, he would give the gold and silver treasures looted from Daqian as compensation to Liu Yuan in exchange for Xianing. But now, Chang King has incited many people. If he retreats at this time, he will be a coward and will be laughed at by the world. He secretly hated it, but he was also thinking about what Chang King had just said. The more I think about it, the more it makes sense. I think Liu Yuan is just strong on the outside but weak on the inside. If he really could fly, he would have come to Shengjing long ago. Since Chang King has such lofty ambitions, I naturally cannot disappoint you. I agree. Chapter 112 Taking the Blame. Chang King was overjoyed. Your Majesty is wise. He glanced at Nian Wenyao provocatively, with a hint of sarcasm on his lips. Nian Wenyao also shook his head. A few years ago, Biaoyang was still weak, and Pashan had already learned a lesson. If we had put all our efforts into encircling and killing the enemy at that time, the chances of success would still be very high. Now, it's difficult. He was not worried about Chang King, but he was worried that if he lost this time, Dajing would really shake the country's destiny. Your Majesty, you can send troops, but you can't massacre Bau Jingji. Nian Wenyao said, once Bau Jingji is massacred, there will be no room for maneuver, and Liu Yuan may harm Princess Chang Ning. I think it would be better to divide the Daqian Jingshao area with Deaxi and expand the territory. It is not impossible that the three countries will become two countries in the future. Nian Wenyao's words touched Emperor Jing's heart. There was no emperor who did not like to expand territory and establish great achievements. Well, let's send an envoy to Deaxia for negotiations and give orders to Zhang Xian. And there is a chance, continue to attack other cities in Daqian and put pressure on Liu Yuan, said Emperor Jing. As for Xianing, he is no longer that important in the face of his great achievements. Wenyao, you are in charge of this matter. Yes, Your Majesty. At this time, the documents from Bianjing had already been delivered to Shang Wei. He immediately went to Biaoyang Prefecture to ask for a meeting with Liu Yuan. Master, what do you think I should do about this? Shang Wei was a little confused. I thought those people in Bianjing were sane last time they summoned him to the capital. He ignored them this time. They actually wrote a letter asking him to go to Bianjing. Liu Yuan read the imperial edict again, and finally understood it. Look, this imperial edict mentions me, and implies that I am your subordinate. Those people in Bianjing seem to think that I am a puppet you pushed out. Shang Wei smiled bitterly. Who is the puppet? Not only that, the imperial edict also said that if you don't come to the capital, you will be defying the imperial edict, and the next step will be to label you a traitor. When Bau Jingji fell, someone had to take the blame. Xiao Yi couldn't take it, and neither could Yang Ji and his son. Since I am your puppet, then you are the culprit who caused the Xi and Jing dynasties to join forces to attack. Shang Wei was stunned. What does it have to do with me? Who made you the commander-in-chief of Biaoyang Pass? Liu Yuan threw a cigarette to him, and then analyzed. In the past few years, I have done a good job of keeping secrets except for Prince Duan and you. No one in the court knows the situation in Biaoyang. I first sent people to the court to negotiate and asked the court to release the people. If it were you, would you be confused? Everyone knows what Biaoyang is like, so they can only suspect you. Liu Yuan was also secretly glad that he had done a good job of keeping the secret, otherwise, he would have been targeted by the court long ago. As for the empress, she probably would not associate old Lu with her, as she had asked Prince Wan to destroy as many files related to him as possible. Xiao Jianjia was loyal to the empress and will not harm her own father-in-law, right? Even if the empress knew, there are still Prince Wan and his son. They also have to rely on Biaoyang's support. Just take the blame. It's my honor to take the blame for the master. Shang Wei is also a free and easy person. Why should the monarch trust a subordinate who can't even take the blame? Li Yuan gave Shang Wei an affirmative look. Old Chang, don't worry. You won't be blamed for too long. Shang Wei and his men won't dare to massacre the city. As for Bian Jing, you just say that Xiao Yi is a fake emperor and you only recognize the female emperor. Just push the empress out as a shield. Master, you are wise. After the two of them decided on the relationship of primary and secondary, Chang Wei adapted quickly and flattered him without any discomfort. By the way, Master, since Bau Jingdu has fallen, how about officially incorporating Biaoyang Pass into Biaoyang Prefecture? Don't worry, wait a little longer. The government wants to draw water from the Jingyang River. Can it go through Biaoyang Pass? Don't worry, the benefits will not be forgotten in Biaoyang Pass. After meeting Shang Wei, Li Yuan devoted himself to the work of the new year. As Biaoyang Prefecture expanded, Li Yuan became increasingly busier. Every day's schedule was very tight. On this day, Li Yuan was inspecting the shipyard on the banks of the Jingyang River in Hengshan County. Tens of thousands of workers were involved in the construction, and the shipyard was built very quickly. A rough outline had already emerged, and when the flood season came, the river water in the upper reaches would surge, and the water levels in the lower reaches would also rise. Therefore, the shipyard must be built before the flood season arrives. The ice on both sides of the river has cracked, the river is flowing faster, and tender grass has sprouted on both sides of the riverbank. Li Yuan thought for a moment and said, the riverbanks on both sides need to be built, raised, and widened to prevent the river water from backflowing during the flood season. Honggu was busy recording. Li Yuan saw her embarrassment. It was okay to let Honggu wield swords and guns, but asking her to read and write was more painful than killing her. Li Yuan smiled, took the notebook and pencil from her hands, and started recording. Master, I have been practicing calligraphy seriously recently, said Honggu with a red face. She could read, but only read. She was not good at writing. It was only after she followed Li Yuan and was forced by him that she began to read and write seriously. You have to be more serious. Being uneducated is a big disadvantage. Yes, master. Honggu liked Li Yuan's helpless yet doting look. She started killing people at the age of 8, and has been on the road for 20 years. No less than 300 people have died at her hands, and her heart has long been as hard as iron. But this man, who was a few years younger than her, completely fascinated her. When you find your elder brother in the future, you can't tell him that you can kill people with a knife, right? Honggu's eyes dimmed. 20 years ago she was also a rich girl pampered by her parents. My father was a bodyguard and he owned a bodyguard agency, which was quite famous in Diaxia. His mother was even more beautiful and intelligent. She also had an older brother who was 3 years older than him. However, overnight, their family was ruined. The father didn't know who he had offended and attracted a powerful enemy. In order to protect them, he sent the brother and sister away separately. She traveled around the world just to find her elder brother and find the real murderer. Wandering in Biaoyang, he also followed the clues, but the clues ended here. Finally he was ambushed by the barbarians and rescued by Li Yuan. Don't worry, we will definitely find your elder brother, Li Yuan said. Thank you, master. Honggu cheered up. If he really wanted to avenge his parents, he would have discovered me long ago. I have been looking for him for so many years, but there is no news. Or, he's dead. Or maybe he was afraid and didn't want to avenge his parents. The former is fine, but if it's the latter, and all my hard work in finding him over the years is a joke. Li Yuan sighed, thinking that he was a bad mouth. Just as he was about to comfort her, someone came to report. Master, they. Li Yuan looked at the person who came and frowned. Don't be anxious, tell me slowly. What happened to them? They're back. Who's back? The people who went to sea back then are back. Chapter 113, Sea Chart, Seeds. Fuck. Where are they? Li Yuan was stunned. He had been thinking about them these days and didn't expect them to really come back. I just passed Biaoyang Pass not long ago and damn on my way to the palace. Li Yuan had no intention of staying in Hengshan County anymore, so he took Honggu and quickly returned to Biaoyang Prefecture. What a coincidence, Li Yuan arrived just as the people who went out to sea returned home. Xia Yuan led everyone to the reception hall. They were all in tattered clothes and looked haggard. I don't know, I thought it was a group of beggars. But the average age of these people is no more than 35 years old, and most of them are young and strong. Each one of them is a hero carefully selected by Li Yuan. Hurry! The master is here. Xia Yuan was sharp-eyed and saw Li Yuan coming at a glance. Immediately afterwards, everyone turned to look at Li Yuan. The Raging Sea Squad is here to see the master. Li Yuan strode forward and hugged Chen He, the leader. Old Chen. You're finally back. Chen He, as the son of a merchant in his early years, he traveled around with his father and became quite knowledgeable. However, the good times did not last long and the Chen family fell into decline. His parents were forced to death by debt collectors, so he had no choice but to flee to Biaoyang with his elderly grandparents and a younger sister. In the end, he was rescued by Liu Yuan, and was reused because of his abilities. After Liu Yuan selected the team to go to sea, Chen He was the first to step forward. He is also one of Liu Yuan's most trusted confidants. You've become thinner, darker, and more haggard. Be suffered a lot. Liu Yuan patted him on the back after 2 years at sea. Chen He, I seem to have aged 10 years. It's not hard for the sake of the master and all the compatriots in Biaoyang. Chen He is happy to do it. Only Chen He knew how he had been doing in the past 2 years, but he did not complain of being tired, and neither did the brothers behind him. The Raging Sea Squad set out with 200 men, and returned with 776 men. Chen He not only did not take credit for it, but choked up and said, "It is Chen He who is incompetent. Please punish me, sir. You don't need me to tell you what's going on at sea. I know it well. Even a fleet that sails the sea all year round may be wiped out if it encounters high waves, not to mention that you are newcomers. It was beyond my expectation that so many people would come back. You are heroes, and those brothers who died in foreign lands are even more so." Liu Yuan's eyes were red, and he walked to the other brothers and hugged them one by one. "Thank you for your hard work, welcome home." The vicissitudes of their appearance were caused by wind and rain. Their rough skin surface was like dry land. They were all dark and thin, with sunken eye sockets, which made Liu Yuan feel distressed. Some people even had missing limbs. But they were able to come back alive because they were lucky. Liu Yuan's words of comfort and a hug made these men burst into tears. Xia Yuan was also wiping her tears. Liu Yuan was not putting on a show. He just wanted to see with his own eyes every brother who came back alive, and those who did not come back didn't even have ashes. Some were swept away by the waves, some died of illness on the way, and some were attacked by the enemy overseas. If they had not been equipped with Biaoyang's weapons, they would probably have been wiped out. Liu Yuan asked them to go to the guest house to wash up and prepared the most suitable clothes and the most sumptuous meal for them. Every wanderer who returns home feels the warmth of home. From beginning to end, Liu Yuan never asked them what they got, and all his attention was on them. People-oriented is Biaoyang's slogan, and it is also the belief that Liu Yuan has implemented from beginning to end. Soon, everyone finished washing up and came to the hall. Liu Yuan didn't make any noise. "Let's eat, he first." Everyone looked at the sumptuous meal on the table and swallowed their saliva wildly. After getting Liu Yuan's approval, they could no longer hold back and immediately started to eat with relish. Delicious, so delicious. For the past 2 years or so, I've been craving this. Some people started crying again while eating. They cried because they could go home. And they cried because of the attention they would receive after returning home. Liu Yuan raised his glass, looked around, and said loudly, "You have been away for more than 2 years, to be exact. It has been 814 days. During these 814 days, I missed you every day. I will never treat my deceased brothers unfairly. Those who are alive should enjoy the present moment. Thank you for your contribution to Biaoyang. On behalf of all the residents of Biaoyang, Liu Yuan toasts to you." Having said that, Liu Yuan swallowed it in one gulp. Long live the master! Long live Biaoyang! Everyone drank it in one gulp with great enthusiasm, and everyone felt that they would die for their friend. You have to know that the population of Biaoyang at that time was less than 1 million, and it was just a county. Why are they willing to go to sea one after another? Are they not afraid of death? No, they are grateful to Liu Yuan and regard Biaoyang as their home. Liu Yuan has never let them down, either in the past or now. Chen He was even more moved. He said to Liu Yuan, "Biaoyang is much stronger than before. Just now when I came in through the gate, I thought I was in the wrong place. On the way back, I heard that the master led the Biaoyang guards and was invincible in every battle. I wanted to fly back immediately to serve the master." He was not flattering when leaving home. Everyone had thought in their hearts, what would happen if Biaoyang County was gone when they came back? Liu Yuan knew them well and promised to send someone to wait for them at the dock where they left. So as soon as they got ashore, the people from Biaoyang Prefecture told them the current situation immediately. Biaoyang County not only continued to stand, but also became Biaoyang Prefecture, with a population of over 1 million. The barbarians were destroyed and the Diaxia Pass and Dajing Pass were captured. He couldn't even imagine it. At the same time, an extremely strong sense of pride arose in my heart. He believed that every brother who returned from the sea had the same feeling. You are working so hard outside. How dare I slack off? Only when the people are getting better and better, I will have the face to see you, Liu Yuan said with a smile. Everyone present admired Liu Yuan after hearing this. How could they not fight for their lives for such a great master? Master, this is the sea chart we made. And the route map we purchased from foreign merchants. This time, we sailed from the East China Sea, traveled thousands of miles, passed through more than 200 countries, and established trade cooperation with chambers of commerce in more than 100 countries. Not only that, we found the crop seeds you asked us to look for, Che, I said. Li Yuan was also very happy and took the nautical chart to look at it. Looking at the nautical chart, Li Yuan studied it carefully. This world is indeed different. Not only is it bigger, but the geographical location is also different. Having said that, everything has its own rules and there is a trace to follow for everything. Che not only made a nautical chart, but also wrote a book about his sea travels, which recorded the customs, geographical location and climate of various countries. The locations where the grain was found were also marked on the nautical chart. Most of these crops are grown in temperate zones. This is an immutable law. Relying on Li Yuan's unreliable speculation, Chen Hachai and others actually accomplished the task. Chapter 114 Unboxing. Li Yuan could imagine the hardships involved with just a little bit of his toes. Relying on nautical charts and navigation records, Li Yuan already has a general understanding of this world. These two things are absolutely priceless. Li Yuan was immediately fascinated. After everyone had eaten and drunk their fill, Li Yuan had everyone sent back home and told them that a merit-making meeting would be held in 2 days. Everyone went back to reunite with their families with anticipation. But Chen Che and his 2 deputies stayed. Chen Che is the team leader, and there are 2 deputy captains, namely Shank Wang and Yang Tao. There were originally 3 deputy captains, and another deputy captain had already died. When he left, Chen Che brought a lot of supplies. And when he came back, he also returned with a full load. In addition to gold, silver and jewelry, there are spices worth thousands of gold, ivory thicker than legs, and overseas envoys. Apart from the red-haired ghost with blonde hair and blue eyes, there are also black people with pitch-black bodies. Li Yuan was in no mood to deal with them now, so he asked Tex I Yuan to receive them. He couldn't wait to ask Chen Che to take out the crop seeds he had found. Master, this is the mother plant of sweet potatoes you mentioned. The vines are difficult to preserve. So I learned it from the locals how to breed with sweet potatoes. It is the beginning of spring now, and in a few days, we can plant sweet potatoes. Chen Che I took out a crop manual, which detailed the matters that need to be paid attention to when planting various crops. Li Yuan looked at the sweet potatoes and was very happy, although they were different from what he remembered. They were sweet potatoes that had not been cultivated. The yield of sweet potatoes per moo is about 700 kilograms, which is amazing, and just like what the master said. It has enough starch and can resist hunger. The only problem is that if you eat too much, you will fart. If you eat it every day, you will easily have diarrhea, said Yang Tao. Li Yuan nodded. The yield of 700 kilograms per moo was already far ahead. After the excellent training, the yield of 1,000 kilograms per moo was not a problem, so he hurriedly asked someone to call Ni Yuan. Soon, Ni Yuan arrived, but he was so smelly that Li Yuan almost vomited. Ni Yuan, did you fall into a manure pit? Why does it stink so bad? Ni Yuan scratched his head, embarrassed. Lie, master. I just came from the fertilizer factory and haven't had time to change clothes. Oh, that's okay. Li Yuan waved his hand and then introduced Chen Che and others. Upon learning that Chen Che and the others had returned from the sea, Ni Yuan immediately showed respect. The master has been talking about you guys a lot, and finally you are back. Chen Che and others also knew Ni Yuan and greeted him one after another. This time they came back with a lot of good stuff. Li Yuan took out a sweet potato seed. This is the sweet potato I was talking about. It's grown in the temperate zone overseas, on a small island full of indigenous people. The yield per moo is 700 kilograms. Ni Yuan took the sweet potato seeds carefully, as if he had seen a peerless beauty. But remember, the mother seed of sweet potato is poisonous and cannot be eaten. The most important thing is to cultivate the sweet potato vine. Cut a section of the vine and bury it in the soil. As long as it takes root, it will produce seeds within a few months. Put these mother seeds in the greenhouse for cultivation. At the beginning, we have no experience, so we can experiment first in April and May. We can plant them on a large scale. Has Li Yuan never eaten pork, but has he never seen a pig run? And there are greenhouses. So sweet potatoes can be grown all year round. As long as you have mature experience, promotion is just a matter of time. Ni Yuan nodded heavily. Master, don't worry, if anything goes wrong, you can ask me for it. In addition, the cultivation of sweet potato varieties is also very important. Its yield per moo is only 700 kilograms, and there is still a lot of room for improvement in the future. In my opinion, the yield per moo of sweet potatoes should be between 1,000 and 5,000 kilograms. So let those people in the Ministry of Agriculture pay more attention to it. Everyone was amazed. 1,000 to 5,000 kilograms. If this is true, even if the population of Biaoyang increases several times, it can still be supported. Although they thought it was an exaggeration, no one questioned Li Yuan. Because Li Yuan never brags, everything he says, he will fulfill without exception. It's like the Raging Sea team went out to sea. But Li Yuan didn't go out to sea, so how did they know that there were these high-yield crops in these places? How many people doubted it at that time? But what is the result? It surprised everyone. Yes, master. Ni Han nodded heavily. After explaining the sweet potatoes, Li Yuan continued to move forward. Master, this is the corn you mentioned. Chen Hai took out the corn. The corn was not as thick as Li Yuan remembered, and was not much bigger than a banana. The yield per mu is about 200 kilograms. However, it is very cold resistant, drought resistant, and easy to grow. It can be used as a staple food and will not cause gas or diarrhea if eaten too much like sweet potatoes. Li Yuan nodded. This was within his expectations in ancient times. Corn had low yields due to limitations in varieties, planting techniques, and other issues. The yield of 200 kilograms per mu may seem small, but don't forget that this thing can survive in the mountains. Moreover, this is the real staple food when ground into cornmeal. It is especially filling. This thing is suitable for planting in bitter cold lands. The yield per mu is a bit low, but it is full of treasures. Platycodon and Platycodon grandiflorum can be used as firewood, and the seeds can be used as staple food. Moreover, the low yield is a problem of the variety. Its upper limit should be between 1,000 and 1,500 kilograms. We will also conduct experiments in the greenhouse. We will breed seeds first this year to accumulate experience, then we can publish a planting manual and promote it throughout the prefecture, Li Yuan said. It's the master. Ni Han was so excited. The farmer loves two things the most, land and food. Master, this is cassava. Shangguan lifted a piece of cloth, revealing the tuberous rhizome inside. Li Yuan nodded. This thing has a high yield, with an output of more than 1,000 kilograms per mu, and it is very easy to grow. It is drought resistant, but not cold resistant. If you want to grow it in Biaoliang, you have to grow it in a greenhouse. It is more suitable for planting in the south, but we currently do not have the soil suitable for growing it. Moreover, this thing is poisonous. If it is not detoxified, it will kill people if eaten. First cultivate them in the greenhouse, and when the time is right, plant them on a large scale. The grain is good, but it cannot be grown if this high-yield grain were more cold resistant. It would be perfect. What a pity. Li Yuan sighed. The territory was still too small. Immediately afterwards, the group moved to another carriage. Chen Hai lifted the cloth on the carriage and said, Master, this is the potato you have been asking for. It also comes from the temperate zone, from that indigenous island, and the yield per mu is about 800 kilograms. Except for the sprouted ones which are poisonous and cannot be eaten, these small potato eggs can be used as staple food or as a vegetable. They are especially good for resisting hunger, and in some places, the varieties can be grown in 1 year. Most importantly, it is drought resistant and cold resistant, and can be stored longer than sweet potatoes. If stored properly, it can even be stored for half a year or even longer. Ni Han took a deep breath. Such a small thing can produce 800 kilograms per mu? Chen Hai, you are not lying to me, right? Chapter 115. Xiao Jianjia is full of confidence. Who lied to you? These are the conclusions I drew from my field visits, Chen Hai said. The yield of rice per mu we grow is only about 300 to 400 kilograms at most, right? The yield per mu is 800 kilograms, and even if you work in the fields, you can still get 300 to 400 kilograms. Do you think it's powerful or not? Ni Han picked up a potato egg and looked at Li Yuan, as if wanting to get a positive answer from Li Yuan. Li Yuan was also a little excited. Corn, sweet potatoes and potatoes. With these three things together, Biaoliang's food crisis would be completely solved within 2 years. Even if the little ice age affects Biaoliang, he has a way to get through it safely. As for cassava, that is a backup option. Although potatoes are good, they consume a lot of soil. After planting potatoes this year, we have to leave the land idle for a year or two and apply fertilizer or plant soybeans to nourish the land. If you plant blindly, the soil's fertility will be exhausted within a few years. So we need to plant scientifically and stagger planting, and not drain the pond to catch all the fish. Li Yuan suppressed his excitement, picked up a potato egg, and thought of braised pork with potato egg, stewed beef brisket with potatoes, eggplant with potatoes, French fries, potato chips. His mouth was full of saliva, and he could only wipe it off. These were seeds and could not be eaten. Let's breed first, and then plant on a large scale after success. Yes, master. Ni Han held sweet potatoes, cassava, corn and potatoes in his hands, feeling very rich. These seeds are classified as top secret. Whoever leaks the seeds will be killed by me no matter where he goes, Li Yuan said. When everyone heard this, they all agreed. Afterwards, Chen Hai introduced some fruits and vegetables, but with such a good example before him, Li Yuan was not very interested. He just asked Ni Han to breed them and enrich the tables of the people of Biaoliang. He also specially assigned people to guard the seeds around the clock, and even Ni Han's use had to be recorded in detail. Li Yuan asked Chen Hai and others to go back and reunite with their families first, and then asked someone to use a loudspeaker to notify the whole city. The people were also happy to learn that the angry sea squad had returned to the city. In the blink of an eye, it was the day of the merit meeting. Li Yuan asked every team member to ride on a big horse, wear red flowers on their chests, and parade through the streets to receive the cheers of the people. Everyone's face showed pride and excitement. If one does not return home in splendor, it is like walking in splendor at night. Li Yuan gave them enough respect and face. At the same time, Li Yuan also asked some teenagers to stand on the carriage holding the spirit tablets of the sacrificed team members in their hands. This honor also belongs to them. After the parade, everyone came to the square, which was already packed with people. Ao Changshi also rushed back specially. He held a list in his hand and read out the names of the victims aloud. The above sacrifices were all awarded first-class merits and were placed in the Biaoliang Ancestral Hall to receive incense offerings from the people of the prefecture. Their parents were taken care of by the government and buried with them. Their children are trained by the government. And when they reach the age of 15, they are admitted on a limited basis. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone shouted, "Long live the master." After a while, everyone calmed down. Li Yuan then asked Cao Wei and Hu to read out the appointment. Chen Ha, captain of the Raging Sea Squadron, has been awarded special merit effective immediately. He will be appointed director of the ship division and enjoy the rank of a full brigade commander. Shank Wang, deputy captain, has won special merit and will be appointed as the director of the ship department from now on, and his military rank will enjoy deputy brigade level treatment. Yang Tao, deputy captain, won the first-class merit and will be appointed as the director of the Fisheries Administration Department from now on, with a military rank of deputy brigade level. These three people rose to fame in one step. Except for Wang Dabiao, who is a division-level cadre, Zheng Yujin and others are only at the brigade level. And some are even hovering at the regiment level. Moreover, the three of them hold dual positions. The Shipping Administration is the superior office of the Fisheries Administration. It has never existed before. But now with the Hengshan County and the Jingyang River, the Shipping Administration must be the most lucrative office in Biaoliang Prefecture. Who wouldn't be envious? But no one dared to be jealous. Because they risked their lives for these. The deeds of the Raging Sea Squad have been played out many times in the past 2 days. Every Biaoliang person can tell of their achievements fluently. As for the others, at the very least they were promoted 3 levels, and in addition to sharing houses, cars, money, they even shared women. Everyone is particularly satisfied. Li Yuan took care of everyone. Moreover, before this, someone entered the government office and got a golden rice bowl. Some entered the military and became cadres, dressed in fine clothes and riding horses. Everyone is happy. Li Yuan gained a group of die-hard fans and got a stable pass to the troubled times, so he killed them all. Only Su Xiui on the side looked worried. At this time, Xiao Ji and Jia had finished watching the return of the Condor heroes and she was very satisfied with the ending. The only thing she was not satisfied with was that Xiao Long Nu was deafled, which made her feel very disgusted. Fortunately, lovers finally get married. She likes Yang Jiyuo's righteousness and also likes Xiao Long Nu's coldness. She put herself into the role again. But the thought of being deafled made her feel uncomfortable. It feels like there are bugs crawling all over my body. Asshole, why do you have to write it this way? Can't you just write that the old poisonous creature arrived in time to save Xiao Long Nu? Or, let Yang Jiyuo. What am I thinking? That bastard is a traitor. Is he worthy of being Yang Jiyuo? Yang Jiyuo's father is a traitor who sells out his friends for fame. But Yang Jiyuo is a very good person. He is not even worthy of carrying Yang Jiyuo's shoes. Xiao Ji and Jia suppressed her dissatisfaction, and looked out the window. The territory was already in sight. She took out the mask from the box and put it on her face. Entering the territory, she became nervous again. Along the way, the drought situation became more and more serious, and the disaster in Zongshu was now replicated in Tongshu. But this time, she had a plan. Xiao Ji and Jia immediately called Prince Duan, Lu Qiushan and others over. Ma Sanbao quickly ran to Xiao Ji and Jia's side, and kept complaining, "Ancestor, why didn't you take me with you when you went on a long journey? I was so worried." "Sanbao, I'm fine." Xiao Ji and Jia waved her hand. She gained a lot from this trip to Biaoliang. "Uncle Wang, did you receive my letter?" Prince Duan hurriedly said. "Reporting to the Holy King, I have received it. I have already manufactured a siege vehicle according to the blueprint and conducted experiments. The effect of digging tunnels is very good. If it is put into use, it will definitely be able to dig through Tongshu City." Xiao Ji and Jia didn't waste any time and went to see the real thing first. He also asked someone to cover it up personally. It was not only well protected but also had strong digging ability. She nodded in satisfaction. "Very good. How many have you made now?" "There is a cross." Xiao Ji and Jia nodded and thought to herself, "That's enough. Let us attack the city tonight." Everyone was stunned. "Your Highness, is this too fast? We are running out of food and grass. If we don't take Tongshu, We will be trapped to death sooner or later, Xiao Jianjia said, and this time, I not only brought back the blueprints for digging tunnels, but also secret weapons. Tongshu City can't stop me. Chapter 116. The slap in the face came too fast, like a tornado. That night, in Tongshu City, Angshu Governor, Wang Yu, is plotting with his confidants. Ever since the disappearance of the Empress and the fall of Bau Jingji, Wang Yu, under the persuasion of his confidants, embarked on the path of independence. The number of troops under his command also expanded from 4,000 to 15,000. As the disaster spread, Wang Yu's stored grain ran out. Fortunately, his family was in business, so grain was constantly shipped in from Jiangnan. But now Jiangnan has also become a dangerous place. But the cavalry of the Xi and Yin dynasties galloping around, and their business has also been affected. He further retreated to Bianjing and at the same time asked him to recapture the entire Tongshu. And standing before them was the Holy King. My lord, although the Saint King's army is strong and its territory spans Tongshu and Zongshu, it is surrounded by enemies and there is no strategic city. I think now is the best time. Governor Shi Zhenghuo Wang said, now, we are defending Tongshu, and sooner or later we will run out of ammunition and food. Many people agreed. Wang Yu shook his head and said, I am not afraid of fighting. The only thing I am afraid of is the dispatch of the imperial court. Yang Ji has taken over the emperor and ordered the princes to withdraw troops from all over the country. If you are targeted by them, you not only have to send troops but also money and food. If they invite me to go to Bianjing, should I go or not? If you don't leave, it will be considered treason and everyone will be able to kill you. The imperial court is corrupt, but Daqian is still alive, and I cannot lose my official status. It's not that Wang Yu is timid, but he is unwilling to show up. The reason why he was suppressed and beaten by the Holy King was that he pretended to be weak and to delay time. He will wait until Yang Ji is finished, or the world is in turmoil and everyone is raising the banner of rebellion. And he can take advantage of the situation to fish in troubled waters. My lord, you worry too much, Zhenghuo Wang bowed and said. They want to destroy the Holy King because he has become a threat to us, and like other rebels, these people have rules and regulations, can train soldiers, and are very strong. If we continue to let it go, it will eventually become a threat. As the saying goes, one should not allow others to sleep soundly beside one's bed. After destroying the Holy King, we may be able to expand our army again, and we can also expand our strength under the banner of the Holy King. After all, there is not much food left and it is difficult to transport it. The only way we can survive is to steal it. Please think twice. My lord, how can the women's army of the Saint King be our opponents? Wang Yu did not take these people seriously at all. Last year, they attacked the Mother of No Life and the Heavenly King of Pagoda, but they did not dare to provoke us this year. They will not dare to do so either. Our Tongshu city is high. Just then, a loud noise came from outside, accompanied by the sound of a bell, interrupting Wang Yu's words. Everyone in the hall looked in the direction of the sound. Zhenghuo Wang was shocked. It's the alarm bell on the city wall. Someone is attacking at night. Wang Yu's heart skipped a beat. Let's go see what's going on. Soon, the servant came back to report, Sir, a group of bandits are attacking the city from outside, with no less than 10 people. Which bandit army? The Holy King's army. After getting a positive answer, Wang Yu's face was burning. He had just boasted that the Holy King's army would not dare to attack, but he was slapped in the face in the blink of an eye. What are you still standing there for? Everyone, get on the city wall. Wang Yu slammed the table. Bring me my armor. After putting on his armor, Wang Yu strode out with big strides. These bandit troops did not come earlier or later, but just came later. The fucking new year isn't even over yet. They must keep these people here today. A large number of civilians were called up from the streets to carry supplies to the city walls. Countless torches illuminated the city walls. The solemn and murderous atmosphere shrouded the sky above Tongshu City. Just as Wang Yu was about to go up to the city, Zhenghuo Wang stopped him and said, My lord, don't go up. Get out of the way. I want to go up to the city wall and beat the drum. Zhenghuo Wang did not let go, and said in horror, They have mysterious weapons, like thunderbolts, which can blow a bloody hole into a person when they fall on him. What thunder and lightning, that's all. Bang! Before Wang Yu could finish his words, a loud noise was heard not far from him. His face suddenly felt painful, and he felt something piercing his cheek. Wang Yu screamed in pain, Escort me back quickly. He was scared, really scared. What the hell is this? He retreated far away, and Zhenghuo Wang took a closer look and found that a piece of iron was deeply embedded in Wang Yu's cheek. Hurry up and call a doctor for me. I'm dying of pain. When Wang Yu spoke, the muscles on his face moved, which made it hurt even more. And the pain was getting worse. Zhenghuo Wang also became anxious and hurriedly called a doctor to treat Wang Yu. But just as the doctor was on his way, The Holy King's army had already dug through the tunnel. A large number of soldiers rushed into the city through the tunnel. Leading the way was the female army led by Xiao Ji and Jia. Xiao Ji and Jia, who had short hair, also took off her original wig and just tied her hair with a red rope. The golden mask also turned into a green ghost mask with a ghost face and fangs. She was wearing armor made in Biaoyang, holding a steel knife, and led the women's army into the city. Behind him are Grape, Watermelon and others. Prince Duan and his son were also among them. This tool for digging tunnels was better and faster than they had imagined. The Tongshu city, which had originally deterred Xiaoji and Jia and made her prepare to make great sacrifices, was now easily entered. Not only engineering vehicles, but also explosive arrows. This arrow is not as powerful as the one used by Lu Yuan when attacking Dajing Pass, but it is poisoned. Even if no one is killed by the explosion, as long as one is injured by the iron sheet, the poison applied will not kill the person immediately, but it will definitely cause the wound to fester and make life worse than death. Xiaoji and Jia's blood was boiling. She finally experienced what Lu Yuan felt when he broke through Dajing Pass. That kind of relaxation and comfort is just like eating and drinking water. If you want to do your work well, you must first sharpen your tools. This is what the dog man said. With these powerful weapons, conquering cities is indeed much easier. The sharp steel knife separated the enemy's skin, cut off their flesh and bones, and then cut off from the other end without any delay. Xiaoji and Jia swung the steel knife, and the blood on the blade splashed onto the ground, feeling indescribably happy. Once upon a time, she could only hide in the deep palace and feel sorry for herself. But now, she has to rely on the steel knife in her hand to recover Daqian and retrace the path of Tai Ziyu. Kill, Xiaoji and Jia shouted loudly. The female soldiers behind her also responded loudly, kill. A murderous aura throughout the day frightened those who looked down on the women's army. Who says women are inferior to men? They don't believe this. Wang Yu was lying in a rocking chair at this moment, asking the doctor to remove the iron piece from his face. As soon as he took out the iron sheet, he heard the servants shouting in panic, "Oh no, the Holy King's army has entered the city, run away." Crash! Everyone fled in all directions. Wang Yu was so frightened that he rolled off the recliner and fell to the ground. No, this is impossible. How could such a mob attack so quickly? Chapter 117, How discriminatory people are in this world. The bloody hole on his face was still bleeding, and he looked a little hideous. Zheng Huo Wang listened carefully to the shouting and killing outside, his heart in his throat. My lord, let's escape through the tunnel quickly. As long as we have the Green Mountains, we will not be afraid of running out of firewood. Run away. Wang Yu was not giving up and rushed out with a knife in hand. However, as soon as he reached the gate, he saw the Tongshu army, which he was proud of, being killed and crying for their parents, and even the cavalry were running for their lives. Bang bang bang. Bang bang bang. The sound of dense explosions rang in my ears. The countless flames were overwhelming. At that moment, Wang Yu took a deep breath and his soul flew away. He slammed the door shut, bolted it, and walked quickly to the hall with a knife in hand, shouting at them, "Hurry, go through the tunnel." Zheng Huo Wang also followed behind him. If he escaped from the north gate at this time, he would definitely be caught up. Only by going through the tunnel would he have a chance of survival. However, what Zheng Huo Wang did not expect was that at the moment he was about to enter the tunnel, a steel knife chopped towards him. His throat hurt, and then a large amount of blood spurted out of his mouth. He looked at the man with cold eyes in disbelief. Master, you. Wang Yu looked at Zheng Huo Wang, who died with his eyes wide open, and sneered. You really think I don't know that you want to kill me? After saying that, he took out a tinder, set the room on fire, and thick smoke immediately rose. Then, he went into the tunnel without looking back. The sky gradually brightened. Xiaoji and Jia stood on the city wall, and corpses were constantly being carried down. The air was filled with the smell of blood and gunpowder. After a night of clearing out the mess, the blade of her steel knife was blunt. He was even stabbed in the arm. Rape was helping her clean and suture the wound. Xiaoji and Jia didn't even use Sma Fi San and had to hold it in. Your Majesty, it's okay now, Grape said. Xiaoji and Jia glanced at the wound, but didn't take it seriously. She asked, have you found the governor of Tongshu? No, there was a fire in the prefect's mansion, and Wang Yu was nowhere to be seen. He must have escaped, said Grape. Have the casualties been counted? In this battle, we lost 2 female soldiers, 340 others, 50 seriously injured, and no less than 700 slightly injured. Killed 3,200 enemies. Captured more than 11,000 prisoners, 2,000 war horses, a number of weapons, a number of gold and silver treasures, and 10,000 dan of military rations. Xiao Podeo said, disappointed lie. This 10,000 dan of food could only sustain the army for a month at most. It's too little. Xiao Ji and Jia was also a little disappointed. It doesn't matter, Tongshu connects the north and the south, we can use it as a base to expand outward. The next step is to wipe out those rebels in Zongshu, and there will be no danger in the rear. Also, there is no need to single out the women's army in the future. Male and female soldiers should be treated equally. Yes, Your Majesty. Xiao Jianjia hammered the battlement hard. The battle was so smooth, but the casualty ratio was so high. She sent out 10,000 troops, but the casualties were as high as a terrifying 11. Think about Li Yuan's attack on Dajing Pass with 20,000 troops. How much did he gain? The casualty ratio is shockingly low. After all, I'm still no match for that bastard. Xiao Jianjia was not discouraged. She thought that if she was given time, she would definitely be able to catch up with Li Yuan. After taking Tongshu City, Lu Qiushan also arrived with a team of civil servants. They first congratulated Xiao Jianjia, and then said, "Now that our army has captured Tongshu City, we have truly established a foothold with a state as our base. The recovery of Daqian is just around the corner. But Your Majesty, it is not time to be happy yet, because the further south you go, the richer it is and the less impact the disaster will have. There are also powerful garrisons from the imperial court there. Therefore, I think we should continue to expand westward or eastward, as only the people here are most likely to join the Holy King army." There was no one around at this time, and Lu Qiushan returned to his usual state. Xiao Jianjia nodded. "I understand. From now on, the affairs in Tongshu City will depend on Lu King. I will devote myself to the service," Lu Qiushan said respectfully. Now, Xiao Jianjia has two great generals, Lu Qiushan for civil affairs and Prince Duan for military affairs. So her focus should be on expanding territory. Next, I will clean up Songshu. Lu King must be prepared. After taking Tongshu, Xiao Jianjia expanded his army again by 10,000, of which the women's army increased from 800 to 1,200. The cavalry increased from 1,000 to 1,800. The total force reached 25,000 people. But although there are many people, their combat effectiveness is very low. She learned Li Yuan's method of having veterans lead new recruits, and even borrowed Biao Yang's method of training soldiers. She knew that she couldn't take the elite route. They could only select the best troops from the army as possible and then follow Lu Qiushan's human wave strategy. After resting for 2 days, they immediately attacked the Wusheng Lamu sect. Xiao Jianjia even dreamed of chopping people. Every time she was the first to charge in the front, wearing a ghost mask to intimidate the enemy. After defeating the pagoda-bearing Heavenly King, Xiao Jianjia's women's army was given a name, the Ghost-Faced Army, and Xiao Jianjia was even called the God of Killing by the enemies. Most of Zongshu had been taken, and Xiao Jianjia was seriously injured. If it weren't for the advice of her ministers, she would have continued the attack. "Your Majesty, we have now taken over 1.5 states and have nearly 1 million people under our command. We can take a break now," Prince Duan advised. "We can rest." Xiao Jianjia shook her head. "Although we have a half state, can we grow food? We don't know how long the drought will last. We must get more food to help the people." "I can rest, but can the people rest? We have conquered such a large territory, so we must be responsible for the people under our rule." Prince Duan sighed secretly. With such great pressure, not only a woman, but even a man would not be able to bear it. It is really too difficult for Xiao Jianjia to bear such pressure alone. If he had known this, he probably shouldn't have pushed Xiao Jianjia to the front. Lu Qiushan said, "That being said, Your Majesty is worth a ton of gold. If you get hurt, who will shoulder the heavy responsibility of reviving the great Qian?" "Mr. Lu, if you don't lead troops, you don't know the troops. If you don't govern the people, you don't know the people. I am a woman. And if I don't have prestige, how can I intimidate the 3 armies? What a man can easily get, I need 10 or even 100 times more effort. There is a lot of discrimination against women in the world. How can I be lax? Naturally, I wanted to be at home and just give orders. But can I? Everyone here is a confidant." Xiao Jianjia is not afraid of being laughed at by them. To this day, even if the women's army has earned the bad name of the Ghost Face Army, there are still people who look down on us. So, I want everyone to see clearly how a woman like me conquers the world. I want to walk the path of Taiziyu again, and I want everyone to shut up. Chapter 118, Shang Wei is plotting treason. Xiao Jianjia's words made everyone present stand in awe. This woman gave birth before marriage, was entrusted with a mission in times of crisis, experienced to palace coups, and yet stubbornly took root. People slander her more than they praise her. But her indomitable spirit surpasses that of 99 of men in the world. "I am ashamed." Lu Qiushan bowed deeply. "I am ashamed." Prince Duan looked even more guilty. "I am ashamed." One after another, they fell down in worship. Xiao Jianjia calmed down her excitement and said, "I don't need your guilt. I just need you to use your abilities to help me support the world and revive Daqian. Even if one day die on the battlefield, that is my fate, Xiaoling Xiao. I am willing to die for your majesty, and live and die with Daqian." everyone said in unison. Xiao Jianjia nodded. From this moment on, she was the true controller of this territory. She fought hard for all this. Whether it's a man or a woman, the world only respects the strong. One day, she will stand in front of Lu Yuan as an equal and tell her that she can also protect herself. Xiao Jianjia stood up and put on a ghost mask. Call the troops and prepare to attack the Changxing sect. Yes, Your Majesty. Everyone shouted in unison. At this moment, everyone was united as one under Xiao Jianjia. Just as Xiao Jianjia was preparing to attack the Changxing sect, Zhang Xian had already received news from the imperial capital. He punched the chessboard in front of him and broke it into pieces. Waste, all of you are waste. The person who played chess with him was his brother-in-law, a man from Changfu County, named Hu Jing. Hu Jing was startled. Brother-in-law, what's wrong? Zhang Xian gnashed his teeth and said, Dajing Pass was breached by Lu Yuan. Fang Xiang died, and Wang Bai surrendered in this battle. Dajing lost nearly 500 Zuri troops. Hu Jing's breathing stagnated, and then he let out a sharp explosion. How is this possible? Do you know who led the charge? Who? The most powerful general in Dajing in the past, Po Shanjun. Oaken Mountain? A terrifying guy as tall as a giant, and as strong as a bull emerged in Hu Jing's mind. This guy had torn a man in half with his bare hands in front of him. There was a flash of fear in his eyes. He surrendered too? Yes. Zhang Xian was a little anxious. They said in Xingjing that Duke Wu will lead 300 troops to confront Biaoliang, and he also asked us not to massacre the city. Then what's the point of us staying here? Hu Jing cursed. Even with 500 troops under Dajing Pass, they are no match for Li Yuan. How can Duke Wu's 300,000 troops do the job? It's none of our business. Duke Wu has signed the military order. If he loses, he will die. But if we stay here, we can continue to capture the city. Biaojingji is in the south of the Yangtze River, one of the richest regions in the world. Your Majesty, let us act according to our will and expand our territory. Zhang Xian smiled when he said this, that is to say, our good days are coming. Hu Jing was overjoyed. Then why are you still standing there? How can these small soldiers and generals of Daqian be a match for my Dajing Tiger Guards? Let's go find Shanlei. We must take control of Biaojingji. Soon, the two found Shanlei. When Zhang Xian said that he wanted the ownership of Biaojingji, Shanlei went berserk on the spot. I didn't sleep for 3 days and 3 nights, and worked hard to conquer Biaojingji. You want to leave with empty words? No way. Although he had not received any news from the court, he had already received the news that Dajing Pass had been breached. Zhang Xian just said that they cannot massacre the city, but must divide the land of Daqian and Jingshao. This is also in Shanlei's interest. But he wanted Biaojingji right away. No way. General Shan, if we hadn't worked so hard to hold back the Xiao Pass army, how could you have arrived at Biaojingji without anyone noticing? Therefore, we also have a share in Biaojingji, Hu Jing said dissatisfied. Lie. Shanlei sneered. You can want Biaojingji if you want it after a fight. Whoever has the bigger fist will get Biaojingji. Fight if you want. I'm not afraid of you. Hu Jing's eyes widened. If I lose to you, I'll be your grandson. Seeing the atmosphere was getting tense, Zhang Xian hurriedly said, don't be impulsive. We are allies now. If we fight, wouldn't that be exactly what Lu Yuan wants? We can discuss whether Biaojingji should stay or go. Of course. Our Dajing has a share in this Biaojingji. We can give up the city, but you have to make up for it with the benefits. What benefit do you want? Shanlei narrowed his eyes. Everything south of Jingshao belongs to us. You wish, Shanlei snorted coldly. That is the richest place in Daqian. If I give it all to you, what will I take? Since you don't agree, let the court decide now. We each own half from now on. We will each rely on our abilities. Whoever captures the city will own it. But I have to say this in advance, if anyone dares to stab me in the back, it will be a fight to the death. Zhang Xian said coldly. Sure, Shanlei sneered. He had searched Biaojingji twice before Zhang Xian came. All the good things in the palace were taken away by him. But even a rotten ship still has 3 pounds of nails, and Biaojingji's strategic position is too important. He absolutely cannot give in. After Zhang Xian and the other man left, Shanlei immediately gave orders for his cavalry to attack the city. Whoever is faster will get more benefits. At the same time, Bianjing Yangji has been frantically expanding his army these days. She has drawn elite troops from various provincial capitals, and not only that, he also requires them to provide their own weapons and rations. Although there are complaints, the effect is very good. The number of troops in Biaoliang had exceeded 200, and he finally felt a little safe. In addition, the Dragon Guards are about to arrive. By then, he will have the capital to confront the Xin Jing dynasties. Dad, there is news from Biaoliang Pass. Yang Ji was resting his head on the legs of Xiao Yi's wife at this time, and her belly was slightly bulging. Obviously she was pregnant. Moreover, it belongs to Yang Ji. Seeing his son coming in, Yang Ji frowned and asked, "Why didn't you knock on the door?" Yang Tao frowned slightly. "Dad, am I not anxious?" He glanced secretly at the queen, a hint of sarcasm flashing across his lips. A woman met Yang Tao's aggressive gaze and quickly looked away. "Prime Minister, can I step aside for a moment?" "Well, that's fine," Yang Ji responded, and rubbed the woman's buttocks. And then he was satisfied. After the queen left, Yang Ji sat up and said, "Bring it here." Yang Tao was somewhat dissatisfied with his father's behavior, especially after he came to Bianjing. He sowed seeds everywhere. Yang Tao knew very well what his father was thinking. Taking the letter from Yang Tao, Yang Ji said with some dissatisfaction, "In the future, don't open such important letters without permission. Let me read them first, do you understand?" Yang Tao became more and more dissatisfied, but still said respectfully, "I know, father." Yang Ji nodded, then opened the letter and began to read. Bang! He angrily threw the teacup in front of him away. "Shang Wei, you are plotting treason." Chapter 119, Driving the Tiger to Devour the Wolf. "Dad, it's just as I thought. The Biaoyang County magistrate is just a puppet pushed by Shang Wei." Yang Tao sneered. He disobeyed the orders of the court and his rebellious intentions are obvious. It as a good opportunity to expose him and let the world know who is the culprit for the fall of Biao Jingji. Yang Ji nodded. But he was indescribably horrified and hear this said worriedly. Shang Wei was able to suppress Xi Jing and the other two dynasties so that they dared not move. Such strength should not be underestimated. Once we tear our faces against him, wouldn't it force him to go against us? If I can use this kind of power, do I still need to worry about the threats from Xia and Jing dynasties? Dad, at this point, let's not hold out any hope. Yang Tao wanted to persuade his father to give up this idea. If he had such strength, he would have declared himself king long ago. Yang Ji was very conflicted. On the one hand, he urgently needed someone to take the blame, but on the other hand, he coveted Biao Yang's strength. At this moment, a voice came from outside, 100 miles in a hurry. Yang Ji was startled. "Come in." A scout ran in and knelt before Yang Ji. "Your humble servant pays respect to the regent." "The 800-mile express there?" Reporting to the regent. "A news from Biaoyang is that the Biaoyang army has breached Dajing Pass. Fang Zhenghe is dead, Wang Bai surrendered, and the one leading the charge is Dajing's former best general, Bo Shanjun." Yang Ji and his son were both dumbfounded. Yang Tao rushed over and took the urgent report from the scout, and couldn't wait to tear open the envelope. But before he could read it, it was snatched away by Yang Ji. Seeing this, Yang Ji's head was buzzing. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. Yang Ji looked at his absent-minded father, then took the urgent report and read it. Soon, he also showed a look of shock. "How is this possible?" Yang Ji came to his senses and asked the scout to collect the reward. Then he said to his son, "It's good to let Shang Wei take the blame, but if we push him too far, won't we be surrounded by enemies on three sides?" At first, he just thought that Shang Wei was a traitor hiding behind the scenes, but now this traitor has shown superhuman strength, and he has to be cautious. Shang Wei's reply was quite arrogant, but he had the capital to do so. He did not care about the lives of the people of Ba. Ugg attacked the Dajing Pass and captured hundreds of thousands of Dajing soldiers and civilians. Isn't this a deterrent to the Xi and Jing dynasties? Dad, what you mean is to drive the tiger to devour the wolf? Yang Tao reacted quickly. It's easy to label Shang Wei as a traitor, but that will only expose us to attacks from both sides. It's better to stabilize Shang Wei first and spread the news that he has destroyed the barbarians and broken through the two passes to inspire people all over the world. Wouldn't that help boost Shang Wei's prestige? Yang Tao just finished speaking when he suddenly realized, "Dad, you mean this was authorized by the court, then this achievement will naturally become ours?" Shang Wei held millions of hostages in his hands, as well as princesses from two countries and many generals. They were also afraid to act rashly and would certainly not dare to massacre the city. Firstly, we can reverse the decline and establish Bianliang's status. Secondly, once we drive the enemy out of the country, we will have enough time to deal with Shang Wei. Not bad. Yang Ji smiled faintly. The strength shown by Shang Wei made him change his mind. At least now Shang Wei still recognized Qian. He tore up Shang Wei's reply letter and said, "Shang Wei has made contributions to the country and deserves a reward. Why not make him a marquis and give him Biaoyang as a fiefdom?" Daddy is wise. Yang Ji hurriedly flattered him. Yang Ji stroked his beard and said, "Send the message as soon as possible, and then send a team to Biao Jingji to negotiate and ask them to withdraw their troops." Yang Tao nodded and left quickly. Soon, the news that Shang Wei had annihilated the barbarians, captured the Princess Single in action, and broken through two passes spread throughout Bianliang. The people were all shocked. Not to mention how Shang Wei conquered the two dynasties, the barbarians were simply invincible enemies in their eyes. Didn't the late emperor suffer enough at the hands of the barbarians? You actually said that Shang Wei has completely wiped out the barbarians? Everyone's first reaction was to question. However, the court's announcement was very detailed, explaining that the reason why it was not announced to the world at the first time was because of the Empress's suppression and concealment. Therefore, Yang Ji wanted to clear Shang Wei's name. He not only appointed him as the general's NB, but also gave him the hereditary title of Weiwu Hu, and gave him Biao Yang as his fiefdom. Only then did everyone believe that what was said above was true. For a time, the people were all excited. The images of Yang Ji and his son changed from treacherous ministers who manipulated power to loyal ministers who endured humiliation. This operation left the civil and military officials of Bianjing dumbfounded. They were also suspicious. But how could Yang Ji and his son shoot themselves in the foot with such a lie that was easily exposed? In particular, the negotiation team organized by Yang Tao left the city, which further confirmed this statement. This also invisibly intimidated all officials and made Yang Ji's prestige even greater. In their view, Shang Wei was just a puppet supported by Yang Ji. Now he controls the government. And in addition to an army of 200,000, he also has the Dragon Guards. Now there is one more Shang Wei. Who dares to underestimate Yang Ji? Even if Yang Ji ascended the throne now, no one would dare to say anything. At the same time, in Biaoyang Prefecture, Lu Yuan, who was patrolling the territory, received intelligence from the front. As the Empress completely wiped out Song Shu, Lu Yuan sighed, not knowing whether his help was good or bad. To be fair, he hoped that the Empress's power would fall, so that his father wouldn't have to run around and Xiaoji and Jia wouldn't have to fight for her life. The Empress now owns 2 states, although these 2 states are barren. They are a solid foundation. Those petty rebels are nothing but elite monsters for the Empress to practice with. They can not only gain experience but also drop food and equipment. If this continues, the flag will be revealed sooner or later, and then Shang Wei. It seems that I still need to be ruthless and curb the Empress, Lu Yuan thought. At this moment, Xi Yuan walked over quickly. Master, the stadium has been completed. Please inspect it. So soon? Lu Yuan came back to his senses. Last year's sports meet was postponed because of the war, but this year's meet cannot be delayed any further. The stadium was originally rather simple, and Lu Yuan thought that even if the international games were not held, Biaoyang Prefecture would still hold it every year. After all, as a sports powerhouse, people's living standards have improved, and physical fitness is also very important. Therefore, the stadium was built as a landmark building. Although the war was brutal, the chambers of commerce of the 2 countries still sneaked in secretly. Every month many brave caravans arrive in Biaoyang. If Biaoyang wants to develop, it cannot stand still and must trade. Only trade can revitalize the economy of Biaoyang Prefecture. A city with a population of 2 million needs more help. This international games is an opportunity for Lu Yuan to show goodwill to the outside world. Chapter 120. Open for business. How is the trade volume this quarter? Lu Yuan asked. The trade volume in the first quarter of this year hit a new high, up 260 year-on-year. Xi Yuan said with a smile. They all thought they could lock the border, but they still underestimated the greed of these businessmen. When a cannon is fired, a fortune of gold will be made. The more wartime it is, the more supplies are needed. Moreover, the merchants from these 2 countries have placed a heavy bet on us. If they don't commit crimes against the wind, more than half of them will go bankrupt. They can't afford it. Lu Yuan smiled faintly. Naturally, he would not go against his principles and embezzle the money of those merchants. Reputation is accumulated bit by bit. The stronger the Biaoyang Prefecture is, the more they will risk being beheaded and having their property confiscated when doing business with Biaoyang. The carriage stopped in front of the gymnasium, which was surrounded by a huge square in green forest, with 12 stone pillars of the Chinese zodiac standing in front. The stadium covers an area of 100 acres. Although it is not as big as the bird's nest, it is definitely a world-class project in its time. It's not that Lu Yuan is ambitious, it's just that there are too many laborers. Biaoyang Prefecture is so small, and no matter how good the infrastructure is, it can't accommodate so many people. We can't let them sit idle, so we have the stadium in front of us. There is not only a fountain in front of the square, but also a huge statue, which is the statue of Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan held his forehead with his hand and asked, "When was this statue made?" "Master, this was carved for you by everyone," Xi Yuan said. "It's also a token of everyone's kindness." Seeing the majestic statue, Lu Yuan said with a straight face, "This will not happen again." Xi Yuan was delighted. "Yes, master." Lu Yuan stood in front of his own statue for a while before leaving. The entrance to the square is composed of 24 glass doors, each with a light card to prevent stampedes. There is even a small ramp that allows wheelchairs to access it, which is a very detailed design. Lu Yuan nodded secretly after entering the hall. What caught his eye was the huge runway and grassland, surrounded by densely packed seats. It can accommodate 30,000 people to watch the game at the same time. Master, by then, 90 of the competitions will be held here, and the newly added swimming events will be held outside the city. The engineering team is surveying the site, waiting for the water from Jingyang River to be diverted here. Xia Yuan explained. Li Yuan was walking on the runway, and suddenly he felt a little dazed at this moment. He seemed to have returned to another world. If there hadn't been a rubber track, he would have thought he had put it back on. Have all the advertising space outside been sold? All of them were sold, and we received more than 3 million taels in booth fees, Xia Yuan replied. In addition, the fixed income from the commercial newspaper is more than 50,000 taels every month, although it's not much. It's a long-term benefit. At this point, Xia Yuan paused and said, Master, I have something to say, but I don't know whether I should say it or not. Speak. Li Yuan found the best seat and sat down, overlooking the entire stadium. The situation in the world is unstable now. And the customers who come to Biaoliang to do business are very worried. I remember that the master once said that when the time is right, he will open up specific areas to foreign businessmen. Biaoliang Prefecture is prosperous and does not need these. But what about Taishan County, Songshan County, and Henshin County? They all need external economic revitalization. Therefore, I believe that the time is ripe and we can select a pilot project in these 3 counties to operate. It can not only dispel the concerns of investors, but also bring vitality to Biaoliang Prefecture. Even when the time is right, it is not impossible to keep them in Biaoliang Prefecture forever. Xia Yuan was a little nervous. These are just my humble opinions. If I'm wrong, please forgive me, sir. Li Yuan exhaled a smoke and looked at Xia Yuan in surprise. How did you know that I would open up business next? Xia Yuan was delighted and said with a red face, I was just guessing. Not really? Li Yuan said with a smile, if you, as the director of the Investment Promotion Bureau, don't even have this kind of vision, then all these years have been wasted, right? But you are right, the time is indeed right now. We have flexed our muscles and demonstrated enough strength. If we had opened up to business in the past, it would definitely not be attractive enough. But it's different now. Who else but me can conquer the 3 kingdoms? Who could find a safer place than Biaoliang Prefecture? The world is in such a mess that capable people will prepare a way out for themselves. So what you mean is, don't be in a hurry, there is still some time before the sports meeting. Such a major event needs to be discussed seriously. Li Yuan had nothing else to say. The 3 counties all needed a county magistrate to preside over the overall situation. This time, it just happened to be a done deal. Li Yuan stood up and said, write out the business opening plan and give it to me. I will present it at the conference in 3 days. However, I will remind you that once a commercial city is selected for opening to the outside world, someone will need to be in charge. Xia Yuan was stunned, and then she understood what Lu Yuan meant, and immediately became excited. Yes, master. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Li Yuan held a spring meeting, and the heads of all departments gathered together. On this day, the entire Biaoliang Prefecture was under martial law. In the spacious conference room, Li Yuan sat high in the main seat, glanced around and said, the 6th Spring Conference has officially begun. Everyone sat upright. This year, the focus is still on development around Biaoliang Prefecture, but the emphasis this year is different. The population of the prefecture has now exceeded 2 million, reaching an astonishing 2.5 million people. Therefore, the expansion of the city is imminent, and the new district must be able to accommodate a population of 500. The Urban Construction Bureau will have to work harder this year, and all departments should provide support as soon as possible if there is any need. Everyone was amazed. It took Biaoliang 5 years to reach a population of 1 million, but it only took 1 year to increase its population from 1 million to 2.5 million. This speed is too fast. Chen He and his team returned from the sea with high-yield food. The Agricultural Bureau still has a heavy task to do in addition to breeding new crops and preparing for next year's sowing. The task of land reclamation is still very heavy this year. The extra land in several counties needs to be maintained and developed with emphasis. Also, you need to hurry up and get the identification documents for the new residents in place. I'll give you 2 months to get all the identification documents for the new residents in place. As Lu Yuan spoke, the people below took notes. This concerns their work tasks for the year. In addition to the tasks set by themselves, there are also plans made by Lu Yuan every year. So all departments are very busy. Lin mentioned 20 to 30 items, and Li Yuan changed the subject. That's basically it. Now our territory is large, the population is large, the information transmission is inconvenient, and the management is also decentralized. Therefore, I decided to select the 3 most suitable managers from among those present to manage the new county. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone's breathing quickened. Here it comes, the moment they have been waiting for has finally arrived. Chapter 121, Sharing the Cake. Li Yuan secretly observed the changes in everyone's expressions and said, in addition to electing the county magistrate, The garrison troops will also be sent down to the county towns below. Therefore, division and brigade commanders at all levels must be mentally prepared. Wang Dabiao and others also sat up straight. They also know very well that this is inevitable as Biaoyang Prefecture becomes stronger and stronger. The rules will become clearer and clearer. Li Yuan did not engage in any voting in Biaoyang. He is the god and his words are the imperial decree. The person to be appointed must be his confidant, and must be someone who has made contributions to Biaoyang Prefecture. If anyone dares to object, Li Yuan guarantees that he will not punish him. Kawi Nhu, you will be the magistrate of Songshan County. Li Yuan said. Kawi Nhu on the side was stunned. He never expected that he would be the first one to be appointed. Master, what have I done wrong? Kawi Nhu was not happy at all. Instead, he became nervous. He was doing well as a chief secretary, so why would he be a crappy county magistrate? Isn't that a downgrade of your status? If I have done anything wrong, please punish me, sir. You didn't do anything wrong, on the contrary. You have worked hard and done a great job over the years. Although I am reluctant to let you go, your talent should be placed on a bigger stage. Your talent will only be buried under my wings. I hope you can take care of Songshan County. It is one of the most important checkpoints in Deoxia. I am worried if you let others pass, Li Yuan explained. Kawi Nhu then realized that he had misunderstood with red eyes. He said, I can't bear to leave you. Master. Bao Chao, you and I have worked together for many years. I am reluctant to transfer you away. But someone has to go to expand the territory and maintain the local area. It is easy to conquer the world, but difficult to keep it. I hope you can be a good magistrate of Songshan County and manage the hundreds of thousands of people under your command. I have high expectations of you. Li Yuan had said so much. Kawi Nhu gritted his teeth and said, I obey your orders. He has always been Li Yuan's good wife, but now that Li Yuan let him go, he thought that maybe Li Yuan needed more new people to join. Yes, it is impossible for a mature and qualified monarch to favor only one person. Thinking of this, Kawi Nhu not only did not feel any resentment, but instead felt that he had met a wise ruler. I can't wait to go to Songshan County to show my talents. Even if he leaves Biaoyang Mansion, he will still be the eldest master's most beloved and virtuous wife. Li Yuan nodded. Xi Yuan, where is your plan? At this time, Xi Yuan stood up, took out his plan, distributed it to the others, and said, This is the port city plan formulated by the China Merchants Group. Please take a look. Everyone frowned, not understanding why the people from the Merchants Association had to interfere in the election of county magistrate. But after reading the plan of China Merchants Group, everyone suddenly realized. Li Yuan wants to develop commerce and allow merchants to do business within Biaoyang Prefecture, or even immigrate. This seems like a simple plan, but the meaning behind it is extraordinary. In their opinion, except for its small size, Biaoyang Prefecture already has all the conditions to establish a country. Allowing foreign businessmen to do business and settle down, isn't this a landmark event in the gradual nationalization of Biaoyang Prefecture? Everyone was very happy. This is a good plan. 2 years ago, someone spent thousands of dollars to live here. If it were open to business, wouldn't they be overjoyed? Of course not. Is there any paradise in the world that is safer than our Biaoyang County? In my opinion, it's really a bargain for them. Everyone was talking at once, and the conference room suddenly became lively. Li Yuan knocked on the table and everyone shut up. This plan is not suitable for Biaoyang Prefecture, Songshan County, or Taishan County, but Hengshan County, which has a waterfront wharf, is extremely suitable. At present, Hengshan County is tentatively designated as a commercial port city, but there are some loopholes in the plan. Xi Yuan immediately picked up the pen and looked at Li Yuan intently. First, the conditions for entering Biaoyang Prefecture are that if you are an old customer, you can stay in Hengshan County to do business after your capital is verified, but doing business does not mean permanent settlement rights. You need to go to the border to renew your detention permit every year, and you also need to pay a certain fee. In addition, the people they bring in also need to apply for a detention permit. Once someone commits a crime, they will be expelled from the business along with the business owner and will never be hired again. This needs to be clearly stated before applying for a business license. Second, if someone wants to settle here permanently, they need to give up their household registration in other countries. In other words, Biaoyang Prefecture does not recognize multiple nationalities. After settling permanently, there is also an entry threshold. The property must be moved to Biaoyang Prefecture, and the threshold is no less than 10,000 taels of silver. Everyone took a deep breath. Not everyone could afford 10,000 taels of silver. This is too cruel. Xi Yuan asked, Master, if that's the case, then are our registered permanent residences in Biaoyang or Daqian? Of course it's Biaoyang. What if an ordinary person wants to join us? Do they need to verify their capital? Ordinary people need a certificate from the local authorities, must be of clean background, and have a skill. As long as they pass the test, they can enter. After joining Biaoyang, you will be protected by Biaoyang. No matter who it is, if anyone dares to make things difficult for the people of Biaoyang, he will be punished even though he is far away. Print this on the identity cards of Biaoyang citizens. Li Yuan said in a resounding voice. Everyone was shocked and excited. This is the confidence and arrogance of Biaoyang Prefecture. Xi Yuan nodded and recorded all these questions. Finally, as a pilot county, I expect Hengqin County to have a population of 1 million or even more. Li Yuan said this and looked at Xi Yuan. So, are you ready? Xi Yuan nodded. I'm ready. Well, from now on, Xi Yuan will resign from the position of director of the Biaoyang Prefecture Investment Promotion Bureau and serve as the magistrate of Hengqin County. I obey your command. Xi Yuan became excited although the position of director in Biaoyang Prefecture is slightly higher than Lingjun's, that is Hengqin County, a pilot county. There are shipyards and waterways there. It will definitely be a key city in Biaoyang Prefecture in the future. Apparently falling, but rising in secret. Everyone's heart was in their throat. No one objected to Cao Wei and Hu being appointed as the magistrate of Songshan County. Xi Yuan was Lu Yuan's confidant as the director of the Investment Promotion Bureau. He ran Biaoyang's business very successfully, which was recognized by everyone. Her appointment as the magistrate of Hengqin County was popular among the people. And now, only Taishan County is left. So who will be the magistrate of Mount Tai? Next is the Taishan County magistrate. Lu Yuan thought for a moment and said, Taishan County is still under construction, so there is no magistrate for the time being. After the county is completed, another title will be given. In addition, everyone can recommend themselves for vacant positions in the prefectural office. You can also recommend yourselves to the leadership teams of the two counties. At this point, Li Yuan glanced at Lu Yang and then said, now let's talk about the army moving in. Chapter 122, Divide the Power and Divide the Troops. The division and brigade commanders present were all shocked. Li Yuan said, the infantry division 10,000 to 15. Zhao currently has 30,000 people and 6 brigades 3,000 to 7,000 people. The 5th and 6th brigades will be stationed in Songshan County, and the 3rd and 4th brigades will be stationed in Hengqin County. Wang Dabiao, do your job well. Yes, Commander, Wang Dabiao replied loudly. The cavalry brigade has 3 brigades, 2 of which are light cavalry brigades and 1 heavy cavalry brigade. The 2 light cavalry brigades will be stationed into cities respectively. Yes, Commander, Ji Irma-o replied. Zhang Lai, I am here. The firearms brigade has 4 regiments. 3 rifle regiments and 1 artillery regiment. Take out 2 infantry regiments and split the artillery regiment in 2. Yes, Commander, Zhang Lai said loudly. In addition, the number of the Modi-o brigade has not yet been gathered. We will first select 0 people and send them to garrison in the 2 counties. Yes, Commander, Zheng Liujin replied. Hengqin County has a navy, and now it has been opened up. Chen Yuan, you must intensify the training. Chen Yuan, who was sitting at the back of the table, also stood up hastily. Yes, Commander. There are not many types of troops in Biaoyang County, and many of them have been overlooked. For example, infantry can be divided into light infantry and heavy infantry, as well as siege equipment soldiers. Archers are divided into longbow and short bow. Li Yuan killed all the seamen and spearmen. What he wants to do is modernize the army. The mobilized troops will no longer be under the jurisdiction of the original divisions and brigades. The 2nd and 3rd assembled divisions will be established and will be under my direct jurisdiction for the time being, Li Yuan said calmly. You must work hard. Everyone in the vacant position will have a chance. Only then did everyone understand Li Yuan's real purpose for this spring conference. Divide power and divide troops. Wang Dabiao frowned slightly. Okay, let's adjourn the meeting. Li Yuan stood up. Everyone stood up to see him off respectfully. After returning to the office, Li Yuan asked someone to call Wang Dabiao over. Captain, what do you want? Dabiao, sit down. Li Yuan smiled, took out a cigarette and handed it over. Wang Dabiao hurriedly took it with both hands, but did not light it. Commander, did I do something wrong? No, Li Yuan shook his head. I asked you to come here because I was afraid you would be unhappy. No, I will support any decision you make. Li Yuan lit a cigarette and said, stop pretending to be so arrogant. When I announced it just now, you looked so embarrassed. Who are you trying to show off to? Wang Dabiao made a bitter face. Is it so obvious? I'm giving you a chance to express your dissatisfaction. If you dare to talk nonsense again after today, I will kick you to death. Li Yuan cursed. Wang Dabiao hesitated for a while, then said, Commander, I don't understand. I have 6 brigades, and 4 of them were wiped out. Why am I not happy? You're done? Yes, that's all. Okay. Then I'll tell you why. Li Yuan said, when I was the regiment commander, I treated you as an assembled regiment. Later when I was promoted to division commander, I treated you as an assembled division, now I'm the army commander. But I only have a division under my command that doesn't suit the development of the Liang army. You are just a division commander and you have 30,000 people under you. What the hell do you want others to think? You thought I only took your soldiers, but I took others as well. What are you dissatisfied with? Li Yuan walked up to him and tapped his chest. Think it over carefully as a deputy division commander. Do you want so many soldiers? Do you want to rebel? Commander, that's not what I meant. Wang Dabiao was so frightened that he broke out in a cold sweat. Even if you don't think so, others will. Besides, the military system is laid out here. And it clearly states how many people there should be from squad leader to army commander. I thought you, Dabiao, were a smart man. But I didn't expect that you still needed me to remind you. How long has it been since I was promoted to army commander? Have you ever thought about this now that you have been promoted to division commander? Are you too proud of yourself? Li Yuan said, returning to his seat and dusting off his cigarette ash. I called you here alone to save your face in front of outsiders. To be frank, I value you, not to suppress you. You know my temper. You have followed me the longest and are my most capable right-hand man. But I want you to be the army commander, the marshal, and command the 3 armies. But look at how complacent you are. This is just where we are. 1 infantry division will make you extremely proud. If I really let you lead an army alone in the future, who the hell would you take seriously? You are handsome, not a general. A general needs to take charge of the overall situation instead of just charging into battle. I poured so much effort into you. And this is the result? I am the one who feels wronged. You are still licking your face and asking why. Tell me, why? Li Yuan slammed the table angrily, causing the things on it to fall all over the place. Wang Dabiao shrank his neck, his mouth full of bitterness. Then a chill rushed from the soles of the feet to the top of the head. Yes, how long has it been since the master was promoted to army commander? I am still so stupid and don't understand anything. The military rules and regulations clearly state that a division only has 10,000 to 15,000 people. He has been in charge of 2 divisions by himself for such a long time. What do others think? Thinking of this, Wang Dabiao knelt on the ground and said, Commander, Dabiao knows he was wrong, please punish me. You knelt down neatly, like a dead pig that is not afraid of boiling water. Do you really think I can't do anything to you? Li Yuan's voice roared in the office. Wang Dabiao was so frightened that his face turned pale and he no longer had the arrogance he had just had. You want to kill me or cut me up, I'll accept it. I'm wrong and I won't explain. Wang Dabiao knew that he was extremely wrong, no matter from which angle. If I kill you, or skin you alive, others will think that I'm suppressing you. I scolded and beat you, but you're so thick-skinned that you won't learn your lesson, Li Yuan said. You want to bully me, right? From today on, you'll be the director of the bullet factory and you'll load bullets for me. If you don't load 1,000 bullets a day, you'll have to clean the toilet for me. From now on, the 1st Infantry Division will just sit back and watch how others fight and gain merit. Wang Dabiao is not afraid of being beaten or scolded, he is just afraid that Li Yuan will not let him fight. Commander, I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Then he slapped himself in the face. Please don't let me load the bullets. It's too late to admit your mistake now. Li Yuan sneered. Get out of here. If you keep talking nonsense, I'll make you clean the toilets in the recruit camp. Wang Dabiao was about to cry as the 1st Deputy Division Commander of Biaoyang. He had to sweep the toilet. Wouldn't he be laughed to death? He wanted to explain a few more words, but was afraid that Li Yuan would ask him to clean the toilet. In the end, she could only walk away feeling aggrieved. Just like a bullied young wife. Looking at Wang Dabiao's back, Li Yuan snorted coldly. You bastard. Can't I cure you? Chapter 123. Are your swords thirsty? It's not that Li Yuan deliberately wanted to deal with Wang Dabiao. It is necessary to divide the troops and power. A healthy system cannot have any violators. No one can do it except himself. He really had high hopes for Wang Dabiao. But this kid was too complacent. I hinted at it so obviously, yet he still dared to scold me. Not asking him to sweep the streets was already giving him face. He now has 3 assembly divisions under him, but that is not enough. He needs to continue to delegate power. 5 to 6 assembly divisions would be more appropriate. An army consists of 30,000 to 100,000 men, which is just the right organization. If it were a little more, Li Yuan would be forced to promote himself. Soon, the news that Wang Dabiao was demoted to a bullet factory to press bullets spread. Everyone was shocked for a moment. Wang Mazi, have you made some big mistake? Ge Irma O said. What the hell is your business? You won't bully women when you attack the city, will you? Go away. I'm still single, what's the point of bullying me? Wang Dabiao was furious when he saw the group of people laughing secretly. Fuck your laughter. And I not approve of the bullets for you? Director Wang, you are still so arrogant. Why don't you let me take over your infantry division? Zhang Liujin said with a wicked smile. Wang Dabiao was too lazy to talk nonsense with them. Wait until I make a comeback. And then I will kill you. After saying that, he walked away dejectedly. However, someone soon guessed the reason, but no one knew whether it was their guess or someone else overheard Liu Yuan scolding Wang Dabiao. But after this day, the brigade commanders whose numbers exceeded the requirement came to Liu Yuan as soon as possible to report and explain. It was natural for Liu Yuan to establish the 4th and 5th Assembly Divisions. Because there were too many vacant positions, Liu Yuan couldn't figure out what to do for a while. One person for one position. And promotion without military merit will only make those in higher positions feel like they are taking advantage of the situation. That's not what Liu Yuan wanted. How about a military parade for the entire army? Liu Yuan touched his chin. It was still very attractive to promote cadres below the regimental level in this way. At least they got here through hard work and real strength. It's fair to everyone. Liu Yuan immediately started writing the plan. But at this moment, Liu Su came and said, "Report to the master." The scouts at the front reported that the Duke of Jingwu, Chang King, is coming with an army of 300,000, including 50 Zaro Tiger soldiers. Liu Yuan frowned. The Hubban army was the heavy cavalry of Dajing, as famous as the Iron Harriers of Diachia. The barbarians' former wolf cavalry guards were considered half-heavy cavalry and were able to gallop across Biaoyang. Moreover, the Hubban army is the real trump card of Dajing even with the whole country's strength. There are only about 200,000 of them, which is the accumulation of more than 200 years. Just hundreds of thousands of sets of armor are not something that ordinary people can handle. It has to be a big country. Liu Yuan took the letter and started reading it. It estimated that 60,000 Hubban troops, 80,000 cavalry, 140,000 other types of soldiers, and 200,000 civilians had already arrived at Huju Pass, which was only 100 miles away from Hengshan County, with food and fodder. If Hengshan County is the gateway, then Huju Pass is the last barrier leading to the heart of Dajing. Although it is not as tall as the city wall of Hengshan County, and is not as easy to defend as it is to attack, it is also a famous pass, overlooking from a high point, and is famous for its strategic location. Elite. These are the real elite troops of Dajing. They are different from the fools brought by Fang Zheng. He Cheng King is a veteran. Look at the people he brought. They are all lords of Dajing who have been passed down for hundreds of years. They are all extraordinary, Liu Su said. Liu Yuan glanced at her and took off the cigarette from her lips. I told you before, girls should smoke less. It's easy to get yellow teeth. Who will dare to kiss you in the future? You've permed your hair again. Are you going to do crosstalk next? Liu Su blushed when she saw Liu Yuan put the cigarette in her mouth. Didn't the master say that smoking, drinking and perming hair are the 3 major hobbies of men? I also wanted to experience the happiness of being a man, but I got addicted all of a sudden. Don't smoke in front of me next time. Liu Yuan tapped her head lightly. Liu Vassal, who was as fierce as a tiger outside, now behaved as obediently as a docile cat. Honggu is no longer surprised by it. It really is true that there is always someone better. Only the master can tame a girl like Liu Su, right? Oh, I see. Liu Su lowered her head and clenched her hands, but unfortunately, her toes could not be seen. Go down first, and notify the entire army to be on alert. After Liu Su left, Liu Yuan said happily, I was just wondering who to promote as the division commander. Isn't this a good opportunity? He was so happy that he called all the generals over immediately. Wang Dabiao, who had just spent 2 days pressing bullets at the bullet factory, was almost annoyed. I'd been pressing bullets every day and my hands are almost peeling. The deputy director looked at him with a cigarette in his mouth and said, terrified lie, Director, smoking is prohibited here. If there is a fire, the factory will explode. What are you afraid of, you coward? Wang Dabiao cursed unhappily. And the security guard beside him ran over quickly. Division commander, the army commander has ordered, call all cadres to assemble. Wang Dabiao was stunned. What was the point of gathering everyone at this time? Is there going to be another war? It seems so, said the security officer. I knew that the commander would be reluctant to let me load bullets here. Wang Dabiao's mouth was harder to suppress than the gun. He dropped the bullets and ran out of the factory quickly, but just as he reached the door, he heard the guard at the door say, Deputy Division Commander Wang, the commander has ordered that you can only stand by and listen. Wang Dabiao didn't dare to talk nonsense. For fear of angering Liu Yuan again, he carefully found a seat in a corner and sat down. Liu Yuan took a quick look and asked, Is everyone here? Everyone is here. Liu Yuan nodded and said, I have good news. I just received a notice from the front line that Emperor Jing sent Duke Wu Chengqing with an army of 300,000 to occupy Huju Pass. Those who came this time were the real elite of Dajing. Even the infantry were elite, unlike those fools before. So everyone cheer me up. Upon hearing this, everyone present was excited. Commander, the Moda O Brigade requests to fight, Zheng Liujin said excitedly. The Cavalry Brigade requests a fight. Ba Shan's eyes lit up and he licked his lips. Can he kill Jing Jun again? Thinking of this, he shouted, Ba Shan asks for a fight and is willing to be the vanguard. He had a loud voice, and his voice alone drowned out everyone else's. Commander, the two-tribe army requests a fight, Hawkeye said, not to be outdone. Wang Dabiao was so excited. Commander, I am willing to fight. Li Yuan didn't even look at him, he just pressed his hand and said, don't be anxious, everyone has a chance this time. If you want to be the commander of a containerized division, this is the time those who have made contributions will be promoted. Tell me, are your swords thirsty? Chapter 124 Comforter. When others heard that hundreds of thousands of troops were attacking, they would definitely be in a panic and even think about how to surrender. But these people in Biaoyang are different. When he heard about war, his eyes lit up and he shouted with excitement. Each of them is as excited as if they had been injected with chicken blood. This time, send out the 2nd and 3rd Assembly Divisions except for Wang Dabiao, everyone else should be ready. After hearing this, Wang Dabiao was extremely anxious. Commander, the 1st Infantry Division will also work. What the hell? You go back and load up the bullets for me. Come out again when you have 100,000 rounds. 100,000 rounds. Wang Dabiao was about to cry. He only pressed 1,000 rounds a day. Wouldn't he take 3 months to press 100,000 rounds? By then the day lilies were cold. It's settled then, let's adjourn the meeting. Li Yuan just wanted to give Wang Dabiao a cold shoulder, as jade cannot be made into anything useful without being polished. Everyone looked at Wang Dabiao with gloating eyes. Wang Mazi, you deserve this? That's right. This is the result of greed. Everyone started teasing and bullying Wang Dabiao, especially Ge Irma, who glared at him. Just wait, when I come back this time, I'll be a division-level cadre. Ge big eyes. I will never let you go. Wang Dabiao was so angry, but he could do nothing about it. Who dared to talk nonsense when the master made the decision? Seeing Wang Dabiao walk away angrily, everyone burst into laughter. The prefectural government also issued a war declaration, and the people were talking about it. What? Not only does Da Jing refuse to surrender, but he also dares to fight back. These guys are really stubborn. They have angered the master. Aren't they afraid that the master will come to Shangjing to kill him? It would be great if we could kill them all in Shangjing, then the master will be the emperor and we will all have a good life. Not only were the people not afraid, but they felt angry. If conscription had not ended, they would have joined the army to teach them a lesson. Qian Bawan was drinking tea in the tea house. He came to Biaoyang for trade. Not only that, he also brought his son-in-law and son with him. He made his fortune in Biaoyang and invested millions of tiles of gold and silver. The imperial court's ban was nothing but waste paper in front of him. Among those who do business with Biaoyang, how many would take the ban seriously? How many of those nobles do not do business with Biaoyang? If it weren't for those people's cover, how could they get here safely? Dad, do you think they can win? Qian Bayu asked. Biaoyang will definitely win. Dad, I mean Duke Wu, Qian Bayu said awkwardly. Nonsense, would I still be here if I could win? Qian Ba snorted. We have been doing business with Biaoyang for so long, when have we ever seen him lose a battle? Moreover, it had been observing for so long, and the Biaoyang Pass probably belongs to the big master with 3 passes and 2 million people. It is only a matter of time before Biaoyang establishes its country. There is no other place in the world safer than Biaoyang. I have also received news that Dajingwan will be an open port to the outside world, and foreign merchants can do business in Dajingwan. Not only that, you can even immigrate as long as you pass Biaoyang's verification. You will enjoy all the benefits of Biaoyang. Back then, I couldn't buy it even if I spent 100,000 tiles, but now I finally have a way to do it. Father-in-law, do you want to? Son-in-law Shu Yang was so surprised that he was speechless. Yes, I intend to let Bao Yu immigrate here. This way, it will be safer for him to do business in Dajing Pass. If there are any problems, there will be no problems with Biaoyang's protection. Son-in-law, you should also join Biaoyang, Qian Ba said. Our business is too big. A reason why we didn't do anything is because we have Biaoyang's admission ticket and they only recognize us. If one day they catch you and use you to threaten me, that would be a fate worse than death. We merchants are of low status, relying on rare goods to make profits no matter how much money we have. In the eyes of those lords, we are just fat pigs that can be slaughtered at any time. Dad, we are here, so I'm not afraid if you come. When the time comes, I will find a way to meet with the master and find an official position for you. It doesn't matter, even if I have to give most of my wealth to Biaoyang. Shu Yang said, Father-in-law, this is a serious matter. I need to discuss it with my parents. We need to discuss this carefully. It would be best if we write back today. Once the news of the port opening spreads, I'm afraid the court will impose restrictions. As Qian Ba was speaking, a servant came quickly over and whispered something in his ear. Qian Ba's face immediately lit up with joy. The master has agreed to see me. He said something to the two of them and left in a hurry. At this time, in Liu Yuan's office, as the news of the opening of the port spread, a large number of foreign businessmen wrote to Liu Yuan and begged him to accept them. He also decided to meet some representative figures among them. Soon, Qian Baoan came in. Seeing Liu Yuan sitting there, he looked intimidating. Without even getting angry, he hurriedly saluted and said, "Qian Baoan pays respect to the master. Million, sit down." Liu Yuan pointed to the stool in front of him casually, but Qian Baoan only dared to touch half of his buttocks. And he was very nervous. "I have read the letter you sent me, and I am aware of your request. We are old acquaintances. And I tell you the truth, if you want to join Biaoyang, you must go out to do business under the banner of Biaoyang Merchants. I, Biaoyang, also have my own compradoress, you should know that," Liu Yuan said. "I know it well. It is thanks to your advice over the years that I am where I am today. I am grateful." Qian Baoan had never expected that the poor county magistrate who wore a patched official uniform and lived from hand to mouth a few years ago would now become one of the most powerful people in the world. He also felt fortunate for his decision. "Let's not talk nonsense. Over the years, you have been doing your best to help Biaoyang by the dance moves it needs. I have always remembered this. If you want to join Biaoyang, I welcome you. Although it's just a business, $1 million is really a lot of money." This guy also helped when Biaoyang was in the most difficult time. Qian Baoan is a smart man, and he immediately understood the deep meaning of Liu Yuan's words. "Thank you for your kindness, sir, but I still want to continue to be a comprador for Biaoyang. However, this year Biaoyang and Dajing have had too much friction, and we merchants who yearn for peace have also been implicated. I am not afraid of anything except that my family members might get hurt. Please, sir, take care of this for me. Look, this is a smart person," Liu Yuan said calmly. "Then bring your family to Biaoyang, and make them Biaoyang people. They will be protected by Biaoyang no matter if it is Dajing or Diaxia. Whoever dares to touch Biaoyang people, even if they flee to the ends of the earth, I will not forgive them." Qian Baoan knelt on the ground in a hurry, tears streaming down his face. "Thank you, master. Regardless of whether he is pretending or not, just tell me whether his tears are real or not." Liu Yuan thought to himself, "This kid is really a talent. If Dabia was half as flexible as him, I wouldn't be so angry." Chapter 125. Epidemic in Tongshu. The conversation with Qian Baoan went particularly smoothly. Not only did he successfully make Qian Baoan a comprador outside Biaoyang, but Qian Baoan also promised to let Qian Baoyu bring most of his assets to Biaoyang Prefecture. Liu Yuan was very satisfied with this. Therefore, Liu Yuan gave Qian Baoan a special position in Biaoyang Prefecture, which was tantamount to implicitly acknowledging Qian Baoan's identity as a Biaoyang person. When in danger, he can reveal this identity. Whoever dares to touch him, Biaoyang will definitely avenge him. Qian Baoan left with many thanks, feeling as if he had been injected with chicken blood. Liu Yuan smiled and said, "Let Wang Dabao come to see me. $1 million is just the beginning." Liu Yuan needs more external compradores to do things for him. The 8 great families who betrayed the Ming dynasty are certainly hateful, but these compradores are arsenic to them and syrup to me, Liu Yuan thought to himself. Soon, Liu Yuan met all these people. These compradores were separate lines and were all shameful to see before they were exposed. Therefore, Liu Yuan once again upgraded the management of Biaoyang's external compradores. This time it was no longer a department under the China Merchants Steam Navigation Company, but was directly under the jurisdiction of the prefectural government and controlled by the Security Bureau. Once an internal personnel rebels, they can be killed directly. Business war is war, spy war is even more. At this time, Li Jing, Emperor Rexai, received the news that Dajing had come. He summoned the civil and military ministers. Although the civil and military officials of Diaxia were separated, the civil officials had the right to make suggestions, which was also to prevent the military officials from becoming too powerful. He said, Lu Bandit paid no attention to the threat of massacre, and immediately captured Dajing Pass, killing Fang Zhenghe and taking hundreds of thousands of soldiers and civilians captive. Now, under pressure, Jing Chao has stopped the massacre and ordered Changqing to lead 300,000 troops to Wuju Pass. It seems that they still want to fight with Liu Yuan. What do you think? Everyone looked at their noses with their eyes and their hearts with their noses, and dared not speak easily. The means demonstrated by Liu Yuan have already proved the strength of Biaoyang. Now that they have occupied Dajing Pass and Diaxia Pass, they have two strong cities that they can attack or defend, making them even more difficult to deal with. Even the civil officials who did not understand military affairs found the situation difficult to handle. Your Majesty, I think there are only 2 options. Either we join forces to suppress Biaoyang until it is destroyed, or we can make peace with each other. After all, the princess and others are still in Liu Yuan's hands. As long as we can crack Biaoyang's gunpowder and weapons, it is only a matter of time before Biaoyang is destroyed. Temporary tolerance is for better response. I believe that Dajing is more likely to lose this time when he sends troops. If they lose, Dodging will shake the foundation of the country and severely damage its vitality. It will be difficult to recover in 30 years, let alone 20 years. At this point, Kai Yangshu paused and continued. In my opinion, King Jiangxie's rebellion is nonsense, and we should endure humiliation and explore the enemy's situation. We should find a way to contact King Jiangxie and get more useful information. Emperor Xie looked at Shang Ying calmly. Shang King, what do you think? Shang Ying stepped out and said, I second the motion. Kai Yangshu's analysis was very accurate. He knew Li Qumyan's character and knew that even if he died, he would never rebel. From the map, Biaoyang has not 2 passes, but 4 passes. In addition to the 2 cities that were robbed by the land bandits, Biaoyang Pass is also in the pocket of the land bandits. There is already intelligence to confirm that Shang Wei has surrendered. Together with Biaoyang County itself, there are 4 important passes that are easy to defend but difficult to attack. It is impossible to defeat the enemy without an army of millions. The trend of Biaoyang is set, and this is a fact that cannot be ignored. It would be better to let Shang Lei continue to gallop across Daqian. Let's see how Chang King's battle turns out. Everyone nodded, although the civil and military officials did not get along. They were still very objective on major issues. This is also the reason why Diaxia looks down on the 3 kingdoms. Xiid nodded. What if Chang King loses? Shang Ying sighed. Then continuing to engage in war is just an excuse to go to war with Biaoyang. Although Biaoyang is small, it is like a tiger and can swallow people. At that time, let Shang Lei stop the fighting and reach a ceasefire agreement. But what about my great Xia Pass? We can't get it back in a short time. We have to find a way to contact King Jiangxie and crack Biaoyang's weapons. Although Biaoyang is strong, it always has weaknesses, Shang Ying said. Emperor Xie nodded slightly. Although he was unwilling in his heart, he also understood that he had missed the best opportunity to control Biaoyang. Fortunately, Shang Lei saved some face for him. And Emperor Jing will send his men to retreat, and we won't send out troops for the time being. Emperor Xie stood up and left with the farewell of the crowd. On the other side, Xiao Jianjia was looking at the counted materials with great joy. There is much more food in Zongshu than she thought. She now has as much as 600,000 she of grain in her hands. These grains are enough to sustain the entire million-strong military and civilian population for several months. So there is no need to worry about food in the short term. She also tried to grow crops in some areas of Tongshu, and by autumn, there will be some harvest. Moreover, she followed the BI model and unified the allocation of food resources. Although food purchases were restricted, it was enough to ensure food and clothing. For a time, these people followed the Holy King army wholeheartedly. The name of the Holy King also spread to several other states. People come here to escape the disaster every day. This is what Xiao Jianjia has always dreamed of, but it is also what she least wants to see. The disaster is still spreading. It's getting out of control. Floods are starting to occur again in the south of the Yangtze River. In some areas of the northwest, spring snow even occurred. It's late spring and summer is approaching. The occurrence of extreme weather once again confirms Li Yuan's statement. A so-called little ice age became an indelible haze hanging over Xiao Jianjia's heart. At this moment, looking at all the supplies, he didn't seem so happy. They followed the Holy King, not the Empress. Just as she was about to go to the military camp, Grape ran over with a terrified look on her face. Your Majesty, something big has happened. What's wrong? Since a few days ago, people in Tongshu City have been falling seriously ill one after another. The special clinic is already overcrowded. And the number of seriously ill people is increasing. It seems that an epidemic has already formed, Xiao Puteo said in panic. Xiao Jianjia's heart skipped a beat. Epidemic? Can the doctor tell what the disease is? Xiao Puteo said in a trembling voice. They are covered with pustules. The doctor said it seems to be smallpox. What did you say? Xiao Jianjia said in disbelief. How could it be smallpox? Xiao Puteo's mouth was full of bitterness. The doctor said that it might be because too many people died in the 2 states and the weather was too hot, so they could not get treatment, which led to smallpox. It was caused by a natural disaster. Xiao Jianjia was stunned, and suddenly thought of Li Yuan's reminder. That bastard reminded me a long time ago that there would be a great epidemic after a great disaster, and he also asked me to be prepared for disinfection. How could I forget it? Xiao Jianjia seemed to have lost her soul, and couldn't help but slap herself. Why did you forget such an important thing when you could forget something else? Xiao Puteo grabbed Xiao Jianjia's hand and said, This is not your Majesty's fault. Now is not the time to blame yourself. The key is how to deal with smallpox. Chapter 126 Lu Yang's Inquiry. Xiao Jianjia calmed down and asked, Smallpox is contagious. Has anyone in the army been infected? Even if Xiao Jianjia had never seen smallpox, she had seen it in books. During the 200-year reign of the Daqian dynasty, there were several outbreaks of smallpox, and each one was horrific. Not yet, Grape said. The doctor has kept it a secret for now, but the symptoms of smallpox are too obvious, it won't be hidden for long. Xiao Jianjia had a deep sense of powerlessness. She had finally managed to turn the situation around, so how could this happen? Your Majesty, where are you going? I'm going to go check on those people. Grape hugged Xiao Jianjia tightly. Your Majesty, there is no cure for smallpox. You can't go. Are we just going to watch them die? Xiao Jianjia bit her lip tightly. There will always be a way. But you can't go. Grape let go of Xiao Jianjia. You can go if you want, but you have to kill me. Xiao Jianjia was helpless, but she gave up her past thoughts once she was infected with smallpox. Daqian would be completely hopeless. And you go and call everyone over, check the soldiers, and block the city, Xiao Jianjia said. Soon, Prince Wan and others came over. They had also learned that smallpox had broken out in Tongshu. For a moment, everyone's face turned bitter. Your Majesty, smallpox is a life-threatening disease once it spreads. The consequences will be disastrous, Lu Qiushan said calmly. Treat all those patients who have contracted smallpox to prevent them from infecting other people. At the same time, smallpox cannot be concealed, so it is better to tell everyone as soon as possible and work together to overcome the difficulties. Xiao Jianjia nodded. Lu King, are there enough herbs? There aren't many left. Lu Qiushan shook his head and said, we can only find a way to buy it from other places. Ban Wen also said, let the soldiers check themselves if there are any problems, report them immediately. Gather more great doctors and have them find ways to save lives. The bodies of people who died of illness must be burned, not buried. The two of them spoke one after another and quickly set the tone. Stop the attack and let's all rest, Xiao Jianjia said depressed lie. Lu Qiushan went to summon the doctor, while Prince Wan went to the military camp. Xiao Ji stayed behind, looking at the anxious sister. He said, Sister, if there is anyone in the world who can solve the problem, it must be Master Lu. If even Master Lu can't deal with smallpox, then there is no one else in the world who can. Xiao Ji's words gave Xiao Jianjia a clear way out. Yes, that bastard might have a way. But if I go there rashly, will I bring smallpox with me? Then inform Master Lu in advance, Xiao Ji said. Human lives are at stake. Once smallpox spreads, I'm afraid not only Tongshu but other places will also suffer. Grape, prepare the car. I'm going to Biaoyang. At this time, Biaoyang Prefecture. The planted potatoes, sweet potatoes and corn have taken root and sprouted. When Liyuan looked at these seedlings, it was as if he was seeing a peerless beauty. And Yuhan, you have done a great deed. Liyuan patted his shoulder fiercely. As long as you can successfully make these precious bumps grow food, you will be a hero of Biaoyang. At the end of last year, Yuhan was highly praised at the beginning of this spring. Liyuan was promoted to prefect, and Yuhan was also promoted to a higher level. He is now the head of the agricultural department of Biaoyang Prefecture. All the agricultural bureaus in the county are under his jurisdiction. Thanks to the master's guidance, these treasures were able to sprout. However, some food was wasted these days. Yuhan's face was full of pain. Lu Lingzhi was also present. Her identity was kept secret from outsiders, but it was an open secret among the management. Liyuan even asked Lu Lingzhi to become Yuhan's apprentice, just because he wanted his sister to keep Biaoyang's job in her hands. It's inevitable that there will be some losses during the first planting, Liyuan consoled him. However, although these crops are precious, they cannot be taken care of too delicately. Their own endurance determines their survival. Moreover, since they are alien species, whether they can adapt to this land is still a question. There is some truth in the saying that oranges grown in the south of the Hui River are oranges, while those grown in the north of the Hui River are tangerines. These varieties are not those cultivated in previous lives, so their yields can only be left to fate. Master, don't worry, I will keep good records every day. In order to keep records, Yuhan ignored his wife and children and directly moved his bed into the shed, where he ate, drank, defecated and urinated. Liyuan was also deeply moved by this spirit of dedication. Lingzhi, you should also share more of the pressure with Yuhan. Yes. Big brother. Lu Lingzhi nodded heavily. She knew too well the importance of this greenhouse of young sprouts. Liyuan walked out of the greenhouse and looked up. Large-scale rice planting had already begun. He built for high mountain reservoirs around Biaoyang Prefecture, and then used canals to divert the water to the developed mountain fields. Although it consumed a huge amount of manpower and material resources, it transformed Biaoyang Prefecture into a land of abundance. A sense of accomplishment arises spontaneously. Fighting against the sky is endless fun, fighting against people is endless fun. At this moment, Liu Wanfang understood the meaning of this sentence. Master, we still have to rush to the breeding farm. And we also have to go to Taishan County for inspection in the afternoon, Honggu reminded. Liyuan sighed and left in a hurry. He were busy until late at night and then stayed in Taishan County to rest. After half a year of construction, the city wall of Taishankai has been completed. The city wall is 20 meters high. Although it is not as high as the 90-meter-high city wall of Bialiang County, it is still one of the tallest cities in the world. In the city, the roads have been planned and cement roads have been paved. 3 cement factories have been built in the surrounding area, and they operate non-stop for 12 hours a day to meet the local consumption. The barbarian laborers worked in 3 shifts, toiling under the lights. If anyone tried to escape, they would be accompanied by the sound of gunfire from the soldiers that echoed through the night. Houses of similar size have sprung up, and some new immigrants have already moved into them. As for storefronts, a rental system is implemented. There is no rent in the first 5 years, but 40% of the annual income must be handed over to the government after 5 years. You can buy the gate a house or continue to rent it at that time. You only need to pay the business tax on time. Because there was a lot of work to be done, shops in the city sprang up like mushrooms after a rain. Business is extremely hot. Liyuan and Luyang lay on the roof, looking at the starry sky. Brother, will you be the emperor in the future? Luyang suddenly asked. Why do you ask? Liyuan asked in surprise. When Daqian was in trouble, you didn't come to the king's aid, but focused on developing Biaoliang. Anyone can see that, right? Did your mother ask you to ask? No, I wanted to ask myself. Luyang sat up, his eyes looking particularly bright in the darkness. Liyuan smiled and said, probably, but who knows what will happen in the future? Hearing the answer from his elder brother, Liyang was relieved. If it is my elder brother who becomes the emperor, he will definitely be the greatest emperor in history. Chapter 127, Repairing the plank road in the open and marching through Chen Qingji in secret. You think so highly of me? Liyuan said with a smile, there's nothing even remotely like this. When I came to Biaoliang, I was very confused. The world was in such a mess, and I was too weak. I was not as talented as my father and could not assist the emperor. I couldn't even protect my mother and little sister. But after coming to Biaoliang, I found out that I was wrong. This place is like a paradise. Everything is so prosperous. There was even a time when I felt like I was dreaming. I visited every place in Biaoliang County. Do you know what I saw? What? There, Luyang said in a resounding voice. Whether rich or poor, everyone has about the same food, clothing and housing. Everyone has the opportunity to succeed, regardless of gender. In Biaoliang, I didn't see any truly poor people even in the deepest alleys. There were neat cement roads and flowers planted in front of every house. At that moment, I suddenly knew what I wanted to do. Seeing his brother reveal his true feelings, Liyuan also listened attentively. What do you want to do? I want to protect this beauty along the way. I have seen too many injustices. The peace and justice of Biaoliang are unique in the world. So I think that if you, big brother, were the emperor, you would be able to bring peace and justice to everyone, so that everyone could live a good life. I admire you and worship you from the bottom of my heart. I don't know how you managed to build Biaoliang into this state in such a short time, but I know that it must be an extremely difficult process. I want to share the pressure with you, but I know I am still too weak. But brother, please believe me, give me some time. I will definitely stand by your side. Liyang mustered up the courage to speak out what was in his heart. Liyuan patted his shoulder and said, I believe you. Just for short words filled Luyang with infinite power. After Taishan County is built, I want to join the army, said Luyang. Liyuan frowned. You don't have to join the army to help me. It's not as easy as you think to give up writing and join the army. Moreover, even if you are my brother, I will not give you a backdoor. Do you think it's easy to be a soldier? If I get injured, disabled or die, how can I explain this to my mother and father? Others can do it, so can I. If others can die, so can I, Luyang said loudly. Even if you don't agree, I will join the army. Impossible, Liyuan said with a straight face. There is no room for negotiation on this matter. Just study hard to handle internal affairs. No matter how well I handle internal affairs, others will only think I am your brother. Being a soldier is different. As long as I dare to fight, dare to venture, dare to fight, and make military achievements, others will respect me. Big brother, I admire you and worship you. I want to be your right-hand man, not your shadow. After being in Taishankai for so long, Luyang understood this truth. Even if he lived and ate with the workers and worked hard, he could not win recognition from others. He was proud to be Liyuan's younger brother, but he was unwilling to be just Liyuan's younger brother. The boy's stubbornness and determination made Liyuan quite difficult to deal with. He put his hand on Liyang's shoulder and said, Xiaoyang, you are my closest family member, my brother. I hope you can live well. I worked hard to build Biaoliang, just to give my family a safe place to live in troubled times. If anything happens to you, how can I face myself and my parents? Then what is the significance of my building Biaoliang? Liyang said with red eyes. Brothers fight together, fathers and sons fight together. This time it's my turn to protect you, big brother. Please give me a chance, okay? Seeing that Lu Yang would not listen, Li Yuan also got angry. Okay, you want to join the army, right? If you wish, don't wait until Taishan County is built. Report to the Heavy Cavalry Brigade tomorrow. Li Yang was overjoyed. Thank you, brother. But I tell you, if you can't stand that kind of suffering, you should be obedient in the future. I can endure hardship, Lu Yang replied firmly. The two brothers have very similar personalities, both are stubborn. Li Yuan lay down angrily and turned around. Lu Yang grinned and said, since we were young, it was you, the eldest brother, who protected me and my sister. Every time when we needed help the most, you always stepped forward. Now, it's our turn to protect you. The next morning, Lu Yang pestered Lu Yuan for a letter of introduction. Lu Yuan had no choice but to write him a letter. Looking at Lu Yang's leaving back, Lu Yuan felt inexplicably melancholy. I don't know whether it is good or bad. From a selfish motive, he hoped that Lu Yang could command an army in the military. But as the eldest brother, he hopes that Lu Yang will follow the path he has arranged. Master, everyone has their own path. Young Master Lu is also a man who can accomplish things. His future is definitely limitless, said Honggu. I hope so. Li Yuan gave some instructions on the work in Taishan County and then left. However, on the way, he received news that Da Jing's army was attacking Hengshan County. Li Yuan looked solemn. Notify other cities to prepare for war. Do not open the gates until the war is over. Li Yuan also returned to Taishan County as soon as possible. He calculated the time and realized that it would take at least an hour for the message to reach here. In other words, Changqing attacked the city in the early morning. That period of time is when the army is least alert and when people are most sleepy. It is true that one should not underestimate the people of the world. But this set is what Lu Yuan left over. We had conducted sand-table drills before, which included enemy night attacks, fire attacks, and even poison attacks. Just an hour later, Lu Yuan received another message. Report to the commander. Changqing attacked for half an hour and then retreated. Feint attack? Lu Yuan frowned and asked Honggu to take out the map and look at the Yang map carefully. Have other cities been attacked? The cooperation between the Xii and Jing dynasties, crossing the Xiao Pass and heading straight for Baiyujingji, showed that these people's schemes were unfathomable. The art of commanding an army is a treacherous one, and this sentence demonstrates this vividly. No, the scout replied. But just as the Hengshan County scouts were leaving, another person from Songshan County came. Report, the Jing dynasty army borrowed the Xi dynasty's passage and raided Songshan County. Damn it, they are pretending to build a plank road but secretly attacking Chen Kenji. Li Yuan cursed. Explore again. This Changqing is indeed an expert on military affairs. In fact, a true master doesn't care about the number of soldiers he has. A Chuo Kubing lead 800 people and dared to attack the Hun's lair directly. UFEI led 3,000 elite soldiers to annihilate 70,000 Jin soldiers, and even the Iron Pagoda of Jin was defeated. The Eastern Han dynasty had a powerful army, and only a dozen people could defeat hundreds of countries in the western regions and make them unable to raise their heads. And Changqing has an army of 300,000. If Lu Yuan had an army of 300,000 now, he would dare to start a war on two fronts and defeat both the Xi and Jing dynasties. Fortunately, he was smart and divided the troops and powers. With an assembled division guarding the city without a million-strong army, Changqing would never be able to break through the city. Thinking of this, Lu Yuan felt relieved. Chapter 128, Master. You can't go. But soon, the scouts from Songshan County came to report. Commander, they've retreated. Lu Yuan smiled. Okay. Let's play it this way, huh? Honggu frowned and asked, what are they trying to do? When the enemy advances, we retreat. When the enemy stays, we harass. When the enemy tires, we attack. When the enemy retreats, we pursue. This is the 16-character square formation I once talked about. It is obvious that they are playing the same trick on us now. Once you let your guard down, they are likely to launch a massive attack, Lu Yuan said. This Changqing is very unusual, said Honggu. Nothing, this is just routine operation, Lu Yuan said. We are not the only ones who understand the art of war. And the battles against Dajing Pass and Diaxia Pass were planned for a long time, and they were afraid of the consequences. Don't think that just because Lu Yuan easily passed 2 levels, he really doesn't take anyone in the world seriously. If he cannot win even though he has more equipment than others, he should reflect on himself. I'm afraid they don't have enough troops to attack the city, so they use this guerrilla strategy to harass us. The other party comes and goes freely, and it is not easy to catch up with him. It is very likely that he has set a trap behind you. The purpose is to lure us out. Only in the wild can they fight. This is the normal way of thinking, but Dajing has failed repeatedly. If it is only to this extent, it is not enough. With so many people guarding Huju Pass, the longer it takes, the greater the cost. Even if the Dajing family is wealthy, it cannot afford such a torment. Li Yuan asked Honggu to find the map of the 3 kingdoms. He took great pains to draw this. He tried his best to record the situation in the area within 500 miles around Biaoyang Prefecture. He also had a huge sand table, which replicated the terrain of an area of 500 miles in radius as closely as possible. If nothing else, just for victory. It's a 50-50 chance from 1,000 miles away, but within 1,000 miles, he will definitely win. Li Yuan pondered for a long time but still couldn't think of a solution. But within one day, the military emergency situation occurred more than 10 times. Not only was Li Yuan anxious, but the soldiers and civilians in the two cities were also exhausted. Because the war mechanism of Biaoyang Prefecture is that when a strong enemy attacks, residents must hide in a safe room as soon as possible. Ensuring the safety of residents is the first priority. Who can stand it if it is repeated several times a day? Fortunately, 30 of the 2nd and 3rd Assembly Divisions are veterans, and the new recruits have also undergone half a year of training and have acquired a certain level of combat effectiveness. Li Yuan immediately issued an order, which was that no one was allowed to leave the city, and then sent a large number of scouts to gather information. Filtering out important information from a large amount of information and inferring the strategies that the other party may use may seem nonsense. But in fact it tests Biaoyang's intelligence capabilities. For several days in a row, the opponent kept using this tactic. It's very simple and practical. The soldiers and civilians of the two cities were exhausted from the harassment. Li Yuan moved his headquarters to Taishan County, and a large amount of intelligence was sent here every day. And it will be analyzed by many staff members in the general staff. Working groups of 3 and recommend the strategy that the other party is most likely to implement, including but not limited to tunnel warfare, violent attacks, releasing poisonous smoke, etc. Li Yuan rejected all these speculations. All major design must take these into consideration. After taking over the two cities, Li Yuan immediately carried out rescue work on the weak defenses. Why not take the initiative? Because this time the other party was fully prepared and there were a lot of traps on the road. Moreover, the other side's scouts are also very strong. He has experienced it in the past few days. It is not easy to reach Tiger Pass without being noticed. If they attacked by force, Li Yuan was really confident that he could keep them all. Just when there was no progress in the battle, Liu Su came and said, "Master, the madam is here." Li Yuan was delighted. Where is she? It has been almost 2 months since Xiao Ji and Jia last left. He really thought about it a lot, although he wrote to her from time to time. Xiao Ji and Jia never replied once. Outside Biaoyang Pass. Why don't you enter the customs? Liu Su said seriously. Smallpox is spreading in Tongshu. Madam came here to ask for help. She doesn't dare to enter the customs for fear of passing the disease to Miss. Li Yuan stood up suddenly, his expression stern. Smallpox. Liu Su nodded. Yes, smallpox. It's not only in Tongshu, but also in Zongshu. It has been a disaster for several years, and there's no way to escape it. Li Yuan took a deep breath. In this era, smallpox was a very serious epidemic. Once it spread, 9 out of 10 houses in a city would be empty. The reason why it is difficult to spread on a large scale is because of inconvenient transportation. But there was smallpox in the place where Xiao Ji and Jia lived, so it was very likely that she was carrying the smallpox virus. There are no symptoms during the incubation period, but once an outbreak occurs, the possibility of infection is very high. I have issued an order from our army. From today, all checkpoints will be closed. No one is allowed to leave without orders. Those who have gas masks must wear them. Those who don't have gas masks must wear masks when they go out. Notify the medical department and disinfect the entire prefecture. Drinking raw water is not allowed once a fever occurs. Report it immediately and isolate and observe. Notify the Ministry of Education to suspend classes in all schools in the prefecture and let students study at home. Li Yuan said more than a dozen things in one breath, and then paused. Tell the people of the whole prefecture the truth. Biaoyang Prefecture has a way to prevent and treat smallpox. They don't have to panic. Liu Su looked at Li Yuan in disbelief. Master, can you really cure smallpox? If the disease has not yet occurred, it can be prevented and treated with one method of prevention and treatment. It will never occur again once the disease occurs. The mortality rate is 30. Let everyone relax. Li Yuan had always wanted to cure cowpox, but because there were no cows infected with cowpox, he had to put it aside. The smallpox mortality rate was about 30, but people of that era were generally malnourished, so once they got infected, the mortality rate would be a conservative estimate of 50. But it is different in Biaoyang Prefecture. The people are well fed and well clothed, and their nutrition is balanced. Even if an epidemic really occurs, the mortality rate can be reduced to a controllable range. That lady. Li Yuan took a deep breath. It's right for her not to come and tell Shangwei to arrange a separate house for them. And don't let anyone within a radius of 50 meters. Go get me some protective clothing. I want to go see her. Honggu was anxious. Master, you can't go. She is my wife. How can I let her face this situation alone? With the protective suit, she will be fine, Lu Yuan said. No, no matter what I say, it won't work. Honggu was very excited. That woman doesn't treat you as her husband. She only comes to you when she's in trouble, but never thinks of you when there's something good. That's smallpox, it's fatal. Why doesn't she go to someone else but comes to you? I know you are soft-hearted and won't leave her alone. Yes, for the lady's sake. You can't just ignore it. But you don't care about the people of this city? BL Yang, you don't care anymore? We are still at war. If something happens to you at this critical moment, what do you want us to do? Chapter 129 Disappointment. Honggu's eyes were slightly red. When it comes to matters related to her, you have lost your reason. Well, if you are really worried, I will take care of her for you. But you can't go. Liu Su also knelt on the ground. Master. Honggu is right, you can't go. You are the master, but Liu Su doesn't recognize her as your lady. She doesn't deserve you. You are even less worthy of being our wife. You too. Everyone can see that she is taking advantage of you. I can understand your feelings, but can you please consider our feelings? Honggu held the saber tightly and said in a trembling voice, if she really cared about you, she wouldn't have come to BL Yang to poison you. BL Yang can live without Liu Su, but it cannot live without the master. Liu Yuan sighed. Indeed, if he went there now, even if he wore protective clothing, he would have to be quarantined. During this period, he could not contact anyone, including his family. Fortunately, Xiaoji and Jia did not rush in directly, otherwise, the consequences would be disastrous. Finally, reason prevailed and he pulled Liu Su up. Is it okay if I don't go? Really? Liu Su looked incredulous. When you talk about her, you become a completely different person. Liu Yuan said helplessly, even if I don't consider myself, I have to consider my family. Don't worry, I won't leave here. But since she came to me for help, I can't just ignore it. Smallpox is of great use to me. Let's go back to Biaoyang Prefecture first. At the same time, Shang Wei was so scared that he didn't dare to let Xiaoji and Jia in. Fortunately, Xiaoji and Jia did not force her way in. Otherwise he would have stopped her even at the risk of being punished by Li Yuan. He had sealed off the pass immediately. That smallpox, once it breaks out, 9 out of 10 houses will be empty. He had no choice but to be cautious. He was even prepared to be scolded by Lu Yuan. He could only have someone fish the food down through a hanging basket. Please bear with me. That's not that I don't want you to come in, but I really can't afford the risk. There are hundreds of thousands of soldiers and civilians in Biaoyang Pass. If any one of them is infected with smallpox, it will be a tragedy for the world. Don't worry, I don't blame you. Xiaoji and Ji asked Xiaoji to get food and share it with others, but she had no appetite at all. Ji Yue couldn't help but say, this Shang Wei is so bold that he dares to keep the door closed. That's enough, Ji Yue. Xiaoji and Jia interrupted her. Shang Wei did the right thing. Smallpox has appeared in Tongshu and Zongshu. Does it happen in Biaoliang as well? The population here is dense, and if the news spreads, the consequences will be disastrous. Do you think I will have the nerve to come here again in the future? Ji Yue said, I'm just feeling sorry for you. Shang Wei is not even pretending now. It's obvious that he doesn't take you seriously. Ji Yue, shut up. Xiao Pude scolded, don't add fuel to the fire at this time. The most urgent task is to find a cure for smallpox. Ji Yue curled his lips and said, in my opinion, Li Yuan will definitely not come. Xiao Pude glared at Ji Yue fiercely, then stuffed the steamed bun into her mouth. If you say anything else, I'll beat you to death. Xiao Ji also had a worried look on his face. What if Master Lu can't do anything? And we should find a way to buy more medicines from Biaoyang, and then leave it to fate, Xiaoji and Jia said. In her heart, she was actually wondering whether Li Yuan would come over. They waited for a long time, until the evening, but no one paid any attention to them. Xiao Pudeo couldn't help but ask. It's been so long, Li Yuan should be here by now, right? He doesn't really want to take care of it. Does he? Ji Yue got excited. Look, Shang Wei is so scared. Li Yuan is not a god, he is also afraid of death, your majesty. In my opinion, he will not come. Xiaoji and Jia was already upset, and became even more upset after hearing this. She said impatiently, if you were at risk of contracting smallpox, would you come? Of course I'll come. What if I die? Ji Yue hesitated. You see, you will also be afraid and nervous. As the Lord of Biaoyang, Li Yuan has more to worry about. Having said that, Xiaoji and Jia still felt an inexplicable expectation in her heart. Just then, the city gate opened. Xiaoji was delighted. Sister, look, the city gate is open. Is Master Lu here? Everyone looked over hurriedly, and his watermelon face suddenly fell. Xiaoji and Jia's anxiety suddenly disappeared, and even her brows were filled with joy. For some reason, she felt that all the pressure in her body was gone, as if someone had invisible eye held up a sky for her, allowing her to breathe in this space. But when the door opened, only one person came out. That person was wearing thick clothes and was fully armed, making it difficult to see who he was. But judging from her height, she is obviously shorter than Lu Yuan. It's not Master Lu, Xiao Ji said disappointed Lai. Xiao Podeo also sighed softly. But Shi Jiyue breathed a sigh of relief and whispered, I knew that Lu Yuan would not dare to come. When Xiao Ji and Jia learned that the person who came was not Lu Yuan, she felt extremely disappointed. Soon, the man walked up to the crowd. Honggu greets Madam and Prince. It's Honggu. Xiao Ji and Jia was stunned. Why is it you? The master was going to come. But we persuaded him not to, madam. We are all on our own, and we are thinking about the master. So please forgive us. Anyone can get into trouble in Biaoyang Prefecture, but nothing can happen to the eldest master. So, I volunteered to come and accompany you on behalf of the master. Honggu's explanation made Xiao Ji and Jia understand the whole story. It doesn't matter whether Li Yuan comes or not. I just want to know if he has a way to treat smallpox. This is a letter written to you by the master. You will understand after reading it. Honggu took out Lu Yuan's handwritten letter and handed it over. Xiao Ji and Jia took it, walked aside and began to read it carefully. In the letter, Lu Yuan stated the reason why he did not come. After reading it, Xiao Ji and Jia realized that she had underestimated the severity of smallpox. She also understood that smallpox has an incubation period, and once the incubation period is over, it is very likely to break out. During this time, everyone she comes into contact with may be infected. Finally, the virus spread from person to person, leading to large-scale spread. No wonder Shang Wei didn't dare to open the door. It turned out that they were also close contacts. If Lu Yuan came and brought Huan Huan back with him, Huan Huan would most likely be infected with the disease. There is no cure for smallpox, but it can be prevented and treated. So this time, he specially asked the great doctor of Biaoyang to go to Tongshu to vaccinate the people who were not infected with the disease. In this way, even if smallpox broke out again in the future, they would not have to be afraid. What did Master Lu say in the letter? Xiao Ji asked anxiously. He said that smallpox has no cure, but it can be prevented and treated. Moreover, he has sent a great doctor to go with us. Xiao Ji and Jia put the letter away and looked at Honggu. You should go back and take care of Li Yuan. No, I want to go to Tongshu. The old man is still there. I want to ensure his safety. Chapter 130 Comparing with the God of Heaven. It's up to you, Xiao Ji and Jia said. Should we rest for a night, or leave now? Let's go now. Honggu clapped her hands. A convoy drove out of Biaoyang Pass behind her. She got on a car and said, let's get on waste time, go there early and take preventive measures early. If we wait until smallpox breaks out, even gods can't save us. Okay, Xiao Ji and Jia got on the carriage. Let's go back to Tongshu. On the way back, Xiao Ji and Jia took out the letter and read it again. She said to Xiao Ji and others, Dajing has sent 300 Jara troops to garrison Huju Pass, and they are fighting with Biaoyang these days. Coming here at this critical moment will really cause trouble for him. She no longer blamed Li Yuan in her heart, but was very happy instead. If Honggu hadn't stopped Li Yuan, he would have definitely come over. If they become close contacts, what will happen to Huan Huan and the others? She couldn't afford the consequences. When Li Yuan learned that she was in trouble, he immediately dispatched a medical team to help her prevent and treat smallpox. He has done what he should do. After all, it's just that you're afraid of death, Shi Jiyue said. If you don't speak, no one will think you are dumb. Xiao Podeo couldn't help but knock her on the head. Xiao Ji and Jia didn't say anything. But he was in a good mood. Every time there seemed to be a huge difficulty, he could always find a way to deal with it in front of Li Yuan. The comfort he contained in the letter was like someone whispering in her ear, making her relax. The convoy moved forward in the darkness, and Xiao Ji and Jia slept soundly with Li Yuan's letter in her arms. At this time, the entire Biaoyang prefecture became nervous. Li Yuan immediately checked the merchants who had entered the pass from Daqian in recent days, and isolate them immediately, and then investigate the contacts. Li Yuan didn't dare go home, but wrote a letter back, asking his mother to take good protection and not go out. Biaoyang prefecture has now been put under control, and it will not be released until the smallpox is completely under control. Li Yuan also thought about using smallpox to deal with Chengqing. Although there is an incubation period, once it breaks out, it is only a matter of time to take over Huju Pass. But once smallpox spread in Dajing, those people were innocent. Li Yuan is not a beast. So why would he use such biological weapons? He could only hope that there would be no smallpox outbreak in Biaoyang Prefecture. He also wanted to ask the doctor to bring the Copox back to Biaoyang Prefecture as soon as possible to vaccinate all the soldiers and civilians. But Chengqing will not give Biaoyang time to breathe. On the 7th day after the war began, Biaoyang also ushered in the flood season, and the 4 large reservoirs in the prefecture were filled with water. For safety reasons, the gates had to be opened to release water. A heavy rain lasted for a whole day and night without stopping. In previous years, during the flood season in Biaoliang, water supply could only be guaranteed for the entire prefecture, but this year is the first time that it has happened. The extreme weather brought by the little ice age has begun to appear. I dare not imagine what kind of disaster this kind of rainstorm will bring to those areas where there is already a lot of rain. Li Yuan leaned against the window, watching the heavy rain outside at this moment. A string in his mind was plucked. Heavy rain, floods. These two words quickly constructed a picture of doom in his mind. He ran quickly to the sand table room. A huge sand table occupied 70 of the room, and Li Yuan could even stand on it. He climbed up and came to the location of Biaoliang Prefecture, staring at the Jingyang River. Biaoliang Prefecture is a basin because it is a basin, surrounded by mountains on all sides. It is less affected by the little glacier. But the bad thing is that it is a basin. Once there is a flood, it becomes a reservoir. The Jingyang River is the largest river in Dajing, and it also suffers from floods every year. If someone digs the dike-up stream to release water, the massive flood will sweep across Biaoliang Prefecture. Fuck you, Li Yuan cursed and looked at Huju Pass. Not far from Huju Pass, there was a ferry, which was where the Huju Pass Navy was. Once a flood sweeps the land, the Navy will be the only type of soldier that can move about as if on flat ground. And Biaoliang's Navy is just getting started. Judging from the sand table, the terrain goes from low to high. No wonder Cheng King has been provoking but has never launched any substantial attack. He is waiting for a heavy rain. Li Yuan hurriedly sent people to Hengshan County to investigate the water level. The result was that the river flooded. If Li Yuan had not widened and reinforced the river embankment before the flood season, the river water would have backflowed this time. In other words, the water level of Jingyang River will continue to rise sharply. Li Yuan climbed to Huju Pass and saw the location of Huku Ferry. There is only one way to divert the disaster to the east, and that is to blow up the Huku Ferry Dam. If there is a real flood, it will not have any impact when it reaches Biaoliang Pass. Li Yuan thought for a while. Call Chen Yuan to me. Soon, Chen Yuan arrived. He didn't know why Li Yuan wanted to call him, and he felt a little nervous. I am here to see the commander. Li Yuan didn't waste any words and asked directly, has the Navy been fully recruited? Commander, the team is fully staffed. Everyone has been training hard recently, and everyone's swimming skills have improved a lot. Chen Yuan did not dare to exaggerate. The battleship is still being built, but the ships I asked someone to buy have arrived. Although there are not many, they are enough for you to use. I have an important task for you, but it is a dangerous task. I am willing to go, even if it means going through mountains of swords and seas of fire. Chen Yuan was worried that he had no chance to prove himself if he wanted to gain a foothold in Biaoliang. The only way was to gain military merit. I want you to blow up the Hukudu Dam. At night, it rained heavily, accompanied by lightning. Li Yuan, wearing a straw raincoat, directed hundreds of thousands of workers to dig the canal quickly. Now only the last 10 miles are left to open the canal. He had to open up the last 10 miles within 2 days, avert the river water into the inner river of Biaoliang Pass, and then extend it out from Biaoliang Pass. He has asked Shang Wei to work overtime to dig a canal, and then the water will flow from the inland river into the Zongshu River, which has been cut off. In this way, not only can the problem of drought in Zongshu River be solved, but also the disaster can be diverted eastwards, thus reducing the losses of Biaoliang Prefecture. Even if Chengqing did not plan to use water attack, it would not matter. Because if the heavy rain continued, it would only be a matter of time before the Jingyang River flooded. Li Yuan was not idle either. He held a shovel and kept shoveling the soil. Master, the rain is too heavy. The inner river has been flooded. Cao Wnhu also rushed over. The sky has been broken. We can't defend it at all. Lao Cao, stop talking nonsense and get people to work quickly. If hundreds of thousands of laborers are not enough, just let the soldiers out. Tell them, there is going to be a flood. If you want to save Biaoliang, dig for me. Li Yuan was extremely anxious. The new rice has just been planted. If there is a flood, the agriculture in Biaoliang will suffer a severe blow this year. Floods not only drown crops, but also bring thick silt. The damage to the fields is minor, but the great epidemic after the flood is the most terrible. We haven't even figured out what to do with smallpox yet. If another big epidemic comes, we'll all be damn dead. Li Yuan was so tired that he couldn't straighten his back, but he didn't stop. Because behind him are 2 million people and his own close family members. He is racing against time with God. Comparing with the sky. Chapter 131, Some are of low status. And some are afraid of death. The tiger is crouching inside the pass. Reporting to Duke Wu, the water level has risen sharply. If the water is not released, once the dam breaks, the area within 100 miles will be devastated. The officials at Huku Ferry were terrified. It had rained heavily for several days in a row and the water level had risen to its highest point in history. If nothing was done, there would be a risk of the dam breaking at any time. There is no need to be afraid of the high terrain of Huju Pass. but the people living around Huku Ferry will suffer. Millions of people are living in dire straits. Once the dam collapses, he will be the first to suffer. Don't be in a hurry. Chang King was holding a military book in his hand, reading it carefully. The incandescent lamp above his head was 100 times brighter than the eternal lamp made from fish oil. So reading the book did not strain his eyes at all. Duke Wu, how about I open a few sluice gates to release the water first? The man asked again. I told you there's no need to worry if anything goes wrong. I'll take all the responsibility. Get out of here. Chang King raised his eyelids slightly, and a sharp light flashed in his eyes, scaring the man so much that he trembled all over. But although the visitor was afraid, he did not leave. Instead, he knelt on the ground and begged, Duke Wu, please think about the millions of people living around Hukudu. Chang King closed the book, kicked the man to the ground, pulled out his belt and hit him hard, causing the man to run away in panic. But even though the man cried out in pain, he did not beg for mercy. Instead, he kept shouting, even if Duke Wu kills me, I will still say that attacking Biaoyang with water is indeed effective, but it is a strategy that kills 1,000 enemies but injures 800 of our own. By then, countless people will die in danger. When Chang King heard this, instead of reflecting on it, he flew into a rage. She grabbed the man by the collar and pulled him up from the ground like a chicken. Who told you that I'm going to attack Biaoyang by water? The man said. No one told me, I just guessed it myself. Although he is in a low position, he has a conscience. Damn it, you're looking for death. Chang King wanted to strangle this guy to death. Even if Duke Wu wants me to die, I am willing to do so, but before I die, can you please notify the people around me to retreat and go to the high ground? He knew very well that once the Hukudu Dam collapsed, the people around would not even have a chance to escape. You dare! Chang King was furious. Who could guarantee that there were no spies from Biaoyang around Huku Ferry? Once the news spread, wouldn't it alert the enemy? Then all his carefully prepared strategies would be in vain. Please show mercy. Duke Wu crack. With a crisp sound, the neck of the official at Hukudu was crushed by Chang King. Even so, he did not die immediately, but fell limply to the ground, his mouth still opening and closing, as if he was still saying, spare the tiger's mouth and save the people. His fearlessness of death makes Chang King look like a traitor. Chang King's son, Chang Yu, said nervously, Father, why did you crush him to death? He is an official appointed by the imperial court after all. Didn't you hear? He wants to reveal our plan if this isn't treason. What is it? Chang King said angrily. When I came here, His Majesty told me to do what's convenient for me and to kill first and report later. What did I do wrong? If the news leaks out, all our hard work these days will be in vain. How do you want me to fight without water attack? Do you really think Biaoyang is a vegetarian? Chang King is confident, but not stupid. He didn't think that Li Quniang, Chen Yuan, Wang Bai and others were fools. I don't believe that Fang Zhenghe, such a high-ranking and powerful person, but put himself in danger. They didn't even have time to escape. It can only be said that Biaoyang's strength did not allow them to even have time to retreat. Biaoyang used to be just a city, but now it is a prefecture. He told the public that he had an army of 100,000, but in fact he had at least 200. Zaro, even though they own several strategic passes, it is impossible to chew this tough bone without a million-strong army and hundreds of thousands of casualties. And crossing the tiger's mouth was the opportunity prepared for him by God. A navy at Hukudu was the key to his victory. As long as the flood continues to flow, not only will Da Jingwan be in trouble, but the entire Biaoyang will be eclipsed by the flood. He was even confident that he could defeat Biaoyang in one battle. But Dad, the people are innocent. Chang Yu felt a little bit reluctant. Chang King walked up to him and patted his face. Think it through. If you don't win, you will lose. I have issued a military order, and countless people are laughing at me. If I don't live well, then, do you think you will live well? I would rather let the world betray me than let the world betray me, understand? Chang Yu gritted his teeth and said, can we ask the people around us to retreat? Chang King slapped at Chang Yu and knocked him over. Why did I give birth to such a soft-hearted fool like you? Kindness does not command the army, and righteousness does not command wealth. How can you inherit my title in the future? Chang Yu covered his face and dared not say a word. Chang King snorted coldly, listening to the heavy rain outside, and said, it's almost time. We can hold on for 2 more days, or wait for the Huku ferry to collapse on its own. Then we can follow the trend and wipe out Biaoyang in one fell swoop. The sky gradually brightened. Liyuan had not slept a wink for a whole day and night. 7 of the last 10 miles had been opened up, and the final 3 miles are left. A large amount of sand and soil was packed into sacks and then piled up along the Jingyang River. Wooden piles were driven into the ground for reinforcement. At this time, the water level of Jingyang River has only increased by about 1 meter compared to yesterday. Liyuan looked solemn with such heavy rain. Even if there was no flooding in the upper reaches, the water from the tributaries would definitely rise by more than 1 meter. He looked through the county annals of Da Jingwan in previous years, which contain records of the water depth of the Jingyang River every year. There is definitely something wrong with this water. Someone is definitely storing water upstream. He was very worried about Chen Yuan and whether he could arrive in time. That's an area of 100 miles. Master, take a rest, Cao Wen-Hu advised. Li Yuan shook his head. He had no intention of sleeping since the land and water were blocked. Keep digging. When we dig through, we can rest. There was a drizzle in the sky, but the laborers didn't care and just lay in the mud to sleep and rest. Li Yuan was not stingy at this time and provided enough food and meat. I don't have the strength to dig. At the 18th hour, the last 3 miles of land were dug through, and the last bit of land was blasted open by Li Yuan using detonators. In an instant, the water flowed back into the inland river. This inland river is very wide and can be navigated by boat. Throughout history, any wealthy place cannot be separated from water. Biaoliang is a barbaric and barren land. Now that we have water, the wildness of Biaoliang has been completely revitalized. If Li Yuan is given some time, it will not be a problem to turn Biaoliang into a land of abundance. Looking at the muddy river water flowing in, everyone cheered. But Li Yuan was not happy. He kept observing the water level. Until the water level dropped slightly. Li Yuan clenched his fists. Great. It really works. Chapter 132, The New Life of Zongshu. The river flows through Hengshan County, Songshan County, bypasses the Biaoliang Plain, passes in front of Taishan County, and then flows crookedly towards Biaoliang Prefecture. General, the water is coming. The water is really coming. A new moat was added to Biaoliang Pass after the river was dug. Many people were puzzled. Because Biaoliang lacks water, things like moats are of no use at all. But the Zongshu River, not far away, is too far away. Shang Wei rushed out of the city wall and saw that the flood was rapidly filling the river not far away. Good water, it comes at the right time. Shang Wei couldn't help but be happy. But this moat, the defensiveness of Biaoliang Pass has been taken to a higher level, and they will never have to worry about running out of water again. Moreover, this water flowing into the Zongshu River can greatly alleviate the drought in Zongshu. Master, there are countless lives saved, Shang Wei thought. At this time, there was widespread grief in Zongshu. The medical team was divided into 2 teams. One team stayed in Zongshu and the other team went to Tongshu. The first team successfully extracted a large amount of kolpox in Zongshu City, but the amount of kolpox was not large. The medical team followed Li Yuan's instructions and continued to cultivate more kolpox in cows in order to extract more kolpox. And Xiao Ji and Jia also stayed in Zongshu. Ongshu has Prince Wan and Lu Qiuishan, so there is no need to worry too much. She was vaccinated as soon as the kolpox virus came out. And the smallpox came out smoothly, which meant that she was successfully vaccinated and no longer had to worry about the invasion of smallpox virus. But the success rate of kolpox treatment is not 100, and some people cannot withstand the invasion of the kolpox virus. This is kolpox vaccination, which is to make a cut on the arm and implant the kolpox, not the kolpox vaccine, so it is more toxic and more dangerous. But the mortality rate has been reduced a lot. Your Majesty, 3,000 people have been successfully vaccinated. At the current rate of cultivation, everyone in Zongshu will be able to be vaccinated in half a month at most. However, there are too few cows in our territory. So the medical team has immediately sent the kolpox to Biaoliang for cultivation, Xiao Pudeyo said. Xiao Ji and Jia nodded, feeling relieved. At this rate, smallpox can be completely under control in a month at most. It's incredible, Xiao Pudeyo said. In the past, smallpox would last for a long time and cause countless deaths and injuries. However, vaccination with kolpox can fundamentally defeat smallpox. Li Yuan is amazing. After saying that, Xiao Pudeyo regretted it. Your Majesty, I didn't mean that. Judging from this incident, he is indeed amazing, Xiao Ji and Jia said undeniably. The difficulties that she was helpless to solve were easily solved by Li Yuan. The psychological gap was beyond words for Xiao Ji and Jia. Your Majesty. In fact, putting aside other things, Li Yuan is indeed the one who is most suitable for you. Xiao Ji and Jia snorted coldly. It's impossible for me to be with him. After he finished speaking, Shi Jiyue ran over anxiously. Your Majesty. Something happened. What's the hurry? Xiao Ji and Jia frowned. Water. So much water, Shi Jiyue pointed outside, his face full of shock. What water? The Zongshu River has risen there. So much water, Shi Jiyue exclaimed in surprise. Xiao Ji and Jia was stunned and rushed out immediately. When he saw the path of the Zongshu River, he even felt like tears welling up in his eyes. Great, Zongshu is saved. It has been a whole year since she learned about the disaster in Zongshu. Over the past year, the disaster situation has continued to worsen and has reached a point where it cannot get any worse. Strange. Where does this water come from? The flow in the upper reaches has stopped, and there is no way that water from the south of the Yangtze River can float here. Xiao Pu'aya was full of doubts. Send someone to check where the water comes from. Xiao Jianjia immediately sent someone to search along the river. Soon, they found that the water was introduced from Biayang Pass. Xiao Jianjia was even more confused. Where is the river in Biayang Pass? It is said that it was Li Yuan who ordered the digging of the inner river. It started last year and hundreds of thousands of workers dug it for half a year. Ji Yue replied, the water comes from the Jingyang River. It turns out to be the water from the Jingyang River. Xiao Pu'eo said, Li Yuan has done another good thing. Xiao Jianjia ordered the water to be stored in the river, water to be brought into the fields. With water, Zongshu's water shortage crisis will be easily solved. The crisis in Zongshu was largely resolved. As long as the water keeps flowing, they can grow rice and wheat. A disaster-stricken area that no one was optimistic about will be reborn. And the Holy King's army will soon have a stable rear base. When the people of Zongshu City saw the rushing river, they all knelt down and cried bitterly. The river water was introduced into the channel. And some people couldn't contain their excitement and jumped into the water to play. Even if the river water was turbid, it was still water. It dispels drought and heat and brings hope to everyone. Dad, Mom, did you see that? The Zongshu River is flowing again? Now we can grow food. We don't have to go hungry anymore. The cries of crying continued along the Zongshu River. The cracked earth, like a sponge, continuously absorbs water. Xiao Jianjia took the lead, carrying a hoe and sweating in the fields. And one after another, the people followed behind. Xiao Jianjia has seen brothers become enemies just for a sip of water. Have also seen people risking their lives just for a sip of water. Others threw themselves upon the wounds of others, and sucked their blood to quench their thirst. Some women sold their chastity for a sip of water. All of this is finally over. Xiao Jianjia thought it was raining, but when she stretched out her hand, she realized that she was crying. You bastard. Thank you on behalf of the people of Zongshu. Xiao Jianjia said this in her heart, swinging the hoe even more vigorously. Li Yuan had no idea what was happening in Zongshu. At this moment, he hadn't slept for 24 hours. He did not return to Biaoyang Prefecture, but came to Hengshan County to command the battle. He is waiting for water. He couldn't sleep until he got water. Xia Yuan had just taken office when she encountered such dangerous water conditions. If Li Yuan hadn't been in charge, she wouldn't have known what to do. Master, according to your suggestion, all the supplies in the city have been transported to a safe place. Even if the city is flooded, the supplies will not be damaged, Xia Yuan said. I don't know how serious this flood will be. Although this place is 100 miles away from Huju Pass, when the nest is overturned, all the eggs will be broken. This place will definitely be affected to some extent. When the flood recedes, you must make preparations for epidemic prevention and follow the manual. Li Yuan lit a cigarette, seemingly nonchalant, but actually anxious. Xia Yuan noticed Li Yuan's irritability and plucked up the courage to massage his shoulders. The smell of smoke penetrated her nostrils, but she didn't feel choked. Instead, she felt at ease. Her thoughts went back to a few years ago, when she and her sister had just escaped from Dajing. The ones who were hunting down the two sisters were none other than the Dajing Zongray nephew. Xia Ning's surname is Xia, and her surname is also Xia. It's not a coincidence. But they have the same blood in their bodies. Chapter 133 Dam Breach. Her father was the crown prince of Dajing many years ago, when her father was seriously ill. He passed the throne to her second uncle. Yes, his father had no son. Because the prince had no children, those people united to put pressure on him. Even the emperor watched coldly. Later, my second uncle knelt down in front of the emperor and swore that he would be good to his family for the rest of his life. The second uncle got what he wanted. He successfully took over the position from his father. His father died of illness after the second uncle succeeded to the throne. In fact, she could understand all of this. The world of Dajing could not be passed on to a woman. But my eldest sister said that Daddy's death was very strange because Daddy had always been in good health, so she secretly investigated. But the eldest sister discovered that the imperial physician who used to prescribe medicine for her father had disappeared, as if he had evaporated from the face of the earth. The prescriptions that were previously written also disappeared without a trace, and were completely wiped out. In order to prove his conscience, the second uncle wanted to marry his sister-in-law, but on the wedding day, her mother committed suicide and gave them a letter. In the letter, the mother told them the truth. Just as my eldest sister suspected, my father was poisoned. Which is why he had no offspring. And all this was done by their good second uncle. My father died, and my mother died too. They wanted revenge, but they were too weak. At that time, the emperor was still alive. And my second uncle didn't dare to do anything to them. Later, the emperor also passed away due to illness. They were bullied and abused in the palace. And their lives were truly miserable. The eldest sister said they had to escape. So they asked their grandfather's family for help, and with their help, they sisters escaped from the palace. Later, my second uncle sent people to kill them. It was the clan affairs office that took action. The power of the Dajing royal family is supreme, and the clan office is a sword hanging over the heads of all lords. If it weren't for my grandfather who risked his life to save them, they would have died long ago. And the two sisters became displaced and fled all the way to Biaiyang, where they met the eldest master. At that time, she was just a yellow-haired girl, not very good-looking, and had been abused for a long time in the palace. She was malnourished and had a pale and thin face. After arriving in Biaiyang, the master treated her very well and regarded her as a relative. She has grown into her current appearance and has become the most popular girl in Biaiyang investment promotion department, loved by everyone. The eldest sister entered the security department and did not appear in front of outsiders. But when she stood in front of Xia Ning with her dazzling appearance, her cousin did not recognize her. Later, she became a dog that wagged its tail and begged for mercy beside the master. And Xia Yuan was indescribably happy. She didn't care whether she was a princess or not, she just wanted to stay with Lu Yuan and relieve his worries. Retracting his thoughts, Xia Ning looked at the man's hard profile, and his heart was filled with infinite tenderness. Master, Xia Yuan will definitely protect Hengshan County for you. Lu Yuan smiled and said, you are talented and capable. Hengshan County is just the beginning. In the future, I will give you a bigger stage. One day, I will let you return to that place with dignity and trample all those who bullied you under my feet. Xia Yuan didn't know what to say. Thousands of words could only be summed up in one word: thank you. Just then, Cao Yanhu rushed into the room and was not surprised to see the scene before him. He hurriedly said, Master, the water is rising. Lu Yuan was stunned for a moment. Then he was overjoyed. He climbed up the city wall, took out a telescope, looked into the distance, and saw a huge wave of water surging not far away. The river water was rising at a speed visible to the naked eye. In just a moment, it reached the same level as the river bank. A rushing river water hits the river bank, and even from a long distance, you can hear it clearly. The sandbags on the shore also showed their effectiveness, keeping the flood out. The river bank on the other side did not have such a good ending. The flood overflowed from the river bank on the other side, and what really worried Lu Yuan was the shipyard. I don't know whether the shipyard can be safe after the flood. Did Chen Yuan succeed? At this time, the sky was gradually getting brighter. According to the speed of the water flow, it was estimated that the Huku ferry would release floodwaters in the early morning. When the floodwaters were released, the first to be hit was the Navy camp. Lu Yuan was worried. He was not worried about the damage to the ship, he cared about the people. At this time, Chen Yuan had already blown up the Huku ferry. Bundles of time detonators were detonated, and the Huku ferry dam collapsed instantly, with the flood rushing in like a tidal wave. Although the time bomb gave them enough time to escape, Chen Yuan did not dare to go too far. He was afraid that he was too far away and would not be able to confirm whether the Huku ferry dam had collapsed. There is only one chance to blow up the dam, and if it fails, the risk will double. Because they were too close, the speedboats were overturned and swept into the undercurrent the moment the flood hit, and disappeared. With deafening explosions, rumbling floods, lightning and thunder all over the sky, Huku ferry looked like a hell. Only the warships were swaying in the water. Fortunately, there was a dense forest where Chen Yuan's fleet was docked after the flood spread. This dense forest blocked the first wave of impact for them. Then they just went with the flow. Sailing in the darkness, they could no longer distinguish the river channel. All they could see was water. The raging flood was like a beast out of a cage, spreading in all directions. I don't know how many people were drowned by the flood while they were still sleeping. The water was too fierce, carrying broken branches and trees, making it very easy to hit them, and it was difficult to tell where the shallows were and where the river was. Chen Yuan had to navigate the boat using the light from the lightning. Battalion commander. Should we search and rescue? Asked the deputy battalion commander. Chen Yuan shook his head. It's a dead end. Go back, it will be too late if you don't leave now. The fleet drifted downstream and quickly evacuated from Huku ferry. At this time, a water had already flowed into the city from inside the Tiger Pass. Although no substantial damage was caused, it was still difficult to move forward. Chen King strangled the Hujuguan official to death in the first half of the night, and the dam collapsed in the second half of the night. A water level was not high enough to cause the dam to burst. The sudden dam collapse disrupted his plans and made his calculations go awry. The water storage capacity is insufficient to form a mighty force. At the area around Huju Pass suffered. He climbed up the city wall early in the morning and saw a flood. Except for the navy, which was still able to move, all his 300 Zero troops were laid down. Che Yan, the commander of the Huju Pass Navy, said, "Last night, we heard a loud noise, and then the dam collapsed. The noise was like thunder." "They're not going to tell me that the dam was destroyed by lightning?" Chang King said murderously. "I dare not. I think this might be man-made." Achaean said, there is thunderbolt in Biaoyang that can split mountains and crack rocks. Before he could finish his words, he was interrupted by Changqing. It's impossible these days. Biaoyang has been exhausted by the invasion of Dajing's cavalry. How could they have thought that I would use water attack? I also know that Biaoyang has no navy. It is impossible for them to create a navy out of thin air. It was obviously because you failed to maintain the dam properly that the dam collapsed when it shouldn't have. You are guilty. Chapter 130 for Iron Bones. Achaean was full of grievances. Duke Wu, even if Biaoyang doesn't have a navy, they still have ships. You mean, the Biaoyang people sailed hundreds of miles upstream to Huku Ferry and blew up the dike? Changqing laughed angrily. Doesn't that prove that your navy's patrols are ineffective? Biaoyang spies are omnipresent. They are called dandelions. Taking root wherever the wind blows, it is very likely that they are spies from the surrounding areas who sneaked in here under the cover of night. There was a violent storm last night with thunder and lightning, so Changqing didn't wait for him to finish and whipped Taechaean with a horsewhip. You're talking so much nonsense. Just to excuse yourself. Not satisfied with just one whip, he whipped him several more times in a row. And was General Fubo, a fourth-rank general, but in Changqing's eyes, he was like an that could be beaten or scolded as he pleased. Achaean did not dare to resist because Changqing was a nobleman. In Dajing, the nobles have absolute power and enjoy special privileges, while these helpless officials from humble backgrounds can only depend on others for survival. Even people with lower titles than his official position dare to order him around. It has to be said that this is a tragedy. Changqing felt a little better when he saw A and didn't even dare to breathe. In your opinion, can we take back Dajing Pass if we send troops now? I don't know, but I think the most important thing is to save people. Just answer whatever I ask you. Changqing blared at Haen. We can't get it back. Although the water is high, most of it has spread to the surrounding areas and has reached Huju Pass. It is no longer a disaster. Achaean thought to himself, if the dam collapse was caused by the Biaoyang people, he would have to thank them. If the dam collapses, the water will destroy the surrounding area in an instant, and no one will survive, not to mention the area within 100 miles. Even the area within 200 miles will be affected. Changqing's behavior is so hateful that he only cares about the life and death of his own family and ignores the lives of thousands of families. Achaean, you grew up eating at many people's homes, so how could he just stand by and watch? Can't get it back or don't want to take it? Changqing's eyes were blazing with fire. They can't get it back. The navy of Huju Pass has no more than 10,000 people. How can they defeat Biaoyang, which is no match for the coalition forces of the two countries? Achaean's hometown was destroyed, and he was filled with anger and murderous intent. It was the contempt for being humiliated by Changqing and Changqing's indifference to human life. All these made and want to kill Changqing with his own hands. In fact, he had a very good future and could have stayed in the capital. However, he was unwilling to curry favor with the powerful and become a lackey of the nobles, so he was demoted and sent back to his hometown. He thought he could protect his fellow villagers. But now he realized that he was too naive. I see you are unwilling to contribute. Changqing would Taechaean a few more times. She did not like Achaean's rebellious look, which was a provocation to him. Mobilize the army now and attack Dajing Pass. If you cannot take back Dajing Pass, you will die there. Anyone who dares to disobey will be killed without mercy. Achaean's eyes were red with anger. How could he not know that Changqing wanted him to take the blame? If you don't go, you will definitely die. Originally, if the Huku Ferry Dam was allowed to collapse, not only Dajing won, but even the entire Biaoyang would suffer a great disaster. But now the opportunity has been lost. Not to mention retaking Dajingguan. The people around here will not be able to live in peace until Huku Ferry is restored. Although Huju Pass would not be affected by floods, the road leading to it would be covered by water, and they would not even be able to leave their homes when they went to war. Achaean had already seen Chang Yu put his hand on the hilt of the knife, and he hurriedly said, I obey your command. If you had said one word later, I would have died here today. Changqing snorted coldly, since you have received my order, why don't you get out of here? I'll take my leave. Achaean walked out. At this time, his generals were all waiting when they saw Achaean coming out. They rushed forward and asked, General, what happened? Did Duke Wu agree to rescue him? General, what's the matter with the wound on your face? Achaean had a lot to say, but this was Tiger Pass. So he didn't dare to say anything. He just said, quickly go and gather the troops. Let's rush to attack Dajing Pass. When these words were spoken, everyone was shocked. How can we attack Dajing Pass? What about the villagers? Should we just leave them soaking in the water? The decision to store water was made by Duke Wu. How could he just ignore the dam breach? The vast majority of people present were from the area surrounding Huku Ferry. Because this canal involves too many interests. They were all occupied by the surrounding aristocratic families. Now that everyone is suffering from a disaster, how can they just ignore it? Shut up, let's talk outside. Achaian slapped the man, pinched his back, and said in a low voice, "If you don't want to die, don't talk nonsense." Although the man was indignant, he didn't dare to say anything more. Everyone was indignant, and they probably guessed what Chang King meant. That is to distance oneself from the matter. 100 miles in radius, with millions of people. This matter was too big, so big that Chang King didn't dare to take it over. When everyone left Huju Pass, the man asked again, "General, does Dooku not care about our lives?" "Yes, know it in your heart," Achaian said. "Gather everyone quickly and split into 2 groups. All the way. Follow me downstream and head straight to Dajing Pass. Along the way, search the surrounding area for the real culprit of the dam collapse. I have received news that the Hukudu Dam collapse is related to the Bialyang people. You must find the spy for me and give an explanation to the people." Everyone present reacted and said, "General, you are wise." "General, I am willing to lead the team to search for the Bialyang spies. I am willing to go." Everyone rushed to grab the opportunity. Everyone knew that the person leading the team would completely offend Chang King, but no one was afraid. Because they are the people of Hukudu. When they take off their armor, they are the children of Hukudu. No one can bear to see their fellow countrymen suffer. Not to mention, they knew from the beginning that Chang King was going to store water and break the dam. Fuck the nobility, fuck the hegemony. They are people who grew up drinking the water of Hukudu and eating the food of the villagers of Hukudu. Not animals. They have already made a mistake once, and they must not make the same mistake again. Achaian looked at his generals. His eyes red and he stood up straight, clasped his hands and said, "The tiger's mouth fairy is now in your hands. Please." Everyone responded, "General, your words are sincere. This is our duty." Achaian laughed, looked at the guard at Huju Pass with contempt, and left by boat. Soon, Achaian only took 1/5 of the people and went down with them. However, he took the smallest and most broken ships, leaving the largest and best warships to others. Others took large ships to rescue the suffering people around Hukudu. A news soon reached Chang King's ears, and he was so angry that he trembled all over. Achaian was despising him and slapping him in the face. He chopped the document in half with one stroke. "Achaian, you're looking for death." Chapter 135 Sense of Belonging. At this time, Chen Yuan finally arrived in Hengshan County before dark. It took him 2 days and 1 night to go upstream, but only 4 hours to go downstream. Everyone was cold, hungry and exhausted. Under the guidance of the soldiers guarding Hengshan County, he successfully stopped the boat in the inland river. The rivers outside were overflowing and the rivers inside were also submerged in the flood, but Chen Yuan could see at a glance that the water was not turbulent and the damage to Bialyang was not great. "Captain Chen, welcome home," the soldiers on the city wall shouted loudly. Hearing this, Chen Yuan felt warm in his heart. The meaning of these 4 words, "welcome home," is priceless. This means that the Bialyang system has officially recognized and accepted him. When he was hoisted up by the basket, he saw Li Yuan standing in the rain waiting for him. Chen Yuan was startled and stepped forward quickly. "I am here to see you, Commander. I have fulfilled your trust and blown up the Huku ferry. However, the water was too rough and 2 warships were overturned. More than 120 people are missing. Please punish me, Commander." "Commander, the water was too strong." The battalion commander was afraid that the detonator would not be able to blow up the dam in time, so he did not move too far away. "This battle is not the fault of the battalion commander. Please let the commander take a closer look." The naval soldiers on the city wall knelt on the ground and pleaded for Chen Yuan. They knew that the Northern Liang army had made great military achievements even in the battles of Dajing Pass and Diaxia Pass. Not so many people died. They suffered such heavy losses just by blowing up Huku ferry, so they were naturally worried. Li Yuan sighed and helped Chen Yuan up. "If you hadn't blown up the Huku ferry and the dam collapsed on its own, Bialyang would not be in this state now, and there would be countless deaths. So, you have done no fault and have made great contributions. Although I have never led a navy to fight in rivers, lakes or reservoirs, I know the ruthlessness of floods. Natural disasters are beyond human control. I am surprised that you were able to return safely from the flood with so many people." Li Yuan had never trained a navy, but he had seen floods in his previous life. When a flood breaks out, the huge impact force can destroy concrete buildings, let alone ships. Chen Yuan was prepared to be scolded, but he didn't expect Li Yuan to say this. "Commander, Chen Yuan, you lived up to everyone's expectations. Disregarded your own life, blew up the Huku ferry, saved millions of Bialyang people from the deep water, and won a special merit. From now on, he will be promoted to Colonel General of the Navy, and the Navy will be expanded to 3,000 people. The rest all won 3 levels in a row. Go ahead, keep carrying your load." Li Yuan's voice was so loud that everyone on the city wall could hear it clearly. Xia Yuan immediately said, "Captain Chen, congratulations." "Captain Chen, congratulations." Everyone congratulated him, looking at everyone in Lu Yuan. At that moment, Chen Yuan felt indescribable joy in his heart. After all these years in Diachia, I have never felt a greater sense of belonging than at this moment. Perhaps it was because Lu Yuan was clear about rewards and punishments. Wise and decisive, or maybe it was something else. Chen Yuan actually found that he had an indescribable sense of identification with Biao Yang. Thank you, Commander Chen Yuan. I'm ashamed, Chen Yuan said with a wry smile. If it were in the past, he would not have thought there was anything wrong with the death of more than 100 people. But after studying with Biao Yang and Xian Bing Tonkai Ton Ton for 3 months, his ideas changed dramatically. The people-oriented concept was actually deeply rooted in his mind. In Biao Yang, all types of soldiers are called guards, and they also have another name, the people's soldiers. Don't worry, the brothers who died in the battle will definitely not be treated unfairly. Liu Yuan patted Chen Yuan on the shoulder. Go down and have a good rest first. Yes, Commander. Chen Yuan nodded and led his men away. Chen Yuan had already prepared a sumptuous meal for them. That night, Liu Yuan was sleeping soundly when he was woken up by Yu Su. He asked sleepily, "Is it dawn?" "Master, the enemy is attacking." "What?" Liu Yuan sat up suddenly, and all his sleepiness disappeared immediately. He glanced out the dark window and asked, "Who dares to attack us at this late hour?" After saying that, he patted his face and said, "If I can blow up Huku Ferry at night, why can't others?" Having said that, he rushed out barefoot without even putting on his coat. "Master, shoes, straw raincoat." Liu Su took these 2 things and rushed out of the room. Outside the city, huge searchlights illuminated the area dozens of meters around the city clearly. Liu Yuan rushed up to the city wall. "What happened?"